they're going to play a Caitlyn lane here with all the great follow-up they have with this Nongshim lineup here to the Tempered Fate.
I want to see what Peter's going to do. Maybe they have an answer, a response. It's just Nico. And he is a fantastic Nico player. We know that that is, you know, how they got to the World Final in 2025 was largely because Peter was so good at this champ.
It's just better Lux right now.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you know, Nico has the same root, but it's even stronger, arguably. And not to mention her ultimate is just way more impactful in team fights. And you could have gone Lux here and be like, all right, Pantheon stun somebody. I just press Q, but that's kind of an older style of League of Legends. Nico is just so incredibly powerful, so good with her shapeshift ability. It just has so much more utility than the Lux, and the shield from Lux is just pitiful. Please just update Lux. Like, come on, what are you doing, Rito?
And Caitlyn Lux is a very fun lane as well. So
พี่หยุดดู GenG ดิครับน้อง
What's going on with like Morgana and Lux just being completely irrelevant? You know, we made Yuumi irrelevant, and she's still kind of around. But like Lux, Morgana, maybe a little tuning could be fun. I'd be into
จะ
it.
ขอแว่น
Yeah,
ด้วย
we
นะ
might be able to figure
ขึ้น
that
มา
out.
ไม่ได้แว่นมาขอ
We'll
แค่
just
แว่น
have
ก่
to
อน
send
ก็
an
ได้
email. Maybe just a strongly worded email.
Okay.
Not an angry one, just
Okay.
strongly worded. We'll do that.
This looks like a
มาครับ
pretty simple team fight composition
ผม
here
ครับ
for
มา
Nongshim, but Taeyun's on the
หมา
gym.
ผม
We've
คู่แรก
discussed
จริง
this a lot recently.
ตอนแรกนึกว่า
How much
GenG คู่แรก
will
ด้วย
be
ซ้
important, but for me, it's like closer pops off,
GenG คู่สอง
but this comp doesn't win.
ำเดี๋ยวคู่แรกก็น่าดูครับผม
There's also like the elephant that needs addressing, and that is Pantheon got
Nongshim
through.
ครับ
Pyoshik's playing it. Let's see where
ฟอ
the
ร์มมัน
Rift
ตบ
heads.
DK
We get
มา
into the Rift for game 1.
จะเป็นอย่างไร Let's fucking goes ไปเสียงมันค่อนข้างแตกวะ
A little bit of danger potentially at the beginning here, but here we are onto the Rift for the first game of the final day
มา
of the
เก
week.
มแรกของวัน
Level
นี้
ones
ฮะ
are kind
ครั
of
บ
coming
ผม
back a little bit.
Like they have to be very quick, but
Yeah.
once they do get there, they do start doing stuff.
Yeah, like look, the jungler's gonna get back in time. Totally fine.
ลูกพี่คนหล่อใช่ไหม
Very,
มิน
very
โท
okay.
เป็นไง
Well, Sponge going to be starting
ยังไม่
on
ดู
his
รูปเลยครับ
bottom side by the looks of things.
Look at that.
Yeah.
His early level one gets the ward up and still gets right into the Raptor camp. Just exactly as he
peasy.
wanted to.
Oh, look at Dr. charging that headshot and lands his first Peacemaker. Beautifully done. I don't feel like the Jhin is necessarily the answer to the Caitlyn. I know a lot of people have been picking this up. It's been doing okay in lane. Unfortunately, after everything's said and done, you're still Jhin, which is not great.
I think the Bard has to do the real heavy lifting in this lane.
Yep.
Electrocute needs to be procced repeatedly. Lehens needs to be hitting those Qs.
And I mean, at the same time, they have other carries, right? There's a Jace, there's an Azir. We were talking about 3-threat comps. This is absolutely one of those. Or 2.5, I guess, because Jhin doesn't do anything. I've got to stop with the Jhin hate.
ตอนที่เจสโคตรมานะพี่ไปเล่นเจสพี่รู้สึกว่าเจสแม่งทำไมมันรู้สึกว่ามันรู้สึกดีจังเลย
Like they lost, and then I kept saying, "Well, Guma can't do anything."
อาจจะเป็นเพราะว่าตัวท็อปเลนตัวอื่นมันโดนเนิร์ฟไปเรื่อยๆครับเจสมันไม่ได้โดนอะไรมาก โอ้ my god เลยแฮนด์สวยจัด
as well from Sponge. The barrier was there, but Dr. is still dead. First blood goes to the Bard.
ใครยืนไม่ได้เพราะว่าเมื่อกี้โดน
They get
ปี
everything
เตอ
in
ร์
response.
Huge win here for Nongshim, because what I was about to say is you talk about triple threats, but they have triple
เอาอี
losing
กแล้วผม
lanes,
มา
right?
สู
And
ตรแบบ3
fortunately
หลุม
for
แก๊ง
them,
เอาอีก
Sponge
แล้
is
ว
able to make this early pathing work.
เจโฟนไม่ได้อย่างนี้ป่ะ
But they get a kill.
คือ3 หลุมต้องมาเลยป่ะแต่ว่าต้องเป็นบาทอะเนาะคือบาทพี่ว่ามันเป็นตัวที่
Would have
เอาเป็น
been
ตัวที่แบบรับแก๊ง
a
ดีอะ
difficult moment there for
มัน
the
ช่วย
Bard. But Pyoshik
ลด
looking
แบ
to
บ
come
ไอตัว
down
แกร็บ
and
โคเซอร์
punish
ได้แล้วก็
Taeyun
แบบ
because he doesn't have flash. Pyoshik does.
ตาย
I think it's
เลยสิ
likely that Taeyun
Sad.
is just dead here. Thankfully, Lehens does make it out. But I just
แล้วก็
don't know whether we're going to see a Jhin alive. And there it is. Pyoshik just takes one turret shot and then he's able to go back home. Speaking of going home, Scout had to flash in the mid lane in response to Closer. There are 4 flashes down on both sides of the rift. Top laners, get it together. Just flash on the spot. Come on, guys.
It was Riot's dream when they, made summoner spells. They're like, maybe everyone won't take flash all the time. Unfortunately here for Duckdom, his flash
sick cosmic binding.
Yeah, his flash angle there with the cosmic binding is just not going to save him. Gets stunned up regardless.
Got very silent after the kill went over to him as well, you saw.
Like, Lens is at 0 health, and Taeyun wanted to finish pushing the wave in. Is a little greedy here. Pioshik has red buff. He tries to do some fancy footwork here to dodge the Q.
จาวานแมน
But,
ซิตี้
let's be honest, he was dead no matter what.
ถ้า4 หลุมจะเป็นลิเวอร์พูล
And Pioshik on the board, and obviously as a Pantheon, you're very happy to get some early kills. Start snowballing. Speaking of which, though, Sponge looking for an opportunity, doesn't get the knock up onto the LeBlanc, which makes sense. She's relatively mobile.
So now we're back to 3 losing lanes here for Nongshim.
Well, I mean, Dudu's got something to say about that, as the Yorick is starting to feel a bit better. But I think we'll never really have the push, which is your point.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, eventually Yorick is going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, especially if any jungle attention goes up there. And because they got that kill onto Taeyun, this is no longer a lane that Lens and Taeyun can continue to really pull the tempo on. As we're going to go back to this flash trade here in the mid lane.
Oh, lands the chains, really nice. That would have been a kill without the flash, so really nicely done from Closer, who is looking aggressive once again. Pioshik making his way in, no flash. On Scout, no Emperor's Divide either, as the chains will connect, and over the wall goes the Pantheon, and Scout will be going down. That's Closer grabbing his first of the game, and the DN Supers off to a brilliant start, as now Kingin just kind of on the other side of the rift.
Yeah,
feeling a bit awkward there.
For Nongshim, they didn't really deny that much farm from Closer. He was able to secure that one and then come over here and catch most of that wave. Actually finds himself a whole wave ahead of Scout. Scout here really pushing the issue pretty far without vision in his bottom side river. So this is really the main problem here. He has vision of the Raptor camp, which might have told him that, you know, Pioshik wasn't there. And he just barely gets caught by the chain there from Closer. I think was dead either way, but might have had some wiggle room there if he wasn't. And yeah, I mean, this probably would come to a mild shock to many, right?
Does it have to be a Jarvan there, though? Couldn't it be just any champion? I'm pretty sure Pantheon has not
one game.
Has he? Who was it against?
I cast it yesterday with Valdez. It was... Who did he lose to? I cannot remember, but I'm sure someone will tell me.
I'm assuming that it wasn't Pantheon's fault. Let's just say that. I think this champion is very, very strong at the moment. Scout going to take a fair bit of damage from this LeBlanc, who makes her way back again. Chain's going to connect, and Closer looking for some more abilities. Doesn't quite have Distortion back off cooldown yet. And Sigil of Malice not going to be doing enough. So Scout going to have to go back, and Closer is really starting to work this snowball in this lane. Fantastic work. It's exactly what the LeBlanc needs to do. You need to make yourself into someone that needs multiple people to take down.
I think the main thing about the Jarvan stat that you see there is it's the most common matchup because these are the 2 most commonly early picked junglers in drafts, right? And the Jarvan answer just has not been working when they've been giving this pick over. So Pioshik is happy with the lead that he currently holds. Same with Closer, and we're going to look for a bit of a dragon contest here. Dum does not have the fast rotation, but they're just going to walk holding hands up.
Well, there's a snare onto the hands. He's going to have to try and take the magical journey out. Does manage to do so, but this should mean that the crab goes over to the DN Supers, and maybe that dragon you were talking about as well. Pioshik hitting that level 6 also. This is very dangerous times. Taeyun does have his flash back up and available once again, but Lehen's now without the heal. Means that the bottom lane as well for the DN Supers feeling pretty good at this point in time, despite the slight CS deficit.
We're dead even in gold.
จัดโปรวันที่4 เดือน 4/40
has this lead here right now, whereas the Jin
เรา
having
เด็
the
ก
lead
เรา
doesn't
เด็กเราไม่ได้
necessarily
เราป้าเมื่อ
amount
กี้
to as much. You look at the inventory of the Jin right now, it means nothing in terms of lane control. He's going to back now and change that story a little bit with the Dirk pickup, but you know, let's see if Nongshim can win a fight.
Oh my god ได้ว่ะ
Dudu
คิ
was
งเงิน
trying
ส
to
วย
take
มาก
care of the maiden, he got punished. This was our biggest point of criticism against this guy.
I know.
ทีเลยอะเล่นยอริกแล้วแบบ
Well,
เสีย
at least he was trying. Is going to now put Kingin into the Ghoulie wall, but Kingin is going to be absolutely fine there. You're pretty good at taking down the wall as well as the Jace.
I do think that it's really important that Nongshim were able to deny Dragon,
แต่พี่แบบรู้
even
สึก
though
ว่า
they
เจส
didn't
มัน
win a fight there.
ถ้ามันเป็น
The
first
Skull
ไต
Crab.
ได้แม่งจะ
The
แจ่ม
fact
มา
that
ก
Dragon's still alive, there's maybe another chance for them to make a play for that. Scout's flash is coming up soon. Might be a bit of
คื
a
อ
saving
ด้วยความ
grace
ที่แบบ
for
มัน
this early
จะได้
game.
ลูนแบบลูนเงินด้วยอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
The composition here for DNS, if they lose
คือ
control
มั
of
น
the
มีแต่ของ
game,
ที่แบบเพิ่ม
they're
เงิน
going to
อะ
have big
first
problems
ไตมัน
later
ทำให้
on.
แบบโคตรเก่ง
For Nongshim, all you really need is
แต่ยังไม่เห็นมีใครเล่นเลย
the
นะ
one
เล่นเป็น
objective
ลูน
buys you a little bit of
เฟส
time
ลัช
where you
แล้วก็
can
ลูนในเนี้ย
avoid the
อิเล็ก
next
โตคิว
objective. For
มี
example, if you can give up
อ
a
ยู่
dragon later on,
แล้ว
that
ก็ลู
feels
นเขียว
fantastic with this Azir Jin. Jarvan set up
วันนี้
here.
เป็นเหมียวได้ครับดีครับ
have really good team fighting, so I just want to avoid falling too far behind. As Kingen is falling behind
เงี้ย
himself.
มันจะตาย
Yeah,
ว่ะ
man, he's really having
ไม่
to
ออก
deal
ด้
with
วย
a lot of
ตาย
bully walls here as Dudu gets booped back and says, no, I'm not flashing after you. Just going to take that fantastic trade for the Yorick, and just with steel caps, he's feeling very strong in this lane.
And Nongshim are actually going to get these grubs just underneath that Yorick
แลกมังกรกับ
exchange.
Yeah, looks like the trade is just going to be for the dragon. Understandably so, but denying a Yorick these grubs is actually kind of a big deal given the fact that they do look like a composition that would like to play sides.
Absolutely. I'm really impressed that Kingen did not flash there, and Dudu was like, okay, I guess he realizes he doesn't need to. I'm not going to try to force it, as the Yorick having flash later on can be a huge threat. And we do see Chemtech Soul. Nope. Or sorry, Chemtech Drake, excuse me. So a good
not
soul
gonna
is really,
be
yeah, is what I mean to say. It's not the Cloud Soul here, so that's a little sad for you, but could be a very impactful soul, or it could be Ocean.
It's Ocean 100%, isn't it? I mean, it would be.
พี่คิดว่ามังกร Hextech หรือไม่มังกรไฟแน่เลยว่ะ
Acid
ความรู้สึก
rain
พี่
vibes. Oh no.
It's not it.
Oh god, it is supposed to rain potentially later tonight.
Yeah, and the fact that it's supposed to rain over the next couple of days.
วันนี้ GenG จะโดน FX ไหมครับเฮ้ย
season
ถ้าเกิดฟอร์ม
oh, it's very depressing.
ฟอร์ม GenG ตอนนี้แบบ
Yeah.
มีสิทธิ์โดนอ
We
ยู่นะ
managed to go out yesterday to check them out. So
แต่ว่า
we
FX
managed
แก
to
ก็
cross that
ไม่
one
รู้
off
ว่าฟอร์ม
the
ประมาณ
list.
ไหนด้วย
Show Chester his first Cherry Blossoms, which was very fun.
คือก็ฟอร์ม
But
ไม่
yeah,
ดี
may not
ด้วย
have too many more. And if it's an Ocean Soul, it might actually
ก็
be
ฟอร์มแบบแย่
saying,
ทั้งคู่
in
อะ
fact, it
แต่
is
พี่
gonna
ว่า
rain and it's
GenG
all
น่าจะ
over.
เก็บได้แหละเพราะว่า GenG
That would
ฟอร์
be
ม
sad.
Ooh, that would
ถึ
be
งแม้ว่าจะ
sad.
แย่แต่ FX ก็
What
ฟอร์ม
would
ไม่ดี
be the soul that could redeem the whole situation?
Any other soul.
Any other soul? Okay.
โดนโบรไป 2-0 นี่ก็
Infernal is
FX
just
ก็
kind of like, yeah, it dries up all the
FX ชุดเล่น
rain.
เดิมครับผู้เล่นชุดเดิมแต่ว่า โดนโบรไป 2-0 นี่
At least in game 2, yeah.
Oh my god, it really is the double dat broadcast. Oh, it's doomed.
Oh.
Okay, Pyoshik up here towards his top side of the map. I was thinking might be helping Dudu out, but
คิดว่า GenG ช
just
นะนะ
Kingen playing very respectfully at the moment.
ถ้าเทียบแบบ
and
บัญญั
is
ติยาง
falling
ใช่ป่ะ
behind about a
T1
wave
ชนะ
for
Hawalai
now.
Hawalai ชนะ
Yorick
Bro
doing exactly what it
Bro
says
ชนะ
on the
FX
tin. Maybe it is
แสดงว่า
the year of
T1
Dudu.
มากกว่า
Maybe I was
เฟีย
wrong.
หน้ามากกว่า FX
He's having a good time
แล้ว
so
T1
far.
แพ้ KT 2-0 แสดงว่า
The call
KT
will
มาก
cash
ก
in
ว่า
eventually for Kingen,
FX
and he is going to be
แล้ว
such a huge threat to
GenG
DNS if
แพ้
they have map
KT
control,
แต่ว่า
because
GenG
DNS
แพ้
have
แบ
to
บ
be the ones who are
1-2
aggressive. They have to play through the LeBlanc, and
แสดงว่าก็ยัง
while
สู
they're
สี
trying
กับ
to find those flank
KT
angles, while the shock blast rain down,
แสดงว่า FX
eventually
น่าจะโดน
DNS kind of
GenG
get
มี
whittled
ตาม
down
สูต
and
ร
have to
เป็น
make
ประหยัด
an
ยาง
aggressive engage and not have the best team fighting composition. It's not impossible to team fight, but there is a Yorick.
นึกว่าจะไป
so
กินต่อนะครับ
there's-
จริงๆอยากไปกินต่อเหมือนกันนะครับ
If the
แต่ว่า
LeBlanc isn't
ก็
ahead, which she is still ahead at the moment.
แข่งมัน
then
วัน
she's
สุด
not
ท้ายของ
gonna
สัปดาห์
offer
แล้ว
too
อะ
much
ก็
of
อ
a
ยากดู
team fight either.
Does
แล้ววันนี้มัน
have
GenG เนี่ย
first item completion here for Closer as well.
Oshik has ult, so this could be a bit of a counter gank here if they commit.
Looks like the
อุ๊ยหลบ
opportunity
สวยมากครับ
is Dudu
ตะกี้
is gonna miss the
แต่ว่า
morning
Padion
mist.
มาเลย
There's the go button pushed by
จะ
DNS.
จาวานมาอยู่ใกล้แต่ว่าทันไหม
King and Sponge still trying to make his way over as Dudu. He's in a bit of trouble. Pyoshik taking matters into his own hands. There's the flag forward from Dudu. And now
ตายด้วย
Sponge finds himself inside his own cataclysm. The avoidance from Dudu, just gorgeous. And Sponge does make his way out, but it's just a free kill over to DNS.
Yep, Pyoshik goes first. They're able to suss this out. He goes in early, and Kingen flashes, but Pantheon just does so much damage. Dunkdom avoids a tempered
ต้องให้
fate.
เลแฮนมาช่วยเดินว่ะ
Avoids, that's his own trap, but he also gets out of the way. As now Dunkdom down very, very low. Pop Blossom connects, and
Lehan
Lance is taking up the turret.
แต
The
ก
last shot was already in the air. And unfortunately, the flash does not help him
Wow,
out of that
Peter
one. It's a
solo kill.
disaster for Nongshim on both sides of the rift.
DNS looking fantastic in this early game. The Pantheon is working out, but the bottom lane is not working out for Nongshim on the opposite side, so they're losing on both sides of the map. As you go back to this, Dudu decides to push in here. The Pantheon ult comes out. Kingen is in this awkward spot now where Sponge can't reach to help him out. Maybe if he had tried to play towards Sponge, there was
Yeah, I
actually
think
a little bit
flashing
more.
towards the Jarvan could have been a better option.
I think that's probably
ต้อง
what
แฟ
he
ด
should
มา
have
เว้ยส
done
ปอนน่ะ
here, but Sponge
พลาด
just does very little damage as a Jarvan at level 8
ต้อ
here.
ง
whereas
ต้อง
Pantheon
แฟดต้อง
does
แฟด
insane
ข้ามมา
damage in
แล้ว
the
ค่อย
early
แล้ว
game,
แล้วเก็บ
and
แฟด
I think
กัน
he's
แด
gotta
ก
hit
ไว้
that Q though, like the fact that
เพราะว่าถ้า
Dudu
เกิดแบบ
avoids
แฟด
it
แดกมา
was
ก็
a
คือไม่มี
huge
ประโยชน์
deal.
เล
I
ย
think otherwise
ส
they
กิล
go
ไม่มี
1 for 1, or maybe they go 1 for 2, and he has to stick around for a little bit longer. It's Closer.
Oh my god, Closer แม่ง
Just
solo kill
managed
แบบสวยจัด
to
Yeah, I
solo
didn't even
ไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่แล้วว่ะ
earlier on
Nongshim.
in that play. So there's just we're in replay central right now. As that flash, man, that was so close to being okay.
แต่นิโกะ
Luckily,
มันต้องแฟด
Peter
ก็ได้ป่ะเมื่อ
also
กี้
flashed, so you know, I guess you got that one.
Could have been worse.
Peter also thought the turret hadn't fired yet.
Yeah, I love a little bit of could have been worse.
It's not the biggest gold lead that has ever been seen.
The problem is, Wolf, there is a pantheon. And Pyosik is about to hit the mid game where he's just going to very happily play around a LeBlanc and a Yorick in a side lane.
Let me entertain the thought of the Nongshim comeback, all right?
All right, no, you're allowed to do that, absolutely. I'm just saying that it's going to be even more impressive when they do it.
Yes, Scout's got some heals here. Lehens is making the global impact. I do think that if they can secure the Herald here in 90 seconds with a really good play from Scout, you know, big Emperor. Okay, well.
Lehen's going to have to. He does manage to capture himself there, but Pyosik just smites him down.
เชียร์ฟอร์มป่าเวอร์ปี2023มาแล้วว่าเฟลซิก
Okay, look, okay, so
แก
what
ก็
I'm
เล่น
saying is if they
แกก็เล่นแพนดิออน แต่มัน
if
ไม่ได้
they
ขนาด
get the
นี้นะ
Herald, then they can maybe
ก่อน
open
หน้า
up
เนี้ย
mid.
I really like the
เหมือน
attempted optimism, Wolf. This is
เหมือนเลนมัน
I
ดี
feel
ขึ้น
like
มั้ง
it's a
เลนข้างมัน
2026
ดี
new
ขึ้น
thing
โดยเฉ
that
พาะ
you're
ดู
trying
ดู
on.
นะ
Yeah, no, I
I'm
mean,
a big fan of it.
You know, in
แล้วโคเซอร์ก็เล่น
2022,
ดี
I
นะ
think
ครับ
was
มัน
the
ทำให้
year
แบบ
where people were the
เล่น
most
ง่ายอะ
upset
ป่า
that I would say games were over at like sub 15 minutes.
Yes.
And then I just kind
And
of
now you're like you're just a complete denier of a game ever being
I
over.
pretended in like 2023. I was like,
Support.
you know,
เหลือ
I'll
เลแฮน
try
คน
to
เดียว
seem like I'm not going to say the game's
Wait,
over,
message.
but 2026 Wolf is like, it ain't over till the
มันแรง
next
จัดเลยแพนดิออนตอนนี้
all KT versus T1 and LCK kick up.
แต่วินเลดแพนดิออนไม่100%แล้วนะครับเพราะว่า T1 จัดการให้แล้วครับ1 รอบ
So let's see what happens here, but like the Herald, if it goes over to DNS,
แต่
I think
ตา
the
นี้
game
ถ้า
is
เกิดชนะ
actually
ก็
just
วิน
straight
เลด
up
แบ
over
บ
because the mid turret goes down,
80
LeBlanc can do
กว่า%
whatever she wants in sides and, you know, threaten mid. And Kingen is in trouble.
Yeah, Pyosik gonna come and just do it all again. No flash available. Kingen is just dead. Dudu on the board now as well. 2-0-0 on the Yorick, and he already had his Trinity Force completed. Looking for item number 2 now, and it doesn't get better for Nongshim. This is the problem. The Yorick was about biding his time anyway. He's just managed to get there sooner than he otherwise would have wanted to. Like, they're gonna need 5 people to try and take down this guy in a side lane. As at least they do manage to lock down Peter. And he is not going anywhere. It's a very, very dead Nico. They give the kill over to Taeun. That is good news.
แต่ว่าเสียป้อม
He
ล่าง
lost first brick, but Herald is they don't lose the game instantly.
Yeah, there you go.
Assuming the game is not over already.
คือตอนนี้
which
DNS
for some
พี่ว่า
might
ดี
be
ทุกอย่างจะเว้น
stretch, not for
ไม่ได้ก
2026
ลับนั่นแหละ
I'm like
แม่งโยลิกไม่มีกลับ
Wolf would definitely be saying that it's very over. You would have already walked away. You're having lunch somewhere at this point.
No, I would have been
it would have been a very late lunch. Because it's like 5 p.m. over here, but still.
I mean, in 2022, I was woke up a lot later than I do now as well.
Absolutely. No, that's
I eat breakfast now.
1,100 แล้วอะเฟลซิก
Who are you? I do too. Weet-Bix every morning. It's the best. Okay, Scout now just taking so much damage from closer. He lands the chains.
โอ้เฟลซิกได้อีกแล้วอีบ้าเอ้ย
He'll tank up the turret there comfortably at
โอ้
the
โห
same time.
แม่งข้างล่างมาข้างบน
Fake LeBlanc is the only thing that dies.
อุ้ย
Pushes him out the turret
ชายคนนี้
range, so he actually gets away.
This is all
เอา
of a
ทุก
sudden
ดอก
got
เน้น
completely out of hand. This game,
เมมจัดเลยว่ะ
the DNS Supers are just running away with it.
The caster feedback on Reddit for this is
เฮ้ย
like,
รู้ว่า LCK มันเริ่มนัวดีว่ะมันเริ่มแบบว่าตารางมันเริ่มเปลี่ยนว่ะ
Wolf was right.
มันเริ่มไม่ได้แบบว่า
All right, well, Scout here.
DNS นี่คือ
Combo from
มันเป็นไม่ใช่ตอนนี้คณะตอนนี้มันเหมือนจะไม่ใช่ทีมแบบ
is very comical
under
because
นะ
it helps Pyosik survive.
ดู
but
เล่นแบบเล่นดี
got
แบบ
the clone. The
แปลก
turret got the clone. Yeah.
Yeah. They did kill the maiden after this, so it's not all bad news. That's 50
ปี
G.
นี้คือทุกทีมมันดูแบบว่างัดได้หมดเลย
Good news is Taeun is still ahead on Jin.
Yep, there we go. And he's managing to lock down
ห้ามชม
Pyosik
ใช่
here
ปะ
as well, who does get a bit of a stun onto Sponge. The Aegis is there as
Fair.
well as, okay, Closer just gets in to dive,
Oh.
but there's the Pop Blossom to take down
Peter
Taeun. Peter now in a bit of
Tài.
trouble as well as they look to try and turn it
Dokdam.
onto Dokdam, who does have the barrier. There's the Cataclysm.
อ๋อ
They can't
มา
block
แล้ว
away,
ว่ะ
but it's Dokdam.
เอออยู่ๆ
Who
ก็
goes
พอชม
down?
ปุ๊บเปียวซิก
Nongshim.
ตาย
A great answer here as Dudu is just breaking their stuff.
He is definitely doing a number to their structures, but at least they win a team fight, and Taeun's lead gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and that's going to be another turret falling
ชม
down
แล้ว
here
ตาย
in
ทั
this
นที
mid lane as well. For Nongshim this time around,
แต่ว่า
gonna be their
โคเซอร์ไม่ตาย
first
มี
of
ชัด
the
ดาว
game.
440
With the
ครับ
turret down in the mid lane, you know, Scout has a little bit more flexibility when he comes in for these flanks. There's a lot more freedom for the Jin in the mid lane. As this initially looks like Pyosik might have actually just won the game by putting his shield up because he's like, buy in time, buy in time. And Taeun is like, Well, I can't shoot faster, so
yeah, and Closer dashing right into a cosmic binding was not exactly what they wanted.
Not really his plan.
แม่งเลยคือเลแฮนแม่งตันไปตอนที่โคเซอร์มาพอดี
So this was a bit of a disaster here for DNS, but Nongshim found the initial pick and then they held their ground. DNS, I think, did not expect it as Closer's looking for another angle here.
Yeah, Mimic Distortion does go on through as it looks like that chain was not broken, but it indeed was. And Taylor is going to be okay.
มันเป็นอาเซียมันสเกลลิ่งได้เรื่อย
here for the Jin, but the same can be said for this LeBlanc. Closer sitting at 3-0-1.
Kingan's gonna transform his Muramana. He's gonna be on 2 items.
There you go. That's something. Dudu also looking for that second one, but his are a little bit more expensive than Ghostblade Manamune.
And we did get the Infernal Soul, so everything's okay. It's not.
Hey, there we go.
ต้องดูว่าดูเธอแรกชิ้นนี้จะ
I did see
มังกรไฟจริงๆด้วยแบบรู้สึกได้เลยไม่ว่าเป็นโชว์จริงครับคุณผู้ชม
around like 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. so maybe
แรงไหมแรงสกิลคูดาวไวด้วยแต่
which is really like that's bad news because normally if you bring the umbrella it's not going to rain.
จะไหวหรือเปล่า
so it's almost definitely going to. That's working against us.
Well, Nongshim
เหมือนแพ้ออยไม่ได้
but they're looking poised now to start their first as they do have King and
เขายึดพุ่มบานาน่าได้ก่อน
does not have TP.
แล้วจะไปรับว่ะจะไปรับดู
They're going to hold the dragon aggro.
Yeah, and you can see Dudu trying to make his way around. He's going to take the long way.
Closer.
Yeah, Closer.
ดูเดินอ้อมมาเลยกันผ่านหวาดไม่ให้หมดคิงเงินกำลังจะตัดยกสวยปีเตอร์โคเซอร์เข้าไปสกาวไม่เป็นไรสปอนออกมาคิงเงินต้องโอ้มันโดนไอ้ไมเดนไล่ว่ะไมเดนไล่ออกสปอนจะแย่งมันแย่งไม่ได้ครับผมมังกรโซพอยต์ตกอยู่ที่ซูเปอร์ถ้าอยู่น่าจะไม่รอดจะเอาไปได้ไหม
He is gonna run away for a minute.
บอมแม่งยังอยู่
Oh
my god Closer
just puts him out of his misery.
All
Mark
Jin mains,
เหยียบ2 ที
including
บอ
Deagle
ม
on
ไป
the
เลย
space, no doubt, we're like, does he kill him there? And Closer's like, no, of course not.
As it turns out, from my experience, Jin barely ever kills him there. Yeah. In any instance.
Hold on, was that his point? No, he dies.
Unless it's Jackie Love at Worlds 2 years ago.
Initially, it looks like Closer's made a big mistake, right? He gets caught here by Taeyoon and then gets Tempered Fated, but Tempered Fate is used in this moment, and they can't follow up. Hyoshik is actually defending really well here.
มันกันไม่ไหวไว้คิงเงินนะ
And Closer pushes Taeyoon out. He flashes into the enemy team.
คือถ้าเขาไปเล่นด้วยโดน QET อีกบ้องตายแน่นอน
He's not going to use it. The fight's already over, so he's just kind of on the wrong side of things. They lose dragon control.
Taeyoon just really looking for a safe place to go home. And it does not work out.
DNS นี่เริ่มเก่งไหมจากที่ดูเริ่มเก่งครับจริงๆเริ่มเก่งตั้งแต่ LCK ครับแล้วพี่คิดว่า
No, it's not this last shot.
ตั้งแต่รอบเพลย์อินแล้วมันเริ่มแบบเฮ้ยมันเริ่มแบบเฮ้ยมันมีทรงว่ะ
Doctor also with a very unfortunate purchase hasn't quite been able to put together his Infinity
มันก็ตบนองชิมนะตอนนั้นน่ะมันตบ KT นองชิมนะเว้ยซูเปอร์
on to a gold advantage. It's not exactly looking linear at this point in time as Nongshim did manage to get that team fight to bring them back towards gold parity, but now to move back towards 2.5k and Soul Point, which is the big deal with a composition that wants to play around sides. That is precisely what you want.
It doesn't matter that the Caitlyn is 1,000 gold behind because she's not the main point of this composition. It's the side lane champions who are massively ahead of their counterparts. And now Dudu can even afford to tech in some MR because he knows the real threat damage-wise is going to be this Azir who's 2,000 gold behind.
ไม่ไหวแล้วเจอใครก็แพ้
Dudu?
Yeah, Taeyoon going to come on over here as Lance holds him in position. King in, diving on top. It's going to take a bit of killing to take down Dudu, but they should be able to do it. There's the heal.
ถ้าเกิดมิสเตอร์แหลกเมื่อกี้คิงเงินตายนะ
Pretty barely, to be perfectly honest. As Closer being frustrating here in this side lane as well. Should be able to grab this plate before he leaves, and there it is.
So it's a pick, but does it really mean anything when there's no objective to take? Really, I mean, they can't start Baron here.
They were incessantly pinging Baron.
Yeah.
ไม่ใช่
They
ว่า
were like,
ที
what
ม
we
เป็น
could take
SLE ไม่ได้
if
ไป
it was last
MSI นะ
year.
พี่
Yeah. Also, Dudu has TP, so if they tried it, he would be able to come in and shut them down. Closer had that push in the top side. Only gets 2 plates off of that inner turret, so definitely a nice swing of gold here for Nongshim in the exchange, but not as relevant as it could have been.
Well, Magical Journey will be able to get Lens to relative safety.
ได้ไปหมด
Looked a
ดีกว่า
little dicey
แบบว่า
there for a moment. Midwave is just going to be dealt with as DNS looking to get vision back around this Baron that was removed. Closer should just be able to take him down here though. Never mind. Sponge was over the top. You're not going to connect. There's the flash. And Closer is able to lock it down. It's a solo kill in the end actually, even though everyone was around here. There's a pop blossom onto the walls.
โดนปีเตอร์ถ้าเมื่อกี้ได้สปอนคือได้บาลอน100,000,000%.
I don't know, maybe they did. King's going to look for a trade back.
Yeah, and Closer is going to pop back and just get killed by Sponge. Down he goes, 1,000 gold to the Jarvan. And DNS suffering a lot at the end of that one. In fact, as you can see, 1,000 gold is going to be taken away from that gold advantage. So in the trade, it's not quite worth it. As Lehens, I mean, he's been dying a fair bit this game.
For just a moment, Sponge had a gold lead, as he's the one who picks up the 1,000 gold shutdown. As initially here, Closer gets this pick, but the rest of the team isn't able to really defend when the follow-up comes through, as he flashes for this, and then distorts back in. Pop Blossom. It does not work out. It's Blast Cone. Valdez is angry. And he has to distort back here, so Sponge is just waiting for him. There's nothing he can do. Unfortunately for Taeyun, he does not get the kill, but he's already massively ahead. Would have loved 1,000 extra gold on top of that lead, though, I imagine.
Yep. As 3 items now completed. Still doesn't really have the one that makes him do big damage, but that should be coming in relatively soon.
เห็นเลยบอลลงมาปุ๊บเพื่อนโดดถอยเลยเหี้ย
Dr. Mo, he's only on 2 and a bit, so still going to be looking for rapid fire cannon and then some armor penetration, things like this.
At this point, rather than talking about compositions, I really have to kind of just, we got to pull our magnifying glasses out for our eye test and be like, are DNS able to execute this? Because I'm starting to wonder. They definitely don't have the lead they used to, and some of these scrappy fights have been a little bit laissez-faire, let's say.
With an Infernal Soul, I think they might be able to do it. That's going to be up in 5 seconds. A Pantheon will always be able to make his way in as Taeyun does manage to get an early flourish on to Dudu, but Dudu just teleported. He's got a big old shield, and he is feeling absolutely fine.
ตบท้ายวันด้วยเสียงหัวเราะของพี่เอก พี่เอกหัวเราะแบบไปดูในสตรีมคือหัวเราะแบบหัวเราะแบบว่าเหมือนขั้นสุดเลย
With all that damage done and the setup with
ไม่เคยเห็นพี่เอกหัวเราะแบบนี้เลย
for Nongshim to actually close this gap. Taeyun's ult is back available.
And they can pull this one out as well as flag and drag from Sponge. Oh God, he really loves the north part of the river.
เหมือนแกน้ำตาไหลเลย
The curtains have been called now as he misses the first one and then cancels it. There's a pop.
ได้ปะถ้ายังได้ไม่ได้ด้วยโซไฟ
Infernal Soul over to DNS. It's a kill for Pyoshik as well. As the Cataclysm falls down, they did lose Pia, but they'll take that trade any day of the week.
And Scout doesn't even ult in the fight. Just cannot get into position to make a relevant setup happen. The traps were down. Taeyun was trying to prove that Jin could be played melee. He survives, which is really impressive. But like, look at the trap angle here. They can't really move forward. Taeyun, there was no vision in his defense, but generally a very aggressive position. And he's Jin, so he's like, maybe I can make an impact with my ult. It's just too slow here. And Sponge goes in after this kill goes over, so he just gives more gold, and Scout just cannot actually get close enough to set up the Empress fight. The trap placement was the main problem for Nongshim there.
Yeah, the setup really, really good for DNS. And honestly, the DNS Supers have just been better at playing out mid to late game than how they were in the LCK Cup.
แต่ไม่ต้องฆ่าก็ได้เน้นแบบว่าแอดซีดก็ได้แล้วเดี๋ยวเอาให้ออปติกมันทำงานGG ไหมพี่ว่ายังพลิกได้อยู่นะเพราะว่ามันไม่ได้ขาดครับแล้วก็มังกรไวมันก็เหมือนจะเป็น DNS ที่ได้เปรียบแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดมันไม่ได้ขาดอ่ะมันจะเป็นฟลิปตรงเอลเดอร์ได้เนี่ยอีก4 นาทีจะถามว่ามันจะทำไงให้ขาดมันต้องไฟแบบขาดแล้วดันได้อินฮีอ่ะมันถึงจะขาดอย่างเงี้ยคือทรงเท่ากันถ้าแย่งได้แล้วไม่เป็น J4 ด้วยครับ J4 มันสามารถถ้าเข้าไปแย่งได้ถึงแม้ว่าจะเจอแพทติออนคิวสมัยแต่ว่ามันก็ยังมีแบบอาจจะ40-60อะไรเงี้ยมันยังแย่งได้เพราะฉะนั้นตรงนี้ซูเปอร์ต้อง
The poke gets a little bit more lethal with this Infernal Soul here for the Swarm, as well as even the Yorick is going to...
ไม่งั้นต้องไป50-50แล้วก็
But I kind of look at this game state now going, I'm not 100% sold on the performance of DNS here, and with just one mistake in this game,
พี่ตัดเดี๋ยวพี่ทำไปแล้วแบบตัวตัดแบบเดี๋ยวจบสัปดาห์นี้จบวันอาทิตย์พี่ก็จะ
The problem is
จะ
what's being
ตัดคลิป
highlighted there on our
ไอ้
screen,
พวกแบบ
which
ว่าช็อต
was
แบ
the
บรว
very
มช็อต
cool hat
LCK
being
ในสัปดาห์
put
แล้วมา
together
ล
by
งในคลิปสั้น
Closer.
หนึ่งคลิป
That on top of an Infernal Soul, oh man, that is so much damage that Closer is going to be doing. And even Dudu, I don't think that anyone can really answer him in a side lane as he approaches levels, 19 and 20. I don't know how you're supposed to really do anything about it. They should just have a lot more control. However, and this is a big one, we're now at Elder Flip territory.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only 3 minutes away.
Oh, Dom, yeah, possibly caught out here as Peter. I don't think he wants to save this one.
Oh my God.
Will take him down. Taeun locks up the Caitlyn. Pyoshik also looking for an angle, but I don't know about this one as Taeun very close to death. But is going to have the rest of his team there to save him. Dudu now the big old shield is just trying to do what he can. And Pyoshik, yeah, walking over wards. But Nongshim, I don't think they really care about the Pantheon. They want to take this Baron. Although they are wanting to take him down first, they should be able to get the GA. There it is. Closer dashing on top of Sponge in a bit of trouble.
ถ้าสปอนตายก็เข้าทุนนะไม่ตายด้วยได้บาลอนนี่ไงน้องชิมมาแล้ว
And this should be Baron over to Nongshim.
I told you they were gonna maybe potentially come back in this game, like, 20 minutes ago.
Throwable Wolf, as we just found out.
Because Nongshim they're just punishing DNS, making egregious mistakes. This one's on Duckers. He dies. They're able to control the Baron. Now they have a gold lead, and they can use this Baron to set up prio for the Elder. As Duck Dom just trying to set up traps, just gets. I mean, you gotta flash those. Like, he flashes the Tempered Fate.
จินล็อกขา
the shot afterwards anyway. But if you get caught there by the flourish, you're just gonna die because they have such good follow-up. And this is just the end of that. Like, they get the AD carry. Closer is so huge, but he cannot win alone, especially when they're super split like this, trying to go for the punish play, which was Pyoshik trying to be a hero. Yeah, and even is just not going to go down.
Yeah, he can't do anything. Closer can't do anything when they're grouped up as 5 as well. And now, minute and a half left until this Elder Drake does come up, and there is 2 minutes, a little bit more than that for the Baron as well. So Nongshim should be able to utilize that to get control around this Dragon area. Good amount of poke there coming out from Closer to make sure that Sponge does have to go back home.
As the first chain's hit, I think he might have actually popped his GA there. Still gets away with it though. Sponge, that is.
Ooh, cute little ward actually over to the side. There's the flash from Closer, dash cannon, and that's going to lock down King. And
เอาคิงเงิน
um,
เสร็จแล้วไปคิงเงินตายเฮียที่หาย
I don't know. We'll have to ask Lahens afterwards. I think that might have just been delaying the inevitable, but still, I think he was definitely going to die. But now Tempered Fate is also on cooldown.
Yeah, it's not the longest cooldown, but we are looking at a 50 seconds until Elder situation. Nongshim don't have the Baron, so they can just use prio here.
Teleport for Kingen as well, so he will be making his way in with that big old shield.
I think they can find their way into prio for Elder, but they're gonna have to play it well. They're gonna grab this inner first. They have the Sun Disc set up already. Now they can kind of just kite back in. I don't think they should force their way through here, though.
Yeah, these choke points are actually kind of awkward for Nongshim because trap setups can be a whole lot more effective. Let's see.
TP in 20, Elder in 25. The margins are really thin here, but I think Nongshim are in a favorable position.
ตรงป้อม
Especially
มัน
because
มีป้อม
Taeun's
อา
bound
เฟ
to
อ
push
ยู่แม่
this
ง
all the way to
ดั
the
นแล้วพวก
inhibitor
ลึก
turret.
อะเฮ้ย
Yeah, it is a sacrifice here for DNS though, as there is a stun onto Scout.
Scout.
It takes a lot of damage. The Morning Mist will connect as Sponge makes his way out. The curtains have been called, but there is not a whole lot of vision.
Scout's got a TP in as
Nongshim ต้อง
fast
reset
as he can.
อ่ะ
He's
รีเซ็ต
gonna
ได้
back.
ครับ
He'll be trading
พี่
places
ว่าแม่ง
with Kingen here for just a
อันนี้แม่ง
moment.
50-50 เลย
Traps are set though, and
เพ
so
ราะว่า DNS เหมือน
do
จะได้
get that
โซนดีกว่า แต่ว่าแม่งเลือด
The
น้อย
setup is theirs. Sponge is on a
อ้าว
bit of a flank angle, and he needs to find
Dudu
said
โดน
flank as Dudu is the one who's caught.
Dudu is actually going to be taken down extraordinarily low, and he's taken out. Kingen going to lock up that kill. There's the pop blossom onto Scout, but the
Oh my
Tempered
God,
Fate
Scout ดันกลับมา
gonna be
เมื่อ
there to
กี้
keep him alive, and Taeun's
GG
able
ว่ะ
to take down Peter. That's a great stasis there from Scout.
นงชิมชนะ DNS ฝากเรียกชนะเพราะว่าดกดำแม่งไป
Is he just gonna get away?
I guess so. I guess he's just
ไป
gonna
วาง
go win
แท็บ
the
แล้ว
game.
เจอเจสยิงกับล็อกขาแล้วตายแล้วเจอเคิร์นคอ
Gets away with it, but I think he's just going to watch his Nexus explode as the rest of the team is pushing through. Baron has expired.
So
They don't need an Elder buff.
Can the Grand Starfall actually kill the minions? That's the question. As Pyoshik wanted to take down Lahens, but it's not quite going to work. And this siege minion is up and available. Peter making his way in, seeing whether he can do anything about this. But another wave is going to join them. And Nongshim, I think, should be able to take down these Nexus turrets and win the game. They were losing the entire time, but then DNS made that one fumble and they capitalize. Nongshim walk away 1-0.
This is unfortunately really reminiscent, this performance from Dukdom, of what we saw early 2025, where, KT were like, I guess we'll give Podok a shot. A lot of this game was on, his positioning was a little bit weak, right? He wasn't able to win the lane with the Caitlyn pick, the counter pick they had there in the bottom side. And unfortunately, got picked at the worst possible time to give Baron. Because like I was saying, it was a tiny gold lead, and all it was going to take was one team fight, one big objective. You could see the swing of gold there towards the end. And then Elder's on the cards, right? And that forces this awkward fight for DNS that they could not win. They almost killed Scout, right? But almost isn't good enough. Scout did very little damage in this game and lost lane in a big way to Closer. But this composition for DNS had a bit of an expiration date, not in terms of its scaling. I mean, Closer still was incredibly fed and still made a big impact, but they just could not control the map anymore once that first pick came through. Baron just obliterated them.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those compositions when you're playing split push, as soon as something falls apart, it's like a house of cards. And you saw they 100% collapsed, and it was a great team fight composition to round things out for Nongshim. Time for us to take a short break. When we get back to space, gonna break that one down, and then we'll have game number 2. We'll see you then.
On this Easter Sunday, with GenG and BNK Fearex playing later, it's actually Nongshim Red Force and the DN Supers vying to go undefeated in week
เดี๋ยวให้แชทดู
number
เมื่อกี้
1.
มีแชทถามว่าแบบพี่เอกหัวเราะเป็นยังไงเดี๋ยวให้ดูพี่คนเขามาร์กไว้แล้วนะคือจริงๆแล้วพี่แบบไม่ต้องทำอะไรเลย
ก็สนุกดีครับไอเซตนี้มันกันหมดเลยครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับ พี่กิฟต์ทาคูครับเป็นอย่างไรบ้างครับสำหรับทีมทีเซตนี้
สำหรับฟีนก็
โดนนะเดี๋ยวเจอกันเร็วๆนี้นะ
คือผมว่าเซตนี้มันก็น่าเล่นนะครับ
พี่เจไม่อยู่ด้วยถ้าสมมติพี่เจอยู่โดนแน่พี่ไม่ตอบนะมาอยู่รอดตัวไปนะมึง
สนุกมันมีแปลงร่างพี่ก็ชอบเลยเอเลนโซแบบว่าโอเคเอเลนโซสนุกมากยี่น้ำตาไอ้เหี้ย
who's super proactive early and has that ult to back them up. This is kind of everything you need.
รู้สึกเสียงพี่เอกน้ำตาไหล
Not every lane went as swimmingly due to some outside interference, but it still went positively enough that the game was in their hands to win.
กะแกล้งพี่เจงเฉย
They played mid jungle closer and
พี่กะแกล้งพี่เจงเว้ยแต่พี่เจงไม่อยู่
everywhere on the map and real proactive in the early game throughout all the series. But I feel like
ไปดูคลิปล่าสุดพี่เอกได้แล้วก็ถ้าใครอยากจะฟังเสียงพี่กอฟังเสียงพี่เอกขำเลย
because their team fight is not optimal. So here again, Nongshim they were really behind in the early game, but they found opportunity to punish Pyojik here, and they got a huge.
เป็นการแข่งที่ขับจนได้ซะแต่ละคนเหมือนว่าแข่งบนรถไฟของ
and that's all. But again. Chain inting happened, and I think that was the comeback for Nongshim.
This is one of those things that when you're that far
พอมาถึงพี่เบียร์บัฟทอค่ะจะรู้ได้ไงพี่เอกหลุดขำมาดูไทยคลิปนี้ได้ครับหลุดได้พรวดมากไปทั้งตัวตาสว่างตอนตี 5เรื่องนี้เป็นอะไรอะเรื่องนี้เป็นคนเส้นลึกอย่างคนอื่นก็เอาไม่อยู่ที่ออฟทีเซตนี้เอาทีเอฟทีเซตนี้ฮะเกมหามากพี่เอกทำได้ดีมากค่ะถ้าแบบที่ไม่เอาจริงอ่านแล้วยังงงๆอยู่ไม่สนุกมากครับคุณที่มาอะไรนะครับเสียงพี่กิฟคือโดนเส้นมากครับสนุกพี่กิฟคอมโบกับพี่เจงพี่ชิวไปถึงกับเส้นเสียเส้น
win the game. Yeah, and for Nongshim it was great patience to wait.
คือขับจนแบบกลัวเข้าห้องด่าใช่เหรอเมื่อวานใช่เหรอมาสตาร์ไลท์
They could have fought it soul, they gave it up, and they get a huge flank here, and that's how they start the fight.
Yeah, they just end up once again leading this successful fight with the pick. Yorick eliminated on the offset. This Emperor's Divide here completely disengages an equal, and then this great angle from the Jarvan just immediately getting onto the backline, providing this disruption. And here, like, look at this flash forward from the Jhin.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have enough DPM at the late game, so I think they had to just play perfectly. And I think this team comp cannot work in this meta because I
แล้ว
think
ปรากฏ
there's so
ไป
many
ดู
things
คลิป
that you
ที่พี่ล
can
ง
drop even
หนู
though you
ขำเกือบ
are
ตายคลิป
really
ไหน
far ahead in
คลิป
the
ไอ้
early
ที่
game.
แบบว่าใคร
You have to fight for
อะ
objective every single time even though you're really far ahead. You cannot finish the game without any like Drake even though they got the soul. They still had to take the team fight and also you just have so much shutdowns, you know, like if you drop one of the shutdown then enemy team will just catch up with the item. So I think this doesn't work. I think you have
ถ้า
to
อ๋อใช่
draft for
ถ้า
the team fight.
GenG
Even
ไม่
though
ได้
you
ใส่
really want to earlier
อาร์เตต้า
priority,
โดนปลดไหม
I think
ครับ
you have to think about the team fight at some point.
I'm kind of on the
What
different side
the
of it.
fuck?
I think a lot of it came down to the execution. I think, you know, they had enough advantages from where they were. A lot of these bad fights started from people getting picked out. You know, they had things like the LeBlanc. Fed LeBlanc with an Infernal Soul should be enough to just win you setups on these fights. She should just be able to poke out key members of the other side. Like the fact that it's like Bard setting up these picks and things like that. How is a Bard walking forward when there's a Fed LeBlanc with Infernal Soul near the team? To me, that shouldn't be able to happen. And I think it shows just bad setup around objectives from the side of DNS and giving Nongshim just way too much space. If you get into the 5v5, especially a man down, you're going to have a tough time. So this setup needs to be better, really crisp if you have a comp like this, especially when you have a Caitlyn who needs to get the traps down early.
Yeah, and to your point, we showed the graphic just a second ago. That was the first win Jarvan into the Pantheon, and Pyosik was in control of the game all the way up until that point of our first highlight we showed, where he got picked and then took control back until the second highlight we showed, where they got picked again and then eventually lost the game. It's a tough one to recuperate here if you're the DN Automotive Supers, but they need to if they want to find themselves 2-0 in the week. Nongshim trying to get themselves up 2-0 in the week. Let's send it back on over to Alice and Wolf for game number 2.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that breakdown. I kind of agree with Orcs. I feel like the draft was fine. Some whoopsies occurred, Wolf.
I mean, I do think that Wadid is probably really saying the same thing. It's just that, like, ultimately, if you're not going to be able to execute on those picks, like, you probably should draft a team fight comp, because they couldn't do it, right? And I think both sides of that discussion were really interesting to hear. And I agree, though, that if you're not going to execute well, it can be a very tough time, which we kind of said from the outset of the draft. We just didn't think necessarily it was going to get to that late game where Nongshim were going to be able to play it close. We thought the snowball was going to just be too large. Moving into the second draft, the Rise, which was not picked because of LeBlanc, is still available here, quite interestingly.
And we are going to have very similar bans by the looks of things. Nongshim remain on the blue side, and second pick remains with the DN Supers.
Yeah, they just chose second pick after the loss, so we just ended up in the exact same setup here.
It's the same position completely, kind of crazy. But same bans, question mark, as just have to be a vibe, but instead the Aurora is going to be banned away.
I think I would rather play against Vi than Rise in this meta.
I would agree.
Let's see if the Supers do, though.
They have been bucking some trends so far.
They chose second pick, so they clearly have an answer prepared.
Just get that Cassiopeia
That's
out.
what I was, you know, that's kind of what I'm alluding to here is Scout did not have a great game one.
I like the Anivia option instead. It was fun watching Zayas play yesterday, even if they didn't necessarily win.
It's fun that Anivia went from being like completely irrelevant to relevant in 3 lanes real quick.
Exactly.
As we'll see the Nautilus picked up here for Peter super early on with this Cassiopeia pick rather than grabbing a Prio jungler.
It's kind of cool because the Nautilus is a bit of a pick away from Lehens as well. He absolutely loves playing the champion, so gives Peter a lot of agency in this game, as well as taking away an option from Lehens. But now they can actually just lock in a bottom lane. The Seraphine was banned in game 1. They could pick that one up as Sponge. Takes away Pyroshik's Lee Sin.
I am just shocked because it seemed like there's so many like 80 carries you could grab here where I'm like, the game is done. Nongshim win. Like they could have played Sivir, they could have played Ashe Seraphine, they could have played Lulu, Yunara, and been like, oh, good luck with Nautilus in that lane. And instead they just kind of went Gnar and Lee Sin, taking a page out of the T1's
opting in to the blind Gnar. It wasn't on my bingo card. It's a bit of a strange one, as there is the Ambessa locked in, flexible between both Pyosik and Dudu. We'll see exactly where it is going to go afterwards.
I don't think it's a bad choice, but it leaves me puzzled in the same way that not getting Rise Pantheon in game 1 left me puzzled. They played through the LeBlanc really well in the early game, but I was kind of thinking it was a bit of a freebie. As we move into the second phase, surely DN Supers will remove some of those strong picks. Instead, going to continue to keep the focus on Lehens and his melee supports here.
Yeah, I think the Leona is an odd one with both Nami and the Lulu available.
It's pretty good with Lee Sin because it can set up Lee Sin in a lot of ways, but it also, I suppose, weakens an Ezreal pick, which is something that Taeyun is definitely considering here in this second game. You could have just banned the Ezreal instead.
Yeah, it's an odd situation here. Wukong going to be taken away from Pyosik here as they do believe that Dudu is going to be piloting the Ambassador towards the top side of the map into the Gnar. It was in direct response to the Gnar pickup, so that does make some sense there. We'll just have to see. One final ban. Lulu, Nami, something like that.
I think the Ashe makes sense. They can still play Lulu Yunara.
Yeah,
Yunara's not guaranteed frontline, but it's still pretty good. And the Cassiopeia is so low range.
I wonder what the choice is going to be for the DN Supers. Will it be saving counterpick for AD carry, which could be kind of insane?
It is pretty interesting because I don't think Nautilus is ever going to be flexed in the jungle here.
There's the Yunara ban.
So the Yunara is gone. There was a world where they could do something crazy and play Nautilus jungle and go for the Lulu pick themselves, but I think we're just going to end up seeing a bit of a boring scaling AD carry pick here.
It's probably not Aurelia.
Gnar? I don't think so.
Could have been the top lane pick though, and actually Aurelia was a classic counter, but never mind. It's just going to be Nocturne instead. And so no flexing the Nautilus into the jungle or anything like that. It's just going to be Pyosik taking away that semi-global, which does make a fair bit of sense. And now, without the Jarvan on the table,
they still get Sivir somehow. It's actually crazy. I don't even... How is this allowed? How is this possible to get Ryze Sivir with no Jarvan? And Taeyun almost looks like he's still not even that interested in playing it.
Well, there are things that outrange it, I guess, but not really.
But you're playing into a Nautilus lane, so you're feeling pretty good about this situation, this setup.
Yeah. And there's no Caitlyn, no Jhin, no Varus, no
Ashe. So ไม่มีลีซินของ PLC ก็เห็นมา
Spider needs to come up the spout on this one.
Not เหมือนจะดีแต่ว่า Not มัน
And honestly, Anivia into Nautilus, this is the first time that we saw the Anivia picked up, I believe, when she was in the mid lane. It was into a Nautilus that could just not do anything in that game. Like, it just feels terrible. And now, the Anivia is in the Nautilus's lane.
ได้วะ
Oh god. Well,
I was Kaisa makes sense for this draft. I almost said Neela in this situation. I'm like, I don't know. Good luck with this one. Good luck salvaging this draft. Pretty weird draft at the start of things. And I think Nongshim were super greedy with their Lee Sin and Gnar picks, but they just go completely unpunished in this draft. And so they end up getting a Sivir Anivia lane. I don't really fully agree with the Nautilus priority that we saw in this draft here for Peter because it cost them a lot.
คือน็อตอ่ะจะปล่อยใครสะเล่นคือปีเตอร์จะปล่อยใครสะแบบไม่ได้เอาอะไรมากอ่ะแล้วก็ไปแก๊งนาเว้ย
There's just so much consistent damage on the other side for Nongshim Red Force, and they have also pretty good side lane power. Then Nocturne should be able to handle that decently well, but it feels like a different type of the same type of composition here in this second game, where you have some team fight power, but you kind of have to play through picks and all-ins.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried about the Lee Sin value when there is Miasma to be put on the ground. As classic Peter fan, absolutely fantastic. I love that. Just go Peter. That's all it is. Not even required to win. Just go out there and have a good time, Peter. And let's see whether he does do that here on the Nautilus into the Anivia. Oh wait, no, he's just probably going to have a terrible time. But hopefully he still is going to be feeling good in his mind, even though the lane is going to be absolutely horrible.
งงเลย
The Supers still have a composition that can work together. See whether it does. We get on the rip for game 2.
ต้องไปเห็นจริงครับคือเวลามันดีด้วยแหละมินโฮมันเป็นเวลาแบบเลิกงานแล้วที่เกาหลีมันเดินทางสะดวกอ่ะมันก็แบบนั่งรถไฟฟ้ามาแล้วมันก็มาลงตึกมาแบบเล่นเกมเหมือนเป็นคาเฟ่แบบมานั่งคุยกับเพื่อนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยมันจะนัดเพื่อเจอเพื่อนแล้วก็แบบหาอะไรกินตรงนั้นแล้วก็ดูแข่งดูข้างนอกก็ได้ไม่ต้องไปดูข้างในก็ได้บัตรถือว่าราคาพี่ว่าถ้าเทียบกับค่าครองชีพแล้วถือว่าไม่แพง
I don't think Peter's gonna have a good time.
เพราะว่าตัดผมเพราะว่าตัดเป็นหัวละพันอะไรอย่างเงี้ยคือบัตรนี้มันก็ประมาณนั้นนะไม่ได้แพงมาก
Good for Peter. It could get him in faster to a situation he wants to be in, and give him his Q.
เอาจริงตอนนี้พี่ก็ยังไม่รู้ว่าแคสซี่เนี่ยเวลาเจอกับไลฟ์เนี่ยควรอัพคิวหรือควรอัพ W นะ
No, I don't think it's ever
แต่พี่ว่าอัพ W ดีกว่า
Let me try to think there could be a thing. All right, like
แต่ถ้าเป็นคนที่เล็งคิวแม่นก็อัพคิว
I think that there are
เพราะว่าไล
times
ฟ์มันต้องแบบยิงยื้อไปเรื่อยๆหลบ
Anivia is not going to
แต่
be
ถ้าโดนพิษเรื่อยๆแบบนี้
and
มันก็
therefore
เจ็บ
the
อยู่
Nautilus is going to have a great time. As right now, let's see whether things can work out. As right now, Lahens doesn't exactly have a wall available.
He got aftershock value there.
Nailed it.
So, and he got his shield to take a little bit of damage. Again.
ในแฮกเขาจะก็เล่นก็ไอ้แอนิเวียนี่ก็ชนะ
after all.
Yep, beautiful.
ไม่ชนะ
They
ปะ
are
วะ
getting pushed in, so that is not positive,
ช
but
นะใช่
could
ปะ
be worse.
เฮ้ย
Well, let's see whether the DN Supers can get some of these minions
พี่แต่นึกว่า
as
เลแฮนเล่น
this
ช
wave
นะ
does
แต่ว่า
crash on forward. Peter just going to taxi himself towards the minion. Not exactly the highest of value, as at least they do manage to hit level
มัน
2.
แพ้ดีเค
Void
แต่
Seeker
ว่าเล่น
comes
ดี
on
เว้
down
ย
there as well as the exhaust onto Doc Dom.
เล่นดีแต่ว่าแพ้
Dan has that summon
เอ้ย
spell.
ชนะ
Kind of
ชนะ
crazy.
ขออภัย
Not
ชนะ
going
ดีเค
for
นะ
a barrier or anything like that.
I think he just knows they win this lane kind of by default, and it could be powerful in the 2v2, but also it's great into Nocturne and also the Ambessa. So kind of cool. I forgot who was mentioning it. I think it was Ox who mentioned it recently that we just don't really see that summoner spell all too often anymore, but cool to see that on an 80 carry defensively here.
Oh, Dudu looking for an angle towards King in here. Just
แต่จ
gets
ริ
the
งๆแล้ว
grasp
พี่เล่น
up
เวน
and
ไป
gets
เจอกับ
himself out of
เอ
there.
เม
But
ซ่ายังเหนื่อย
King
เลยอะ
is a little
คือจะยิง
susceptible
แม่ง
here.
สักทีแม่งเหนื่อยมากเลยเพราะว่าแบบถ้ามันเข้ามาถึงตัวแล้วมันประชิดมันฟาดได้อะแต่ว่าอันนั้นมันคือเอเมซ่ารูนแบบว่าเอเล็กโตคิวแต่พอเป็น
One
รู
of
น
the
เขียวมันอาจจะ
weaknesses of Kaisa is that she doesn't do very well in the early laning phase in most matchups. So we've been talking a lot about Nautilus.
มีสมัยอยู่แต่ยังต้องปล่อยอะ
Also struggling a little bit.
Just going to take a cull and see whether they can avoid it. It's 5 losses in a row here for the Rise.
This is why Closer's like, see Wolf? That's why I went for the little blonde pick.
Well, let's see whether that losing streak is going to come to an end or whether it's going to be this losing streak that can come to an end.
All right, one of these streaks ends no matter what.
There we go. Ambessa been struggling a little bit here in the LCK so far this week.
แต่สุดท้ายเทคอิทตัดยังไงพี่อยากรู้
towards closer, flash out. Doesn't want to mess with it at all.
เทคอิทอยู่ปะ
making his way up as well.
โอเว่นอยู่ปะ
Didn't want to mess
ตัด
with it.
คลิป
Makes
ที่
some
เอก
sense.
แบบคลิปสั้นมันยังไงดีวะมันจี้จัดเลยอะแต่ว่ามันไม่รู้ตัดยังไงอะ
Trade up here again. It's pretty good laning phase here for Dudus so far.
Yeah, not doing too
พี่
bad.
ไม่รู้ว่าตัดยังไง
on
เหมื
the
อนกันนะ
Ambessa.
เพราะว่าต้องไปขอคลิปพี่เอก
And I
ด้วยป่ะ
think
ว่า
it's
พี่
gonna
เอก
still be
ขำใน
okay
ไล
as
ฟ์สตรีมของ
this
แก
game goes on. Team fighting on the Gnar can certainly be something that they can find a lot of success with, especially with a composition like this. Like once again, Nongshim have just decided to go with, we're going to team fight. And they should be able to make it happen if they can play around the Gnar bar effectively.
Hens has been trying to clear some vision here, so a little bit of extra push power for Peter and Duck Dom for a moment.
ต้องไปต้องขอก่อนว่าแบบได้ไหม
And
ใช่
calls
ถ้าเกิด
on
เขา
both sides here as well for both Nongshim and DNS in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a little boring start here for the bottom 2v2.
Peter standing on vision here as Nongshim are trying to make him unaware of the fact that he is completely known in what he's doing. Flash Frost does go wide as Peter with his shield, but that gets eaten pretty quickly. Void Seeker doesn't quite do too much, and even the dredge line
ตัวมันเด้งแบบอย่างนั้นได้ไงวะ
just going to be getting in the way.
Taeyoon is just kind of vibing, doesn't really care. He's starting to build up a significant CS lead now. Hens will try to clear vision, and they just go straight back to
ตอนแรก
controlling this
พี่ว่า
because
แบ
they
บ
know
จะเป็น
Pyoshik is
รอมั้งเหมือนรอ
a
ทัมมิ่งแบบ
Nocturne
เทม
that
โป
doesn't have
แบบ
his ult.
น็อกเทิร์น 6
And
แล้วก็ไป
also,
น่าจะ
Sponge
ไป
is
หา
on the
คิง
bottom
เงิ
side
น
of the
ละ
map, so they can really just push this advantage. And even though the dredge line came through, they're like, yeah, okay, cool
เอาจริง
story.
พี่ยังไม่เคยเห็นเลยว่า
Turn
มัน
this into a bit of a dragon
มัน
start with
วาง
the
กำแพง
Scout
กัน
also
น็อต
has
ดึง
Prio
ได้
in
ไหม
the
อะไร
mid
เงี้ย
lane.
Yeah, they've got pings out onto Pyoshik as well as Scout makes his way over. Blast Cone can be used here by Pyoshik. The himself out of the way as now Scout dealing with a noxious blast. And Closer's making his way over. Sponge going to have to give up on this Drake, I think, for the moment, as the DN Supers are making their way in. That's a realm warp, and that will be able to get them behind.
Oh.
There is the petrifying gaze, but it doesn't get a stun onto anyone. Still gets a fair bit of damage down as Nongshim not hard committing to a fight or anything like that right now.
ตกดำมาหน้าแบบไม่เหลือ
Looking dangerously low on both
แกยืน
sides.
ก็เหมือน
Q
กัน
connects from Sponge. They're not going to be
กลับ
going in
บ้าน
on
ไม่
that
ดีด้วย
resonating
อัน
strike
นี้
as Lahens flashes in, looking for Closer as the wall goes down, but the Snake Lady is going to survive. The egg is brought out, but it's the
เลแฮนโคตรเอาอ่ะช็อตนี้
Flash
แทยูได้ด้วย Lay hand
for the exact right moment and it works out
อันนี้เวียน
beautifully.
คนน่ารำคาญ
It is
ปาไม่โดนดู
so massive that the Anivia passive exists in this case, and Lehens knows it. He's going to make that aggressive play. That's the trigger to go in because moments before that it looked like Scout's Realm Warp up into the aggressive play was going to be enough, but Sponge doesn't connect his Sonic
แล้วก็ปล่อยเลยปีเตอร์ไม่ต้องไปเล่นล่างแล้วปล่อยมังกรแม่งมาก่อนฆ่าจนแบบว่าเอเบซ่าแม่งเจริญหูเจริญตาแล้วค่อยมาเล่นเดี๋ยวมาสู้ตรงนี้มันไม่ไหวมันเจอแอนิเวียแล้วแคสซี่ก็แบบไม่ได้อยากจะมาสู้
Engage Anivia, baby.
Engage Anivia indeed.
And now they're up 1.6k here very early in the game. And the DN Supers find themselves on the back foot. Not something that they were used to in the last game, despite the result. Let's see whether they can turn this one around, because I think we all just want 3 games, you know? That's kind of the dream here. But right now, Nongshim are looking like they might be the best
เพิ่งดู
team
เรือ
in
ทั้ง
the
4 ไลฟ์
LCK
ไป
after week
จะ
1.
มีตอนที่ 5 ไหมครับ มีครับ แต่ไม่รู้ว่ายังไม่ได้นัดเลยตอนนี้ วันนี้ก็พี่คิดว่ามันช่วงนี้มันเหนื่อยกันเยอะด้วยแหละก็เลยแบบ
I thought the B was for big and then the F was for F.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Aha.
So that's why I said big F. I don't want to say the whole thing.
I always thought it was fluffy.
Well, I mean, if you look at the sword,
น่าจะยาก
it
หมื่น
doesn't really.
I was playing on very low graphics.
ได้หมื่นมาอยู่2 เดือนอะ
That's what it kind
Is it a long sword or a great sword? I think
มัน
it's a
ถ้าจะ
great
ติดใจ
sword.
I mean,
ประ
it
เทศ
can't
ไท
be
ย
a
อะ
long sword because a long sword's a long sword.
Yeah. I mean, if
I think
you
it's a
compare it to a long
broadsword.
sword, it could be a broadsword. Yeah, I think you're on.
แปลกนะเรารู้สึกว่าเราอยากไปอยู่นอร์เวย์แบบ
That must be what it is.
แล้วก็อยากจะ
There you go.
กินปลาแซลมอน
We figured it out.
แต่พอจริงๆแล้วไปอยู่จริงอาจจะแบบ
As Kingen and Dudu
มันคงบรรยากาศมันคงแบบว่าด้วยความที่มันหนาวแล้วก็รู้สึกแบบ
as Kingen has taken back some control of this lane, also has a cult for
มันคงแบบ
himself at
เบื่
the
อ
same
มากๆนะ
time. So they're going to be cashing in a fair bit of money as this game goes on. As Nongshim
กลายเป็นว่าแผนมันผิดยังไงไม่รู้ว่านงชิมมันได้มาแก๊ง
little bit of trouble,
ดู
my
ดู
friend.
ก่อน
And there's a huge wave of minions as well. As the Nara is going to be avoided here by Dudu, very nicely done. But Scout is making his way over. There's the safeguard from Sponge. Doesn't quite find the Q, but this is still going to be a kill going over despite some shenanigans. Close is going to make his way in though. As Sponge looking to try and get himself out. He is definitely dead. As the Realm Warp will allow Scout to escape.
Sponge didn't have flash. If he did, maybe he could have flashed into the
อ้าว
realm warp
จะ
there.
ฆ่าผม
Oh, the petrifying gaze just straight up misses. And in goes Pyoshik. He will be able to find
Pyoshik.
the kill. And now Scout trying to survive. Some alcove gaming
มีล็อก
didn't
ขา
come on through.
ไม่
As
มี
the
แล้ว
Dustbringer connects, and that is a dead rise. And Pyoshik is all of a sudden
เพิ่ม
pretty
เงินมันได้เยอะ
fed.
จังวะ
Pyoshik gonna pick
เพ
up
ราะว่า
some
ไม่เคยตาย
stacks
อะไรอย่างงี้
of
ปะ
his ultimate hunter, which is really huge off of this, but I
แม่ง
still
ตาย
think
ทุก
it's
ค
a
น
win
เลย
for
ว่ะ
Nongshim. As you can see, Dudu
กลาย
up
เป็น
here
ว่า
plays this early really well
2 แลก 3
and goes back towards the turret at the last moment, but Scout picks up the turret aggro so Sponge can finish off the kill. The problem for Scout is that he's very low, so there's a
ไอ้
potential
ท่า
block
เนี่ย
with
พี่
the
ว่าโยน
Nocturne.
ยากนะไอ้ท่า E อะ
Unfortunately for Closer, he ults so many minions.
He did ult a lot of minions.
And it was a, what, like 6-man minion ult.
Yeah, he was making sure that he was hitting Kingen, because that was
ไม่ได้แฟลตหนีด้วยซ้ำ
how Pyoshik was going to make his way in.
Sure.
I don't think it was even in range of Scout at that point in time with a level 1
มา
ultimate.
แล้ว Pick
And
Spade
so he had to hit Kingen. He was just hoping
แต่ว่า
that he'd also get
ต้อง
Scout.
รอเพราะว่ากูดาว
So
มัน
that's kind
ใช้
of
ไป
the
แล้ว
play. I think a little bit sacrificial, like kind of cool.
อย่ามาแก๊งบนเรื่อยๆ
the
เว้
way
ย
that it worked out. In
แค่แก๊งบนเรื่อยๆแล้วปล่อยให้ต้องให้แอนิเวียมันมาเดินอ่ะ
on the
เนี่ยแก๊ง
DNS
คิงเงิน
side.
ต้องไป
I
เรื่อยๆ
again
เรื่อย
still
ๆเรื่อย
think this
ๆ
is
นอน
good
ปล่อย
for
แม่งไปเลย
Nongshim,
ข้างล่าง
but
อ่ะ
he has his hex plate done, and he has 2 more stacks right of the
แต่ว่าด้วยความที่
ultimate hunter. So
ด
he
ก
needs to
ดำ
be
กับปี
using
เตอ
that
ร์
ult
เป็นทีม
as
KT
quickly
มา
as
ก่อนนะ
possible, as
เขา
often
เน้น
as
เล่นล่าง
possible,
ไง
try to bring this game back into a playable one for DNS.
ถ้า
Because
เป็น
if
ด
you
ก
look
ดำ
at
เป็น
the
กูมายูชิ
gold
เนี่ย
here for
ไป
AD
แล้ว
carries.
Yeah, don't look at the bottom lane is basically how
เคเลีย
it's
นี่เดิน
supposed
ไป
to
นู่น
go.
แล้ว
And I mean, this was an unwinnable lane that they decided to pick themselves into, right? Like
เน้น
Casanova
เลเวล
was
ไม่เน้น
never
ไม่เน้น
really gonna
ไม่เน้น
do
ห
it
รือว่าไม่เน้น
into
แบบว่า
Sivir
ลาทิต
and Nivea, which is kind of crazy because Sivir doesn't often win early, but in this lane, she does.
Pyoshik, he has carried so many games that seemed unwinnable. Even games that
Oh,
are kind of
ดึงได้
unwinnable
ว่ะแต่
because
ว่า
of him. As Sponge will get out.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Safeguards away.
They could get the second dragon here if they can hold on to control of the bottom side of the map, but it's 40 seconds away, so it looks like they're going to reset, and that prio may not be there. As Kingen is
อีกหนึ่งไหม
still loving life
หนึ่ง
up here in
Oh,
the top
yeah.
lane.
and actually doing a fair bit of damage here, despite the fact that Dudu does have
โดน
his
ละ
Eclipse now
ดู
completed.
เราจะจัดการยก
First
คิง
item's
กินหน้า
not
ตาย
quite
หา
done yet for Kingin as Dudu looks for the
ยก
angle,
มาแล้
finds
ว
a public
แล้วก็
execution
พารา
onto
นอย
Kingin. As
แต่ว่า
there's
น่า
the
จะแฟดออก
paranoia as well. Wallop is great onto 2 as he
แล้ว
flashes
นอนมา
over.
ดึงตามจังหวะ
And Peter is going to be there. Dredge depth charge,
ไม่ต้อง
sorry,
ดึง
comes on through and he
โอ้
flashes to miss the dredge line. Still, Dudu is making his way over and they're not going to venture any
ไม่
further
มัน
forward.
แผนไม่
Killer
ใช่แผน
instinct
แล้ว
down
มัน
from
ช้าไปหน่อย
Doctor trying to outplay this as Lahens goes down
แผ
exceptionally
นมัน
low.
ช้าไป
And Tane manages to take up the
แผน
turret.
ไม่ใช่อย่าง
The
เงี้ย
last shot not enough, and they
โคตรแซ
get
ด
the
เลยว่ะ
dive to work out.
Oh, a bit of a disaster for DNS all over.
And they
the
didn't even kill
place.
Kingin.
No, they didn't kill Kingin. He gets away. Peter heals for Dudu, and Dudu's like, I
ถ้า
can't get him.
ถ้า
Yeah,
คือมันควรจะเล่น
really
แผ
sad
น
moment
ข้าง
where you
ยิ
see
ง
Dudu just
ปล่อย
like,
มังกรไป
you could see in his movement that he's like,
ให้
Peter,
เมซ่า
come
ได้
on,
ป้อมไป
man.
เลยยิ่งดีอะ
You hit that and we kill him. If you don't, please
แต่ว่า
don't heal
นงชิม
also.
ก็ไปเอาไอ้กัฟแล้วไงไปเอากัฟรอแล้ว
Tank of the turret here.
ฆ่า
for
ได้ก็
Tank
ดัน
in the
ป้อม
last
ยาก
possible second is pretty cool. Lahens actually gets out and
โอ้โห
doesn't
เรียก
even
แค่
pop
เม็ด
his
เดียว
egg.
จริง
Tatum survives. Actually didn't even look intentional there on second look, but cool that he survives. He is 1,500 gold ahead now of Dukdom, who is just trying to play League of Legends in this series, but kind of struggling to do so.
เดี๋ยวนะถ้ากูมาโดนเตะ
It
จาก
is
ฮาวาไลน์ไม่มี
next to
ภาพครับ
impossible, and these waves will
ไม่มี
be
ภาพแน่นอน
eliminated in an instant. As Hoser is going to have to flash to get over towards Lahens. Does poison him here as he needs to take the Realm Warp to get out to safety. The poison's ticking down, but it's not enough to kill him. And Lahens, he is on the verge of death so many times, or the verge of egg, so many times this game.
ได้แฟด
And
โปร
this
เซอ
time
ร์
is
เริ่ม
able
แย่แล้วว่า
to
นง
keep
ชิม
his egg unbroken.
He is having a great game, and this is very Lahens-esque, right? Where you're always in harm's way, you're always in danger, but sometimes
ไปนั่งฟังช่วงสัมภาษณ์ตอนท้ายไม่ไหวพี่เหมือนทุกคนถอดสมองกันหมดแล้วอะพิธีกรยังเหลวพี่กายได้ยังป่วน
As in this game, only the Cassiopeia is ahead for DNS.
มันเป็นเกมที่ใช้ความคิดเยอะด้วยเลยแบบมันเหมือนแข่งอะกึ่งแข่งแล้วทีมคืออยากได้เอนเตอร์เทนแต่มันก็ต้องแข่งมันก็เลยแบบปวดหัวอะไรอย่าง
The
เงี้ย
Kaisa not existing
ส่วนของพี่
in
แบบ
a comp that has
ของพี่แบบว่าโดนกายจู่โจมอย่างเดียว
is a little concerning because she kind of needs to press R with the other R
คือ
buttons to kill somebody.
คือสมองเหมือนตามกายไม่ทันเลย
Possibly
แล้วกายจู่โจมจนเราแบบ
Poor
ว่า
Peter, man, he is really trying to
ลองห่อ
make
ชีวิต
something
อะ
happen.
Just walk around the corner and Hex Flash again, Peter. He'd never know. As back towards the bottom lane by the looks of things for the Nautilus.
Well,
my
that
team,
fan
what a-
sign for Go Peter
อยากให้
is kind of
ทีวัน
true.
แบบ
He's
คือกู
going.
มา
He's going.
หรือว่าเพลสกลับมาอยู่
That's
ที
what
วัน
we're
อะไรอย่าง
talking
เงี้ยเหร
about.
อ
All right, Kingin. Lights go
เนี่ยมัน
off,
ต้อง
but
ไปอย่าง
let's
งี้
see
มัน
whether
ต้องอย่าง
the
งี้
Nara
เลย
is
ต้อ
going
ง
to
อย่างงี้
survive. He does hop, but still gets speared. And there
เนี่ยมันต้องอย่างงี้เว้ยอย่างที่พี่บอกเนี่ยมันต้องอย่างงี้อย่างงี้อย่างงี้อย่างงี้อย่างงี้พูดหลายรอบแล้วมันต้องอย่างงี้คนเขาพูดว่ามึงอย่างงี้อย่างงี้อย่างงี้ฆ่าข้างบนจนกว่าแบบข้างบนป้อมจะระเบิดแล้วเอาเอเมซ่าไปเล่น
A little bit of side lane control,
ปล่อย
but
ให้
what
นาว
does it
ทำไซเลนระหว่างที่แบบเอ
mean?
เม
You know,
ซ่าไป
Scout's
เล่น
moving
เอา
up
เจ็
to
ที
the top side. He'll be able to catch that wave. They have the
เน้น top
Sivir
side ไป
here
เลย
in mid, and Dukdom isn't even
ใครสาม
pushing
มัน
the bottom wave to get plates or
พูดตาม
anything.
ตรง
So
มัน
you got
ยื
the
นเลน
gold
สู้
from
แอ
the
นดิเวีย
kill.
กับไอซิเวอร์
And
ยากมัน
Kyoshik's
ดันออกก็ไม่
ultimate
ได้
is really low cooldown.
น็อต
even
ก็ช่วยเลยไม่ได้
pre
เลน
level
ล่างมัน
11 here, but
เสียหมดอะ
I think they need a lot more. Is really what I'm getting at.
Oh,
ding dong,
the
eh?
Hex Splash dredge line does come on through, but Peter not going to follow up on that one. Did have ulti, but they were not
แต่
going
ว่าเล
to
แฮนรู้ว่าเลแฮ
overcommit.
น
As
ปรั
yeah,
บแผน
Dukdom
แล้ว
is just still having an absolutely terrible time. Kyoshik
มา
taking
แบบ
a lot of damage here
มา
from
ปัก
Lahens.
หวาดไซด์บนแทน
And is just electing to move out
แต่
of
ว่า
the way
Lice มาอยู่
of
บน
the
แทนนะ
Icy Bird.
If Dukdom was like
ฉะนั้น
pushing
ก็
bottom lane or something when that happened on
ไป
the
หา
top
นา
side,
ข้าง
he
ล่าง
got
ไหม
a few extra plates to put a dent in that deficit he has. Would have felt like, okay, well, they kind of got a double win there, but killing the
ตอนนี้เป็น
Nar,
โคเซอร์
who's
ที่
still
ไม่มีที่
200
ฟาร์ม
gold
แทน
ahead, who's about to be more gold ahead when he kills 3 more minions, is at
เรียน
least
เอ
a
สมันได้แค่
proactive
2 เล
play.
นอะอีกเลนหนึ่ง
I
ยากมันโดน
suppose, as Lahens
เล
is
แฮน
like,
แบบ
I'm
ดูดิ
top Anivia now.
This is
What
the
the
fastest Anivia I've ever seen, by the way.
ต้องโดนเนิร์ฟแล้ว
Good
แอ
old
นิเวีย
Swifty Slay. Just really flapping
That's a nerf
around at high
Anivia.
speed.
390 movement speed.
Absolutely gorgeous. And she's
Nerf
notoriously extraordinarily slow.
ให้แม่
Normally,
งตันน้อย
so pretty cool. And they're going to take themselves
Tandem
a
level.
Rift Herald at the same time. Looks like this top outer turret will survive for the minute. As Paranoia comes through once again, the DN Super's looking for an
Embesa
angle.
mienti,
As there's a
vamos a-
teleport from Dudu to try and bring him into that back line. Can he actually
เรื่อง
find an
แต่
angle
สโลว์
though? As Doctor
สเกา
gets
ส
in
เกา
on
สเกา
top,
ยก
public
สเกาสวยมาก
execution to hold
อย่างนี้แหละแล้วเอเมซ่ามาเล่นบอกเลยว่าทำอย่างนี้เลย
in amongst the
อุ้ย
entire
นี่
team.
ถ้าพี่เป็นโค้ช
And
นะ
Doctor does manage to at least get one of these kills.
จะบอก
Kingin
แต่
will be
ตอนแรก
taking
แล้ว
the
ปล่อย
turret on
แม่ง
the
ไปเลย
bottom
ดก
side of the
ดำ
map
อะ
though, so first brick
ให้แม่งป้อมระเบิดไปเลยก็ได้
over to Nongshim. something at least for the DN Supers.
This is a more significant win
แล้ว
for
ก็
sure in this set of
มันต้อง
picks
การ
here
เอเบซ่า
for
ในคอม
DNS.
ไง
They unfortunately were unable to
มันให้น้อง
deny
ค
the
นเดียว
Rift
ไม่ไหว
Herald.
มัน
The
เจอ
Herald
นิวเวีย
was picked up by Sponge. They end up getting a shutdown to Dudu. He's still behind on gold because of the call cash in, and he may also die. So.
Yeah, he might be a little bit dead. Sonic Wave is going to miss. Might give him a bit of an angle, especially with the flash. This turret is not long for the world. They just take it out. They're going to take out Dudu as well. In comes Pyoshik, and Closer is here as well. Looking for an angle. As there is Peter to turn up. Petrifying Gaze doesn't do too much, but they'll take King in and look to take him down. He does have flash back up and available, and he gets over the wall once again. And Nongshim will make it out.
Peter learned from the last time. He's like, this time not
เห็น
gonna
คอมมันแล้วแบบ
Oh, and now Peter might be in trouble.
รู้สึกว่า
Does
แบบ
have to
อยาก
flash
ให้
out
มันเล่นแบบนี้มากกว่า
himself.
And
This
there's
is
gonna drop Herald,
crazy.
and this is gonna be a second charge, I think, even onto the inner turret.
How do they keep getting away with it?
แย่ตรงที่ว่าดูดูตายดูดูควรจะรวยกลายเป็นว่าน็อกเทิร์นรวยไม่มีประโยชน์
And just the raw damage of the turret will be really important later on because this comp has crazy wave clear with Rise and Sivir. Has a strong side laning Gnar that's 1,000 gold ahead. And King had flash, and he has just been hopping really well this
สง
game.
สัยว่า
Oh
คือมัน
yeah,
จากค่าตัว
it's
ไม่เชื่อ
incredible.
มันมีเรื่องเพดานอยู่
The
นะ
same wall gets them.
คือให้เฟกเกอร์เยอะนั่นแหละที่เข้าใจว่าอย่างนั้น
Oh man. Okay, Nongshim with
แต่ทีวันตอนนี้มัน
absolutely
แบบถ้าไม่
everything
มีเฟก
going
เกอ
for
ร์
them.
มัน
And this time around it's a Sivir.
ไม่รู้จะเป็นยังไงเลยอะ
Who is going to get hit by
มันต้องเป็น
a
โชวีอะ
Dredge
ถ้าไม่มีเฟก
line.
เกอร์
Now Pyoshik turns
คุณ
out
แล้วไป
the
เอา
life, looks for an angle
ไม่
towards
ดี
King
นะ
and
นี่
who does transform. And Hop Crush
ถ้า
to
เขาส
get
ติ๊ก
himself
ต้อง
out.
They gotta stop
man,
trying to
so
kill
quiet,
this Gnar, especially when he's got his Gnar bar available.
They do force Mega, so now maybe they can try and catch them when the Mega Gnar does work. I don't know, man. I think it's
ถ้าได้โชวี
probably
มาแทน
Closer doesn't
เฟ
have
กเกอร์จะเป็นอะไรที่
TP,
สม
he's
บูร
just
ณ์แบบ
like,
เลย
I don't think so. I don't trust. You guys are just gonna have to give Soul Play. It's an Ocean Dragon, so that's good news for us, right?
Hey, and what happened in the last game? Give Soul win game.
Yes.
Right? And so DNS are like, hang on a second, Souls are the
คือเหมือนแบบ
worst. We don't want
มันเป็น
those.
คู่กัดกันมา
I
ตั้ง
want
แต่
to win
แบ
the
บ
game instead.
ตั้งแต่ยุคไหนแล้วอะ
Different numbers and
แต่
some
ว่ามันก็ต้องมี
different
คนที่มัน
champions
ขึ้นมา
here
แทน
for
โช
the
วีที่
potential
แบบเก่ง
soul
พอ
holding
ๆกับ
team.
โช
But I
วี
like
นะ
where
เว้ย
you're, I like the optimism.
Yeah.
สำหรับพี่อะ คนที่เก่ง
That's what we're doing
แบบ
today.
ดูมีทรงแล้วเป็นดาวรุ่ง
And
อะ
public
พี่ว่า
execution into the
คา
bottom
ริก
lane here as well as Doctor with Killer Instinct looking to try. Okay, Scout is able to get himself out. Didn't actually see the
แต่ว่า
realm
คา
warp
ริก
there,
มันเป็นเด็ก
but
น่ารัก
Doctor
อะ
has good charger. He can always just run far
มัน
enough, and that was a
คือ
very short realm warp. So not quite able to get out. Nongshim going for a bit of a
หน้า
cross.
ตามันแบบว่าเหมือนเด็กน่ารักอะโอ้โหแสบโคตรสวยเลย
Closer might actually be
Closer
alright here as the
ไม่มีแฟลชนะ
depth charge is good. Still, oh, never mind. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, they have
And
a lot
the
of
snake
damage.
just
คือมันต้องการตำแหน่งที่แบบเล่นเก่งด้วยแล้วแบบว่า
Sponge is
เหมือน
pretty
แบบ
big.
ว่า
He does have his cleaver.
ดูเหมือนเป็นแบบ
And so the mini stun there is enough.
ปีศาจอะ
Duckdom, by the
ไม่
way,
ใช่
he
นัก
is
บุ
not
ญ
very big. You have to run away very quickly. It was cute when he pressed Q there, and Taeyun appreciates the
เพื่อน
enthusiasm.
ที่มาแล้ว
Well, Paranoia does come on down here as Taeyun flashes to get himself out of the way. Dredgeline is going to miss though, as now it's Sponge looking for an opportunity.
ไม่รู้
Nongshim
เอาใคร
won't
วัน
fight
นี้
this though by the looks as Lahens is caught off
เอาคน
towards
ละ
the
ตัว
side and Sponge just takes down two.
ตัว
Oh,
ดำไม่
he
มี
is
ตี
so far ahead. The flash does nothing. It's a triple for the Lee Sin. And Nongshim, I think they're looking to stay undefeated here in the LCK for week one.
It does look that way. Man, what a performance here from Sponge. It was Owner who
มันก็
did
ต้องหา
this
คนมาแทนเฟกเกอ
yesterday,
ร์มี
where
สอง
he's
อย่าง
just
ระ
like,
หว่าง
yeah,
โชวีมาอยู่มาแทนเฟกเกอร์ กับมีคนขึ้นมาแทนเฟกเกอร์แบบ
It's just gonna be fine, and we were a
โคตรเก่ง
little bit worried about it, but it worked out. And Pyoshik has a really low cooldown on his ultimate, and he is proving that by forcing a lot of really awkward almost wins in these fights. Like, he's being proactive, but they are just way too far behind to be trying to force this. And the Ambessa was so late that they just kind of jumped into the meat grinder.
Yeah,
Not great.
น้องชิมกำลังจะขึ้นไปแบบสัปดาห์แรกนี่คือฟอร์มดีมากพอๆแบบ
3 gamer
เราจะขึ้นไปอยู่กับ
fans,
KT เลย
not so psyched. I saw Chronicler in the
คือ
chat.
มันจะอยู่สูงกว่า
He
KT
was,
ได้มั้ยถ้าเกิดชนะ
not
2-0
exactly happy about this one, not going the distance.
I was kind of hoping we go the distance, considering the drafting
ป่า
game
เฟ
one
ก
was
เกอร์
good
จะ
for
รีไทาย
DNS.
โชวีก็อายุเยอะแล้วพี่
significantly
ไม่
less,
เกี่ยวกับ
but
อายุเลยครับโชวีมัน
no, I was
โชวี
hoping they
คื
could
อ
turn
ปี
things
ศาจ
around.
ใน
Pyoshik
สายตา
could
พี่
pop
แบบ
off, and we get a
เล่นได้อีกนาน
fearless
เล่น
game
ได้เท่า
3
กับ
where the drafts
เล่นได้
get
เท่า
even
กับ
more interesting,
เฟกเกอ
but
ร์เลย
not looking likely.
เล่นได้
not
4 ปี
today.
หลังจากเฟกเกอร์ลง
By the looks of things,
4-5
however,
ปีอะ
ain't over till it's over. You know, the fat lady ain't singing yet.
Closer's gonna match Scout's experience-ish with a finish of the Rod of Ages here fairly soon.
There you go.
แต่ถ้าเฟเกอร์แกเล่นยัน40ได้แกก็คือทลายกฎทุกอย่าง
He just needs vision and he can make his way in. The Wolf just barely able to move out of the way of it.
เราคิดว่าแบบ
But
เปลี่ยน
still,
ยอมเปลี่ยนเลือด
Nongshim
ใหม่
had this one very, very low, and look, they just keeping them out. Dudu wants to try and make his way in though. Is now teleports.
เรานึกภาพว่ากระแสทีวันมันจะดรอปตอนเฟเกอร์ไปใช่ป่ะแต่ถ้าเกิดทีวันดึงเอ้าได้ว่ะได้บาลอนว่ะเปียวซิกแต่นะต้องถอยยับๆเลยสุดเวฟโดนด้วย
As in goes Sponge and over the wall goes Nocturne. It was pretty cute actually, but still not going to work out. And Dudu, the only Baron left on Summon is
เซตเก่าอะซุดกูมายูชิมาใช่ป่ะแล้วต้องการเป็นโชวี่อะไอ้เชี่ยคือกระแสทีวันไม่ดรอปเลยพี่ว่า
30 seconds on their carries to defend. They do not have to end right now, but they will open the base. And from this point on, you're like, okay, Kingen can't actually defend the access to the pit here, so Pyosik will get in with his ultimate. And then they actually focus the Baron down to set this up for him. It's a really well-played situation here by DNS. Good smite from Pyosik. But there's no way they can win the team fight, so it doesn't really feel like it's a big win at all.
มันเก่งอยู่แล้ว
Just kind of a delaying of the inevitable as Sponge plays this.
แต่ว่ามันยังก้าวขึ้นมาเป็นศัตรูแบบธรรมชาติแบบเหมือนโชวี่สำหรับเฟเกอร์ไม่ได้
Fight between Sponge and Lehens for POM right now. I think it's really the most interesting part of what's left of this series.
I'm probably leaning towards Sponge just with how well he punished in game number 1. And then this Lee Sin performance is just kind of taking over the game. I'm looking at a 0-0-10 Anivia though, which is Lehens being kind of crazy. And that first engage was psychotic, but it worked. And now they have leads absolutely everywhere. Not to mention,
พี่ไม่รู้ว่าจะเกิดอะไรขึ้นแต่พี่คิดว่าถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าโชวี่มาแทนเฟเกอร์มันเป็นอะไรที่สมน้ำสมเนื้อสุด
We won't talk about him going into melee range on Jin. We'll just let that one slide.
Yeah. As now Ocean Soul on the table, and there is no way for the DN Supers to make their way in. They may still try.
แต่ไม่งั้นก็ต้องหาแบบ
A miracle could happen again. Maybe.
All right, there is a Gnar into the wall. Public execution comes down as the exhaust onto Dudu, and he just gets out of there. Now Lehens could just be dead, taken down to the egg immediately, and Dr. wants to finish it. He is going to be able to get there. As there is the hook in midair. As Sponge is able to secure a petrifying gaze, though, to take down the Lee Sin. And Taeun, it's not enough to take him out as they realm warp to safety. Team fight lost for Nongshim, but they do secure the soul.
And it's honestly kind of miraculous that DNS pull us off Peter. Not quite able to hit this dredge line. He's been hex flashing around this part of the map all day long. But the crux of this for me is not only do Nongshim lose this fight here, it's Ocean Soul they pick up, which is great for Gnar on the side.
เลื่อนใหม่ดีกว่าถ้าเลื่อนใหม่ดีจริงๆเลื่อนใหม่มันดีกว่าแหละแต่ถ้าเกิดปัญหาแบบมันเป็นเลือดที่แบบไม่ดีเท่าไหร่แบบว่ายังไม่แบบคนคาดหวังเยอะเท่าที่พี่ประสบพบเจอมักจะไม่ค่อย
It's 1,000 gold that goes over to Closer. And they didn't get the inhibitor actually after the Baron team fight when I thought that was just a shoot. I didn't even realize they only got 2 plates off that mid turret, so there's no inhibitors down in DNS.
ไม่งั้นต้องดึงแคปมาอยู่ทีวัน
standing gold wolf.
Yeah. And
อะไรอย่างนั้น
as well.
DNS has 0 turrets taken so far in this game. So if they can actually make it to a turret, which is difficult given the massive amount of wave clip you've been talking about all game long.
ไปพร้อมกันมากกว่าไม่พี่ว่าไม่นะพี่ว่าโชวี่น่าจะอยู่ต่อแต่เฟเกอร์อาจจะแต่สภาพนี้นะถ้าพี่เป็น CEO ทีวันนะถ้าเฟเกอร์ไม่ได้แบบว่าเส้นประสาทนิ้วระเบิดอะไรแบบนั้นนะพี่ว่ายังไงพี่ให้อยู่ตลอดไม่สนเลยไม่คือยังไงก็ได้แบบเอาที่เหลือต้องช่วยทำให้ทีมชนะให้ได้โดยที่มีเฟเกอร์อยู่พี่ไม่สนเลยจนกว่าเฟเกอร์จะยกแบบมือขวาไม่ได้ถึงจะโอเคเฟเกอร์ไม่ต้องมาเป็นโค้ชหรอกจริงๆคือว่ามันเป็นตำนานจบแล้วคือไม่ต้องมาหาเงินแล้วคือแบบมันไม่มีอะไรต้องพิสูจน์แล้วมันคือที่เหลือคือแบบว่าทำด้วยแพชชั่นเฉยๆแต่มาเป็นโค้ชพี่ว่ามันเหนื่อย
one more mistake and then suddenly just like
แต่ดูจากที่สัมภาษณ์ปู่หลายๆรอบนะปู่ไม่พูดถึงเรื่องแบบอยากมีลูกอยากมีแฟนอยากไปเที่ยวรอบโลกปู่ไม่พูดเลยปู่ไม่ดูซีรีส์ด้วยปู่บอกเล่นแอลแฟนเป็นไงบ้างครับเล่นแอลหนังอะไรชอบดูครับเล่นแอลแล้วจะไปเที่ยวรอบโลกไหมเล่นแอล
in favor of Taeyoon on this Sivir, who has just been slurping up minion waves all over the rift. You can see 270 at 26 minutes is not bad at all.
Just Sivir things, and Sponge here trying to help threaten this turret, but they're going to defend it. Cassiopeia can clear waves pretty well as well.
I think this is doo-doo or not doo. I think that's
คือบางครั้งอะไรออกตัวคนถามมาว่าหนังเรื่องไหนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแกไม่ค่อยดู
And I think if he finds the right public execution, if he's able to punish Nongshim effectively, then this could be
แล้วแกไม่ได้แบบตามโลกไงแกไม่ได้แบบผ่านแบบคนเดียวแกไม่ได้แบบว่าโลกเป็นยังไงแกฟังแบบตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนตึนแกฟังเพลงคลาสสิกเล่นแอล
And like maybe you could kill these carries, maybe you could pop off, maybe King and overextends, but I think in execution, DNS are not going to get that same fight they got. But
คือมันบอกถึงว่าเป็นคนที่ไม่ได้ตามแบบ
Yeah, there is
อะไรแบบเพลงไม่ได้อะไร
Dawn is done. That's 3 items for Doctorm. That's a big deal. The 3 items that Taeyoon's put together
คือมันไม่ใช่ว่าแบบฟังเพลงพวกนี้จะแก่แต่เป็นแบบว่าบอกถึงว่าลักษณะนิสัยเป็นคนที่
Baron spawning in 8 seconds time though, and Nongshim with so much vision control around this area. You can see DNS are really struggling to get themselves even into the jungle on this top side.
For Nongshim, it's just
ไม่นะพี่ว่า
don't give up control.
เขาอะไรไม่น่าดึง T1 มาเพิ่มแล้วแหละ
Play it measured, and now look at all the vision
พี่ว่าไม่จะดึง QOM เวอร์นี่แหละ
As Baron is just going to get started up again, and this
ถ้าตำแหน่งไม่ซ้ำกับซูดกับคูมาอิชิดึงมาแม่งจะสร้างทีมที่แบบทีมเป็น POM ของทีมเวอร์เดี๋ยวสตาร์มีเจียบ้างไม่หนู
Doctorm is tanking up the Baron, and the Q connects from Sponge. Beautifully done to take down this Kai'Sa. Now Dudu is possibly the next one to go. Dredgeline is there. Petrifying Gaze onto 3 is good, but the health bars are going down so low, and DNS just not quite enough. They got the Sivir, but that was it.
They got the Sivir.
ที่T1มาต่อสัญญากันคนละ 2-3 ปีแล้วอ่ะ
And for DNS, I honestly kind of feel like this was a little bit botched by Nongshim. They could have just tried to play on a turn off Baron. They actually set a trap and gave the opportunity here for this dive composition to actually get a kill.
ลิซินเกาหลีโคตรอันตรายใช่ครับเป็นตัวที่ไม่ว่าจะเมตาแม่งยังไงก็แล้วแต่ลิซินจะเป็นตัวที่ยอดนิยมในเกาหลีคือป่าเนี่ยลีกอื่นมันก็จะมีตัวอื่นมาแซมหาว่ามันโดดตอนมันโดดป่าเก่งๆก็จะมีมันโดดขึ้นมาแซมเกาหลีมีแต่มีลีซินประมาณสัก 20-30% อยู่มันจะเป็นประมาณนี้ตลอดอะพิกเลตจะไม่ค่อยตกเพราะว่าลีซินเป็นตัวที่แบบว่ามันสนุกเหมือนไหนเล่นยาซูโอะเงี้ยมันก็แบบมันจะอะไรอย่างเงี้ยมันไม่ได้สนอะไรมากเลยมันลุยเลยอะคือตัวมันสนุกเว้ย
That's a Majai's for Lehens, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no.
That's the kind of game that we're in right now.
I don't know if that's a good thing is that a good thing or a bad thing for Nongshim?
เอาว่านี่จะเป็นถ้านงชิมชนะ 2-0 จะขึ้นเป็นอันดับ 1 ของ LCK วีคแรกครับผม
He is going to make his way over and look to try and block out DNS from this Elder Pit. Q connects here from Sponge. They are magnetic in this game. As Kingen is going to transform, possibly a little bit early. As he does just throw a drill towards DNS. Voidseeker does get a lot of information there as well as Nongshim looking to siege instead. Dudu on a flank angle is decent.
Angle is really good here.
Oh, Sponge looking to try and do something here as Depth Charge does come out from Peter. There's a public execution. They take down the Sivir once again. And there goes Peter as well. A 2-for-1. You take those if you're DNS.
Yeah, this is another big botch here for Nongshim because it's a 2-for-1 as Elder is spawning. They're going to realm warp on top of it and try to rush this down. There's a TP here though.
Yeah.
Closer. I don't know if they have enough time. I don't think they do, Atlas, and now they're in an awkward spot.
I think they thought that they were going to get away with it, but that is not actually the case.
Now they're kind of in a really rough spot.
Oh, these health bars are so low. The Q is going to miss this time, though, from Sponge. The boomerang does go wide as well, as now Dudu looking for the angle. Killer Instinct, and Doctorm goes into 3 people. He goes golden, and I don't think DNS have the DPS to take down the dragon.
มันมีรีซินอยู่
And
ยาว
there goes the Kaiser. DNS still just watching as this dragon goes lower and lower. This is such an awkward moment. As Sponge wraps his way around, that is a miscue once again. As Dudu pretty strong with kick, brings him back, and now he's in amongst 3 people and gets taken out by Kingin.
Pyoshik's ult's coming back up, but I don't know if it's really relevant. He needed to buy more time, and they just weren't able to do it without Duck here.
They do have the information here, but that's all 5
เห็นว่า
alive on the
ผมไม่เห็
side
น
of Nongshim.
That control word is so high value now.
Yeah, DNS not going to be able to stop this, and it's just Sponge by himself that is going to be taking this one down while the rest of the team just push DNS away.
It's impressive, I will say, Atlas, that in 31 minutes in, with a Baron that's now gone, that with the Silver Rise comp, they still haven't opened the base. They got the Elder, but the Baron's wearing off, so maybe DNS could somehow survive this
ขอพัก
Elder.
ไปก่อนเรื่อง
Play
นิดนึง
defensively
นะ
and get us
ข
to
อ
another
คือช่วงนี้
Elder
มัน
fight, but
เมื่อวานก็แบบ
despite the botch early
นึก
on,
ออกว่ามัน
Nongshim
ดึ
is
ก
just
เกิน
so
แล้ววันนี้ไม่
far
ถ่าย
ahead.
Well, they're going to look for Kingin one more time as Pyoshik this time is going to
เล่น
be
ยู
able
มี
to
น่าสนุ
find
ก
the
มากเลย
spell
ครับ
shield.
เจอ
Very nicely done there, but
สิกว่าก้อน
don't
ตาย
think he
แต่
was
ว่าคีเปอ
really
ร์
all that killable in that moment.
แต่กด
Let's
โล่
kind of
ทัน
slow down this push though, and his
อะไร
ult
วะ
is
น่ะ
going to come back really quickly as
Minecraft
we've been
เหรอ
talking about this whole game, this Nocturne. But it's
อ๋อ
just
คือมึงเล่นยู
delaying,
มีไปด้วย
delaying,
แล้วมึงเล่น
delaying.
Minecraft
They're
ไปด้วย
happy to let this inner turret go if it means that maybe they could keep these inhibitors alive. As Pyoshik's going to back away, back home. They just need to clear waves as fast as possible. Sponge.
Yeah, Sponge is going to take a little bit of damage.
1 wave down. Let's see if they can defend this inhibitor. It's going to be so tough.
Yeah, he's on vision. Yeah, this inhibitor is definitely
พี่ว่าเฟ
gone
เกอร์หลังเกษียณ
in
จะ
the
ทำอะไร
bottom lane.
แกคงเหงา
But
อะ
I don't think Nongshim are going to be able to win the game off this necessarily, but we'll just have to find out because
ไม่รู้ว่า
do
ทำอะไร
have
แต่แก
the
เหงา
Elder.
แน่
It makes it very, very difficult. Still, DNS
เพราะว่า
are
จาก
dealing with
คน
these
ที่แบบ
waves
ตา
as
ราง
best
มัน
they
แน่น
can.
เอียด
First
อะ
Nexus
มันก็
turret
แบบ
though,
เป็น
he's
กลาย
under
เป็นแบบ
fire, and
ตาราง
DNS they don't want to fight
น้อยล
into
ง
the
เย
Elder,
อะ
but they're going to have to, otherwise they're just going to lose the
แกคง
game.
เหงาอะ
That is the first turret taken though for DNS. That's
Waves
at least
out.
something. Hook is going to connect onto Sponge. Depth charge is going to be spell shielded nicely as Sponge gets himself out and will be able to survive.
Now with this wave's coming through, I think Nongshim should be able to end the game.
Yep, on the hunt, he's going to get popped there as down will go Pyoshik. Nothing he can do about it now that Nexus is bare. Public execution comes down, Taeyoon going down very, very low once again. The flash is going to be denied as Sivir is able to get the kill. And Nongshim, off the back of the Elder Dragon, are going to pick up the 2-0 and be our first place team in the LCK after week 1.
2-0 ว่านงชิมกลับมาแล้ววะ
here by Nongshim. And give Sponge his POM after that performance.
Oh, hell
Out
yeah.
of control good. And there were some shaky moments in the game for sure. I think they could have been a lot more decisive with how they set up their wave pushes with a Nar, Rise, Sivir composition. But Paranoia keeps you honest a lot of the time, and they wanted to make sure they did
คู่
not
2
lose the
คู่เดือด
game.
นะครับผม
Scouts
รอบชิง
there, the end was
LCK
a little
ครับ
bit puzzling to me because it put the minions in a much more clearable state there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them went down, but it still was not enough. I think that's Kingin's mom there that we saw.
Yep, 2-0 for him as well. Feels good to have your family here to see such a great performance, and especially out of Kingin himself, right?
Yeah.
Like avoided so many of those ganks, really was able to build tempo for his team.
Controlled the lane. Only fell behind the experience because the Ambessa was just AFK for a while, trying to push that lead back. In some ways, a little bit concerning with how the lane went. The draft was a little bit puzzling with the tools they had and did not take, but still won in both cases. But Lehen's had a great performance. I think probably the second front runner for POM.
Yeah, he also.
เมื่อไหร่มันจะเข้าสักทีนะดูเสียงพี่เอกคนร้อยรอบเดี๋ยว
กันหมดเลยครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับ พี่กิฟต์ทาคูครับ เป็นอย่างไรบ้างครับสำหรับทีมทีเซตนี้
สำหรับพี่ก็
โดนนะ เดี๋ยวเจอกันเร็วๆนี้นะ
คือผมว่าทีมก็ น่าเล่นนะครับ
พี่เด็กไม่อยู่
โดนเส้นแกจัดช็อตนี้หุยอะไรกันเนี่ยโอ้โหโอ้โหโคตรจะเดือดสรุปใครกินน้ำมันไม่ได้บทอะไรทำให้แกขำขนาดนั้นมันต้องเอาบริบทมาตั้งแต่เริ่มนะไม่รู้เหมือนกันมาแชทตอนนี้โปรแกรมตรงนี้แม่งเยอะไปหมดเลยอะมี Power Toy มีโอ้โห Epic Pen Steel Series Overwolf Snack It อะไรไม่รู้แม่งเต็มไปหมดเลยตรงเนี้ย One Die Breeze Void Meter โอ้โหโปรแกรมหาคอมเล่นหน่อยแชทคอมอะไรดีนะ3 4 5 6 7 8 9
Mortals must succeed where gods have failed. Come out and play.
ว่าต่อเนื่องแกหลุดจากพี่กายโปเต้นั่งจ้องพี่เอกจะเสียงเหินพี่เจงตอบคำถามแบบไปทีเจอนายมุ่งมันจะเล่นโชว์แกดแกเจอเยอะเจอ ไม่รวมซูบัตล่างไฟเอ็มด้วย แล้วเจอพี่เจงเราพี่เกียร์มากเลย
Feel the sun's glory.
มันยังเชื่อมต่อไปได้สินะโลกคอมแบทได้หรอล่าโจมตีแล้วหลังเว้ยทั้งหายไปในเงามืด ดี๋ยวนะแถวหลังก็ไม่ได้หรอเฮ้ยเดี๋ยวนะไอ้นี่มันเปิดเพลงสักหน่อยอ๋อได้แถวหลังนี้ได้แล้วพิธีกรก็เลย โคตรถึกอ่ะตอนนี้ลิวหน้าโคตรถึกใครจะฆ่าลิวหน้าได้วะวอเตอร์ฟัคตอมิหลา5 เฮ่สำหรับผมนะตัวไหนที่มีโล่เด้งในทิปที่เก่งทุกตัวก็มี stop watch ด้วยลีโอดาเป็นโคตรถึกอะไอ้เหี้ยนี่ถ้ามีแนวหลังสักตัวนี่เนี่ยแจ่มเลยดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงดึงเอ้าสมบัติปริศนาแต่เนื้อจะได้ตัดคิวเลยนะแม่สุรกากอะไรวะฟังจนเข้าเส้นจริงเพราะปีเตอร์ทำอะไรได้บ้างครับนี่พี่เล่นแต่เมกอย่างเดียวเลยเอาจริงพูดตามตรงเลยแบบเรียนให้ทราบเลยคือพูดตามตรงได้เลยว่าไม่รู้เรื่องเลยครับผมเรียนให้ทราบตามความเป็นจริงเลยครับเดี๋ยวนะเวทเราทำอะไรตัวเวทชัยเยอะนี่ว่าเอาพี่ว่าได้นะใส่แม่งก่อนเลยถึกเป็นควายเฮ้ยอีเรานี่ทำอะไรอ่ะได้รับโล่ป้องกันเสียหายช่วงนั้นอีเรานี่ดูพลังวิญญาณดูพลังชีวิตเฮีย what the fuck แต่ตอนนี้พี่แข่งอยู่แล้วว่าพี่เดี๋ยวช่วงนี้น่าจะอินฟูน่าจะแบบค้นหาคอมแล้วก็ลุยกันอยู่ครับได้รับแต้มทรัพยากร15 หน่วยเมื่อพ่ายแพ้ต่อผู้เล่นบวกทรัพยากรเพิ่มเติม5 เท่าจากสถิติ อ๋อคือมันคือคอมฮาร์ดสติลเวลต้องเวล8นะล็อกเซตคนละแล้วหรือเปล่าคือมันตีลิโอน่าไม่เข้าอ่ะแล้วก็มีทารอนกับไปอะไรพวกนี้แม่งไล่เก็บแนวหลังเอท็อกพี่ไม่เจอสักตัวเลยวะเฮ้ยเมาใครสองวะแต่ไปน่าจะดีกว่าวะวิสายยาเล่นได้ป่าวะไม่เนาะเราเป็นเวทเราเล่นสายยาไม่ได้ใส่ให้เหลียวหน้าไม่เลยเวทมันจะได้แบบ whateverอ้าววิเทเฟตป่าพายไม่เข้าอ่ะเยี่ยชนะมา6อ่ะเล่นแทงเอาเรื่องจัดวิโลไปครับผมความเสียหายจากพันธมิตรจะฉีกกระชากและสะบั้นศัตรูเซตใหม่มาวันที่16ครับ16ประมาณช่วงนั้นนะช่วงแบบว่าสงกรานต์อะไรเงี้ยก็มาเล่นกันได้แต่พี่ไปญี่ปุ่นอดเล่นเลยครับพี่คุยมันไปตีเอทอกว่ะเฮ้ยเกวนมันไล่ฆ่าทุกคนเลยลีโอนาตายมันมีกุนซูโอเคไม่ดีเลยว่ะเอาอาร์เมนที่มันเพิ่มเอาไคสาวมายิงแทนได้ปะอุ้ยน่าจะเอาหมัดเวทมาให้ไคสาวอ่ะ โอ้ยคาสาทันตเมตเหมือนจะได้เรื่อยๆอยากได้น้ำBetter Together Treasure เอาดาบมาก็ได้แต่ละพอมแบบสุ่มแบบองค์ไหนก็ได้ My God พี่ต้องรีบ Fast 8แบบไม่แพ้ แต่ว่าเงินเราเยอะครับแล้วก็ณตอนนี้ก็โอเคนะเฮ้ยแชทนี่คืออะไรอะเฮ้ยวัดทำไมไม่มีอะไรซื้อเพราะว่าอะไรวะแล้วกดรีไม่ได้ด้วย Whatไม่มีดาเมจเลยเจอเทพน้องเครื่องปิดไฟเหรอวะน่ะเขารีโหลดอ่ะทุบหมัดได้นะนี่มันบั๊กไม่มีให้ซื้อทำไงเนี่ยไม่ได้บั๊กพี่เอาเหรอห้ามซื้อ3 ตาเหรออะไรวะอ๋อแต่ไม่สามารถใช้แชมเปี้ยนได้เป็นเวลา2 รอบอีบ้ามันเขียนไว้ตรงไหนวะน่ะไม่คือมันขึ้นแค่ว่าได้รับพรแบบสุ่มแบบเทพองค์ไหนก็ได้ละ3 ทองอ๋อคือพรคือแบบมันเพิ่งมาเราต้องมาอ่านพรอีกทีแจ็คพอตจริงแต่ว่าเราขึ้นเวลเร็วได้จะได้อาร์คเองมากกว่าโอ้โหไม่ใช่คำนี้ด้วย อนนี้เหรอเกาะหมัดเกาะหมัดนี่ไงสีทองได้สองนั้นโยนเหรียญหัวก้อยหาได้แล้วเรเดียนแม่งเอ้ย Oh my god แย่แล้ววะไม่มีทางทันเลยอันนี้อาร์คแองเจิลมาดาบเวทมาตะกี้เราเจอไทม์เคนมั้งวะไม่รู้สึกเหมือนพี่น่าจะเจอไทม์เคนแต่พี่ไม่ได้เอามาวะเพราะของดีเลยนะเว้ยบีสอ๋ออันหนุ่งมาแววหนุ่งมาแววไอ้เชี่ยอยากได้เงินว่ะเทรสกอดเกือบแล้วเอาไทม์เคนออกได้ไหมพี่ว่าเราอาจจะไม่ได้เอาเชนก็ได้เนาะบาวเลอร์เล่นกับไทม์เคนใกล้ใหม่ยังเชนใกล้ละไม่เอาแล้วผม let's go แล้วเงินได้ตรงไหนวะเนี่ยอ๋อนี่พี่ว่าต้องขึ้นพี่ว่าต้องสโลโล50ป่ะคือตัวมันยังดาวเดียวกันมีแค่นี้2ดาวตัวเดียววิสมันทำอะไรได้วะพี่อยากไปลั่นเวลนั่นมากกว่าวะตอนนี้พี่ว่ายังพอได้อยู่เราไปขึ้นเวล9เราไปลั่นดีกว่าลั่นเวล9น่าจะสนุกกาลิโอเป็นโคตรถึกเลยเล่นเป็นแทงส์ แล้วมันมีเพิ่มโล่ 12%ขึ้นอยู่กับพันธมิตรเหรอมันขึ้นอยู่กับพันธมิตรคือหมายความว่าไงวะไม่เห็นเพิ่มเลยพันธมิตรเป็นเดี๋ยวถ้าเจอทำเคนก็เอามาแทนเมาใครได้เฮ้ยตัวฮียอะไรเลยรีเวนโอ้my godรีเวนเสมอว่าแชทแต่ว่าอะไรแต่ว่ายานบินมันแอนตอนนี้ถ้าเราได้ตัดเวทก็คือได้ธนูแล้วก็เลือดเวทธนูเลือดเวทธนูเลือดเวทธนูสำคัญเอาธนูก่อนธนูเลือดเวทธนูเลือดเวทธนูได้นะนี่ก็ได้ละแล้วถอดลูกเต่าคืออะไรวะธนูเลือดเวทแชทมังกรยืนบัฟไหมพี่ว่าตำแหน่งมันจะไม่ได้ดิมันจะไปบินอยู่โซนนี้ดิโอ้ my god แตกว่ะมังกรแตกเขาลั่นกว่าทูเตเฟส3 ดาวเขาเวล 8เราต้องรีบเวล 9เธอหน้าต้องไปละเธอนี้ต้องไปละเฮ้ยมันคืออะไรวะเมื่อกี้คืออะไรได้อะไรมา What the fuck ฉันมันได้อะไรมาไม่รู้ว่าตัวมันสีทองเมื่อกี้เอโซดาวเดียวทำอะไรไปได้เดี๋ยวนะเขาเก็บ2 ดาวได้ยังไงวะเอาหรือเดี๋ยวรอบหน้าพี่ลองเอาเอโซไปยืนนี้ดีกว่าเราขึ้นมาตอนนี้มันจะช่วยแล้วเปล่าเก็บ2 ดาวเมื่อกี้แม่งเถื่อนเกินขอค่าตุนได้ปะ ขอร้องอ๋อไม่ได้เลยอ๋อไม่พอว่ะนี่หมัดนี้ได้นะแต่พี่ว่ามันยิงตรงนี้มันก็โอเคแล้วอะมันเพิ่มเยอะป่าวะขึ้นอยู่ให้กับพันธุ์ที่ติดกันลองดูดิอยากได้เกรฟกอดมันไม่ควรถือของเนี่ยแต่เกรฟมันหายไป3 ตัวแล้วอะเฮ้ยอ๋อเอโซมันเดินถอยมาจริงว่ะโอ้ my god นึกว่าจะแพ้ละแต่มันฆ่าใครเลยไม่ได้ไงเอฟพี่งงว่าเขาใส่มอร์กาน่าไปได้ยังไงวะไอเชี่ยคือมีทั้งมอร์กาน่าแล้วทุกคนคือแบบไม่อัปเกรดเหรอเขาสนามว่าโอเคก็จบละ แฟชั่นอุ้ยมาบ่อยจังวะเพื่อแตกพายเราไม่เล่นแม่งแล้วเบาเลยเฮียบอกว่าน้ำแม่งเลยแล้วชิไม่ทันฟาก ถ้าไม่ใช่ PBE ทันนะ
think
เมื่อกี้
for me, GenG's lost
มา
against
แล้วครับผม
KT looked.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I actually think that, and GenG were at least able to win a game, right? There's at least something to be had there. And I think as well, GenG, after returning to the drawing board and really getting humbled after that loss to KT, should be coming back a lot more scary. And they know how to dismantle FearX, right? They took them out in the LCK Cup. These two teams have been playing together against each other quite a lot over the last few weeks here on the main stage. So you can see Diablo just trying to get himself into the right headspace. Bit of an eyelid massage is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a great assessment.
I haven't done eyelid massage myself. I'm trying it now.
GenG Fighting
Yeah.
Takluz will be casting the game with his eyes closed.
Oh, it just feels weird, man. I don't know. I'm not really about it. Oh, we had the pip. There we go. Yeah, this is what I was doing. All right. Now I can't see what's happening in the rest of the draft. Oh, now I can. It's going to be a Varus ban to start things off. Oh, my vision's blurry. Wolf, you're going to have to take over.
Okay.
This massage was terrible. Talk to Diablo. Tell him to stop doing it.
You know, like, I think even with your eyes closed, you can expect the Pantheon ban to come through here.
I hope so.
After Karma, of course. And
I think Karma Rumble
แต่ถ้าแพนทีออนเฟิร์สพิกมันก็จะเจอแบบแอร์เทเลฟีนไหม
See the Azir ban away from Chovy. Could still lead to a Ryze first pick, even if the Pantheon is banned, but...
Yeah, maybe you ban Vi or something like that in order to go for a trade or an Ashe or...
Okay, there's just too many broken champions to do on second pick.
จะแพนหรือว่าไลซ์
There's a lot. I guess they're going to get one of them. We have to get two.
I mean, it's crazy that also Ryze only just won his first game, right? He was on a 5 losing streak.
It's so tempting for... Okay, they're going to take the Ryze. I think this is definitely the right call. It's so tempting, though, for FearX to go for the Yunara first pick here because the Ashe is banned.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But then you give Ryze Pantheon, so I think that would be a mistake. They will take away the Ryze, so Pantheon can go over here. And
Chovy has quite a few picks he can play with his
Pantheon, even the Taliyah.
Yeah, I was thinking Pantheon Taliyah could be an option.
But like, if it's Chovy, he could play like Pantheon Ahri. We're like, oh yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
Good start. See what he does end up grabbing here, because I think it will be his pick to come through.
Yeah, the Cassiopeia could also be an option, but the Anivia is another one. As there is the Yunara lock-in.
So they'll take it themselves.
Yeah, you were mentioning the fact that FearX could have been going that way. Now the denial does come in.
Just feels like they want Diablo to slam down the Lucian and or Corki lane and try to battle it out.
The classic Javan handshake into the Pantheon.
I don't know.
Hey, it just won its first match.
Yeah, I don't feel good about this. I'd rather play through Diablo in the bottom lane and give Raptor anything else because he has so many champions he can play to try to play through bottom side. See what they do lock as their third here.
หรือลูลูหรือเอสเรียล
Well, just going to be a
Nautilus เจอ
Nautilus priority is in such a
ตรงนี้
peculiar place
ตัดสินใจแล้วครับผม GenG ว่าจะแบบเอา
It's much higher than I was expecting.
แอนิเวียหรือว่าจะเอาเป็นลูลู
Kellen is just like, I would like to lose lane. Anyone supporting me, and because FearX are such a supportive squad, they're like, yeah.
Do you know what the most ridiculous thing is? Anivia is great in mid lane and support right now.
Yes.
แต่เมตาเปลี่ยน
Very happy to do so. And Javan is in the jungle, so it's not going to be any Raptor shenanigans with the jungle Nautilus. I think this is just an absolute flub. As far as
แอนิเวียท็อปบอกพี่ปกติมันเอามาหลังจากเกมไม่เก็บพี่ว่ามันเอามาแบบสู้กับนอต
Peter is like, I think this is the angle. And
go Peter. Not this game. He's not in this game. He's wondering why they picked Nautilus somewhere else, and FearX is wondering why they picked Nautilus now.
I don't want to like tunnel vision on this, but we will talk about this more later as we'll look at the rest of these picks now. Difficult for FearX because this Anivia is flexible. You could still ban Cassiopeia and just say, I still don't want to deal with that. They're putting their focus on the top side instead because they don't want to frontline for this
เพราะว่าเล่นไม่ได้เจอ Anivia
and potentially Anivia carry.
And you also don't want to have your bans completely nullified by a flex pick as well. And so I think protecting top lane could be a way to do it. Keen, of course, could be playing the Anivia and just taking a leaf out of Zeus' book. It's technically a 3-way flex.
And they do have the counter pick, so they're using second pick here really well. They can hold that Anivia till B5.
Yeah.
As the Corki is gone, and if this was not a Nautilus, you could still play the Nami Lucian
ทำไม
lane,
คู่ที่3
right?
ดาว
You
มัน
could
เป็น
still try to
คู่
play
ชิง
through
แบ
one
บ
of your best
LCK
players
ครับ
in Diablo, but they went for Nautilus, so
maybe the joke's on us, Wolf. It's top lane Nautilus.
remember when mid Nautilus was a thing very briefly?
Yeah, I do remember that. That MSI was weird.
ขนมจะหมดแล้ววะ
Believe
ยัง
it
ดา
or
วไม่
not,
เสร็จเลย
AD carry Nautilus was a thing with Senna, fasting Senna. That's not really AD carry, but
Yeah, I guess
farming Nautilus in the
technically.
bottom lane kind of felt like he was farming AD carry, but
Wait, does that mean Nautilus has been played in every role except for top lane so far? Make it happen, Clear. Make it happen. I think it was.
Wasn't it like an IEM GenG where Nautilus top was a thing
Copy
for a second
ไม่
as
ดี
well?
นะ
actually happen? That would be very cool.
อันนี้เวียน
If he's
ท็อปเหรอ
like the only
น่าอันนี้เวียน
champion,
เฟก
one of the only champions that has been played in
อันนี้เวียนเจอ
absolutely
ไล
every
ฟ์
single
ได้
role.
เฟกว่า
That is an Alistair lock-in, confirming that Chovy will be piloting the bird.
It is going to be Senna Nautilus.
Senna Nautilus.
Speak of the
เซน
devil.
หน้านอติลูด
It shalleth appear.
I'm. Yeah.
ชาติ
I don't think it's good. I'm not feeling enthusiastic about this one. Although the Jace here is a little bit more interesting.
only
So the
counter pick
Anivia
Jace
is
then,
going mid. And with the Alistar here, it's just that classic Yunara Alistar lane that has extra front line. Like, they're saying Ruler is the main character of this draft. Sure, Chovy's going to scale up, do a lot of damage, is going to be able to match the wave clear of the rise, will be a big threat later on, but you've got Pantheon, Sion, Alistar,
ดาวเฟก
and
อะ
Ruler can
แม่งนึ
do
กว่า T1 จ
whatever
ริง
he
เลย
wants. The Pantheon value is not as high as it has been in a lot of other drafts with strong side lanes because it's an Anivia and a Sion in this game, so it's still going to be a great setup CC. But the fact that they're playing into Senna means that he kind of can still get high value by just getting on top of one of the squishiest champions that can play in this lane.
Yeah, I do think that they can play through top lane though. Because Canyon should have enough damage and Keen should have enough lockdown to make sure that Clear cannot play the game if he does decide to target there. The Senna does have infinite scaling. There's that to talk about. The fact that she can get very, very strong, but is largely utility. The amount of damage out of this roster is going to be about Vikla and how much he can get done on this rise. And he's been counterpicked by the Anivia in Chovy. And GenG's composition is so bulky and has so much CC. And it's also incredibly easy to play. I say easy to play in inverted commas, but it is just a front-to-back team composition, protect the president, and that's exactly what GenG have always been best at.
This Nautilus just isn't hitting for me. I think this draft is going to be very tricky here for FearX.
I'm a little bit worried myself as well, but miracles can happen. And it's Easter. Maybe it's time for an Easter miracle. Let's get under the rift.
โจวี่ไม่ใช้สกินเดียวกับแรเลยได้เงินไป30เคลียร์
I do think it's very cool that Chovy and Lehens use the same skins and they both debuted on Griffin together. I just think it's very cute.
Yeah.
What I don't find cool is that skin. I think it's just terrible.
You don't like it?
No, I've never liked it.
I don't know
Was
what
that Winter Olympics in 2011 or 2010 or something like that?
I don't know what it makes me feel, but I know what it makes Dagon feel.
2011 couldn't have been the Winter Olympics, by the way, Atlas.
I don't really know where you were going with that, but I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna
I don't remember. Was it 20?
I
didn't know whether it was 2012 or 2010, so I went in the middle, and so I was definitely wrong. It's 2012. Thank you, chat. It's very stupid. All right. Yeah. So Chovy does have the.
It's been updated really nicely. Also the Q looks very, I don't know, looks very retro in a way.
I guess so. Anyway,
it's pretty cool. I'm not as big as a hater as you.
I just think that there are a lot of the Papercraft Anivia is such a cool skin.
Papercraft is cool, but I think base Anivia is also pretty basic.
น้องทอมชอบมาก
Base Anivia looks really cool.
ภาคเกมนี้เฟกชนะนะบอกเลยว่าทอมแม่ง
Oh dear.
I think her design
ทอ
is
ม
really
คลั่ง
cool.
Okay, well. It's good to know
ทอม
that
คลั่ง
she's
แน่นอน
appreciated in all
กับ
of
เซนน่า
those.
Look, I mean, it's like Nefiri is this awesome darkened dog.
อันนี้ฟังไปเรื่อยๆสัก10 นาที เจเจอแบบ
hot dog.
สู้ไม่ได้ละ
True.
I'm over that skin.
There's a lot of people that don't like that skin, and I find it weird because it is one of the best in the game. And now what we've discovered is that skin choices are subjective.
Well, this Alistar pick, by the way, has made it so this lane is pretty playable here for
เพื่อ
Diablo.
เอาหมวกเจนจี
This is not
กับเสื้อ
obviously
มา
the
ใส่
best
หน่อย
thing
เร็ว
for Senna. Has been for a really long time.
สบายใจร่มๆครับ
where
น้
you
อง
would play Nautilus as the carry and farm and just get souls as the Senna. So you have this insanely tanky Nautilus that kind of breaks the game because it wasn't designed to farm and wasn't balanced around that at the time. And that's not what we're going to be seeing here. It's just going to be a Senna that gets a little bit more range as time goes on into a Yunara. So
yep, has crazy crit scaling as
แต่พอ
well.
เมตามันเปลี่ยน
she
แบบ
does, and
ซัพพอร์ตมันมา
also
แบบ
she does
กับ
not
ท็อปเลนมันเปลี่ยนเนาะ
shoot very fast and can sometimes just be burst down
คือ
when
ซั
there's
พ
a
พอร์ต
lot
มันมีแบบ
of
แอนนิเวียเพิ่มขึ้นมา
frontline deal. That's my biggest concern here for this Senna.
She is extraordinarily squishy.
She does not really live very long. Like a Pantheon stuns and presses Q, and that's the end.
Well, and we might have a little bit of an introduction as to the Pantheon stunning and
ยัง
pressing
ไม่ได้
Q.
อย่าโผล่
However,
นะเนี่ย
Clear is going to back away.
ไม่งั้นแบบ
So that
ข้างล่าง
means
เดี๋ยวจะ
that
โดน
we will not. Canyon did manage to take the top lane scuttle though, and we'll just be heading back home once more.
I think it's a good call for Canyon to try to make a pass at the Jace on the top
กลับ
side
ไปซื้อ
because this
เทียร์กับเคิร์มมาเลยว่ะ
Alistar
เคลีย
lane
ร์
on the bottom is just going to be self-sufficient, not going to have any
จะ
problems
ฟาร์ม
into
แล้ว
the
อะ
Senna lane.
ฟาร์มอ
And
ย่าง
he
เดียว
can just path down here now, take his Krugs as they respawn, and look for a bit of a gank if he wants to. It's going to be a pretty quiet
เล่น
early
น
game
กละลาน
with
มิ
these
นเนี่ย
AD
ได้
carry
แบบ
picks
ประ
as
มาณ
well
นี้
as our
ว่า
mid
เก่งนะ
picks. Not a whole lot of kill threat.
นั่งร้านมินเนี่ยแบบน่าเบื่อมากเลย
I think
แอน
the
นิเวียมัน
biggest
ไม่มีสกิลเคลียร์
target,
ถ้าไม่หก
the highest chance of somebody dying would be clear, as we've already seen.
Yep. I think it's really interesting though that we have this very early pick Nautilus, which means for what feels like one of the first times ever, an Alistar lane is not getting massively punished. It is getting punished a bit, you know, it is Diablo with a slight advantage, but it should mean that Duro can sort of get out onto the map in pretty good standing as this game goes on, as Chovy has to flash pretty early on here, not risking it here against Raptor, as Vikla would have that Rune Prison to throw down.
I think like Zeri, Yunara has a lot of early team fighting power
around
her ultimate and just how quickly she can snowball a team fight, especially the front line like this. So even in the mid game, before this Senna is really truly online and the Rise is really truly online, before he has his Actualizer, GenG's comp is already really hitting its strides. And if they can get into a mid game where they win a team fight or two, they have a Drake lead. Yes, Senna is going to scale, but Yunara still scales too in a different way, and they just have the better front line. So I think a lot of this game for B&K is trying to finesse how they get on top of this Yunara, who has mobility with her ult. Oh, close call.
That would have been a decent way to do it. I would have recommended
ที่วันมันกินอะไรไม่ได้เลย
no, as Duro taking a fair bit of damage. Headbutt does come back. Slurkle value is kind of in. It's a great snare. Duro does get the pulverize to deny Kellen. And out they will go with help of the heal. Just the heal invested though, and Kellen had to flash.
Am I crazy or did...
Yes.
Did Chovy flash off screen or did I...
No, he flashed before when Raptor came.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I said yes, but I meant it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
Diablo's actually doing a great job here in this lane. I'm not really a Senna believer. I know that I'm a little bit biased towards a lot of AD carries, namely Jhin, but Senna is another one that I haven't really got on board with for the last little while. There was certainly a time where she was very, very strong, but it's not really feeling like right now, although she has certainly crept back up in priority.
I like Senna when it's not a super AD carry-centric meta, because you have a lot of utility, and when it's not a very AD carry favored meta, you don't deal with picks like this where they can actually just challenge you, because you can't fight back.
Lula's moving up now, not going to find the hook yet again.
When there's no jungle attention and you're just farming souls and you're kind of taking trades like this, and you're chilling, and you're like, I'm stacking, it's fine. That's when I like Senna. When it's a little bit more of a mid and jungle carry, or maybe even a top carry meta, that's when I'm into it. Or when Senna is effectively a support and she's fasting,
มากัน4 คน
I'm also about that.
แตก
They do have a Jace and a Rise, but they may not have a center anymore, as Canyon moving down towards his bottom side does get the pulverized as Duro, and that is first blood over to the Pantheon very comfortably. Turret loses interest as the cow moves away, and that is about as elementary as it gets.
I mean, the Nautilus gets the root of the turret, but they just don't care. Pantheon does too much damage.
Now
you've got Chovy in a little bit of trouble. He has Egg though. They're going to have to kill him twice if they do want to take him down. They invest the Cataclysm to do so. Now Rule is rotating up. Canyon is in a lot of trouble. Aegis is not helping out necessarily as Chovy comes back with full health. Doesn't get the stun on Raptor. He's able to flash his way out of there.
So Chovy loses his Egg. They still end up getting control over the Dragon Pit. And health goes really low.
Duro ภารกิจ
Flash from Duro. Vikla gets out of the way.
Health goes very low for Vikla, but he will get away. Does not have teleport though, so it's a pretty big win. It's down here, like, yeah, you can just kind of chill in the lane until Canyon shows up. And by the way, he doesn't even need his ult to pull this one off. And the roots don't matter in this meta with so much damage output.
คือแพนดิออนอ่ะแม่งนอกจากตันล็อกหัวแล้วแม่งยังแบบแรง
Not really.
โคตรเร็วแล้วแถมแบบมีโล่
was going to be a good fight for them because he did have egg. Canyon was moving up, but Ruler just took a little too long to get there.
That's my main thing here. Is Ruler is here from the get-go,
and also isn't really offering that much. If it was Duro coming up, I think that would have been a different story.
Ruler
Actually
ควรจะ
has
ฆ่าไล
AoE
ฟ์ได้
CC
เมื่อ
and
กี้
stuff like that.
I think if Ruler is there, he has flash. If he's there a little bit faster, he might just clean up house. But I think maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication there on when Chovy wanted to go in, or perhaps Chovy thought he was going to have a little bit more time there. But yeah, I think that's the main problem, like you're saying.
100 เก่งไหมท่องไว้
Looks like after the dust settles here, B&K will be able to get this first dragon, which is a huge win for them.
Yeah, Grand Starfall is there for Canyon, but they're not opting into anything. Vision is turned off in the river, in the dragon pit. As Cloud Drake will be going down. Next one going to be a mountain, Earth, Wind, and Fire, a possibility here, which would be fun. But not going to be a Mountain Soul, not going to be a Cloud Soul, which means
คือเขาเอามาแก้ไขแอนนิเวียเว้ยถามว่าทำไมถึงเป็นเซนน่าคือถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าแบบอย่างเงี้ยเขาจะเป็นเน้นแบบว่าโป๊กเอาอะเห็นป่าวว่าเขาเล่นเป็นไลท์เจสแล้วก็เซนน่าคือจะไม่แบบจะแบบเล่นระยะเอาเลยอะ
Yeah, I was like,
แต่ว่าเซนน่าที่ไม่ถูกเลือกมาเพราะว่าเลนมันกาก
Sometimes it takes a bit to, for that thing to
เลนมันกากเพราะตัวถ้าเลนมันเก่งก็คือเกมนี้ก็คือไม่มีใครเล่นตัวอื่นแล้วแหละเพราะว่ามันเป็นตัวที่เก็บสแต็กได้ถ้าเลนมันเก่งก็คือจบละ
He wants his egg to come back though. Doesn't have that one quite yet.
I'll take a little while as is going to be able to proc his electrocute here. Nice wall.
Oh my god, โชวี่แกเมมจัดเลยว่ะแกแม่งวางกำแพงเพื่อให้ไลฟ์
On the grubs, should be able to take those down. As here on the top side of the map, Clear is trying to do damage to Keen, and Keen is just not really noticing.
Yesterday, Valdez and I cast a pretty crazy series at the end of the day. Ended up being a 2-0 with D+, but
ไม่เห็นมังกรแฟนจาวะพี่ว่าอาจจะเป็นสัปดาห์หน้าอาจจะมีภาพได้เล่นอยู่มั้ง
We were like, all right, well, just gonna keep fighting, and
จริงมันควรจะเป็นแบบจุด8แล้วนะคือหมายถึงว่าแพทที่เราเล่นกันควรจะเป็นจุด8แล้วแข่งควรจะเป็นจุด7อะไรเงี้ย
which we have seen very little of here in the LCK, where both comps are just kind of chilling and have great late game win comps and have their own way to set up team fights. I like GenG's comp better for late game, but the Senna gets really, really strong. Later you go, and they have the Rise for pretty good wave clear, matched by the Anivia, but there's good things on both sides.
Yeah, I like GenG's comp for 40 minutes into the game. I like FearX's comp for 120 minutes into the game.
I think that's a pretty good assessment. More than the Senna stack timing, it's about, I think, the better setup for the Yunara than the lack of setup for BNK, because they have kind of almost like a pick comp with a Senna, and her ultimate could be great for layering on top of that, I suppose, but we have so many questions that won't be answered for a while here in this game. It's a small lead for GenG, and if you're playing against GenG and you keep that lead down, because often it balloons, we've seen a 100 lead for GenG,
ถ้าไม่ออกอีคิปไม่มีภาพสู้ได้เลย
go up to 1,000
ออกอีคิปเป็นสู้ไม่ได้แตก
Gonna have to flash very early on, and it's gonna do not nearly enough to save him. This is what we were talking about. The chain CC is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, you called it out earlier, and this is the champion I said was the most vulnerable on the map. Career flashes and still dies. And actually, Canyon doesn't even have to flash in return, so it's a huge win there. And we're actually lane swapping.
Yeah, we've got our Ruler actually up here to catch the wave as Keen, he's teleporting towards the bottom side of the map. Quest not quite completed yet, but our Ruler is still just up here to make sure that they can get as much value as possible.
He has 3 grubs, and they're going to get a lot of plate cold onto this Yunara early as a result of that.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. You can see already up about 250 gold. Did have a slight advantage already, but just wipes away those 2 plates and should be able to clear out this wave as well. Now Canyon and Duro just hanging around with Raptor here. And as another wave crashes in, Ruler just gonna go back one more time.
So this is
เมื่อก่อนนี้ประมาณ 40-50
right? Flashes, but
คือ10 นาทีมันจะได้ประมาณสัก50อะไรเงี้ย20ก็100
Yeah, I don't know, just probably die.
30ก็ประมาณ150 200อะไรเงี้ยนะครับมันก็จะเก่งสเกลลิ่ง30 นาทีเก่งอ่ะ
It's an odd maneuver.
Look, Bird's gonna have an egg. Bird's not gonna care about a flash.
I guess not. But we saw from the hens, if you have flash, you're an engage tool.
That is accurate. He's like, I like to do damage as CC. I like to put him in a death chamber.
That would certainly work as
Diablo
is elected not to complete his quest either. It's kind of weird.
They're not questing.
No, Ruler just goes back to the lane, and while he hangs out here, there it is. The completion is done.
แต่ไม่เนื้อไม่ได้หรอกช่วงนึงคือแบบแม่ง
hang out
คือมีแต่เซนหน้า
He'll just be able to get it. But like the longer he wastes, I mean, the more money he's gonna lose.
เซนหน้า
Like bottom lane quest completion timer is the most important. We've talked about it since
แม่งเล่นเซนหน้าซัพพอร์ตอยู่ประมาณสัปดาห์เดียวแม่งเนื้อเลย
here in the LCK.
Oh. Bit of a headbutt back there as Duro is spotted out. Does have the unbreakable will, but definitely does not want to use it. Has already though, and Raptor is making his way down. Flash out from the cow. It's flag and drag from Raptor, but not going to go too much further than that. As GenG might actually be under a little bit of fire here as Canyon discovers Raptor making his way in. Never mind, Canyon does a lot of damage. As this Brambleback comes through, there is the Realm Warp. Okay, no knock-up onto Canyon as the Blast Cone disengages beautifully. Shout out to Valdez. Sorry about that one, buddy. And the Brambleback should still go over to BNK.
Yeah, it's still a big pickup here for BNK. And
Diablo's
quest is completed now. So he's going to start actually getting that extra bonus gold.
There we go.
So everything's going well. The Dragon also, because of all that control they had, could be next on the cards here for BNK. Raptor starts this up. He has control vision as Keen is coming in.
He's just driving on down. Duro finding a pulverize onto a couple, but he's likely to fall. Oh, the headbutt!
Oh my god ดันกลับมาโดนคีนหูดูโลแล้วไง ADC อยู่แต่มันยิงไม่เข้าอะเด้ยิงไงยิงผิดที่ไม่ได้กดบาเรียไม่ไหวเซนหน้าไม่มีดาเมจเลยเล่นยังไงวะเซนหน้าตายแม่งเอครับผมใครฆ่าใส่ออนยังไม่เข้าใจเลยคือไซออนมาพร้อมกับอันเอนดิ้งแล้วก็วอร์เดนมิว1ชิ้นคือเซนหน้าแบบยิงไป1เม็ดคือแบบโอเคจบเธอละดูงี้ดูโลครับผมดูนะดันกลับไปครับนี้แล้วบัมดันกลับไปโดนแบบคิวเน้น
But Ruler is like, this is exactly what I was talking about before about the Yunara versus the Senna and these types of skirmishes. Just had so much damage output. Chovy's also doing quite a lot of damage, but it was just even a little bit of CC, just a little bit of setup here for Ruler. He's just like, I'm taking names. And he and Chovy just clean this squad up off of like an Alistair almost dying.
Yeah.
Oops, went too far. I guess GenG just calls you out. Now they're almost 4,000 gold ahead. And, man, it was kind of a cool game. We were talking about scaling and stuff, and now I'm looking at Diablo saying,
มันคือมันเซนหน้ามันก็ต้อง
hope this game goes
ต้องรอสเกลลิงไปเรื่อยๆแบบเรื่อยๆจริง
This is going to look okay for GenG, I could imagine. But we may not even see that, as this game is looking like it is a little GenG favored at this point in time. But only one Drake apiece. I guess no double dragon for anyone just yet, but it's a Hextech Soul Wolf. This is a scary moment. As Ruler's just going to dash on top of Diablo. The snare comes in, but the Aqua Ruin goes down, and pop goes the center.
แม่ถ้าดับ SVL ให้กับ Diablo นะ
versus Static Shiv.
Yeah.
แต่ว่าเขาอยากเล่นระยะไงลองสูตรนี้ดูแต่เหมือนจะ doesn't work ว่ะ
Sometimes it's just you're in a suboptimal position, and that is precisely where Diablo was there. Had no real way of getting out. And Ruler had barrier that whole time.
คือจะบอกว่าของพี่ช่องเราอ่ะมันดู LPL ได้เขาบอกว่าคือพี่ส่งอีเมลไปแล้วแหละแต่ว่าทีเนี้ยถ้าดูแล้วโดนแบนก็ถือว่าดูไม่ได้แล้วกันเป็นไงเพราะว่าเขาไม่ได้มีอีเมลยืนยันหลังจากที่พี่ส่งอีเมลไปแล้วมันก็เลยแบบไม่รู้ว่าสรุปกูดูได้ไม่ได้วะเนี่ย
And is kind of annoyingly in tower range, as Vikwa will be able to finish it off. That was actually pretty cute.
เพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดคู่นี้จบเดี๋ยวเราไปดู AL กับท็อปกันนะครับ
And they will be able to take a few plates here in this top lane as well.
Keen will get this turret, and they get first brick in mid, so 2 turrets here for a kill.
Diablo is just dead again. And the hook is going to come on
คู่นี้น่าจบไว
does at least deliver the rest of the
bullets. Ruler
is going to get punished.
เกมนี้คือเสียไปแล้ว1เกมแน่นอนอยู่แค่ว่าแบบจะทำสถิติแบบแพ้กี่นาที
Spartan warrior. The Herald also going to get another charge from Duro here, and so yes, you got.
ไม่มีภาพเซนหน้าจะได้สเกลลิงนะแม่งโดนไฟข้างล่างเมื่อกี้ไปคือแบบเสียหมดเลย
You got Chovy also. Right before that.
คือจริงๆนะถ้าเกิดมันเป็นเซนหน้ามันไม่ควรเป็นไลฟ์กลางมั้ยมันควรเป็นตัวที่มัน
I'm not feeling optimistic here. Chovy has eggs, so even killing him here, by the way, with 4 people,
it took a while.
It takes a long time. You have a push in the bottom lane. You have this first brick going over. Ruler grabs the Herald, and Diablo's like,
พี่ก็จะหาเรื่องให้โดนแบนจะได้ไปพี่จะได้บิดไปพักใช่ไหม
What the hell are you doing?
He also
like, I mean, seriously though, like he's just like.
I think they called the Realm Warp. I think they called the Realm Warp play. It's just unfortunately Diablo only lasts 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, the rest of the team is coming though, is you're kind of mentioning there, and like.
And he missed the route. It was just all not great.
The Senna pick, I think, is not working, Atlas.
You know what? Some would say that it's results-based analysis.
ชวีโดนอีกแล้วอ่ะ
But I would agree with you.
Well, interestingly, you and I both kind of said we didn't like it that much beforehand.
Yeah. Chovy is in a bit of trouble yet again, but the cavalry are arriving. Canyon still looking a little worse for wear, though, as we see the pulverize coming in. Not liking the look of this fight whatsoever, but will be able to jump in towards the Arc of Ruin. Still doing a lot of damage. Vikla flashing towards the Yunara, and good sidestep there.
Oh my god เคเลนไม่ใช่เหรอวะเจอว่าแบบเจนจีชนะแน่นอนอยู่แค่เมื่อไหร่ปึ๊บแม่งกลับมาปั๊บ
I like your cup is half full on this one.
Do you like
แฟนเจนจีต้องแบบว่า
as well, which is not a word?
ต้อง
That
ว่า
way
พี่
no
แน่
one
เลย
can
วะ
call me out because I didn't actually use a real word to describe the situation.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. No, it was. I struggle to find the words myself. Like you
could say unique.
Yeah.
Interesting. One of those commentator words.
Very safe. Chovy does get caught right, and they want to once again turn this into a bit of a you got our mid laner.
เดือดร้อนน่า
kind
จะ
of
พวก
Baker
กูเลย
Matador situation, but they just don't have enough damage. Ruler can't get access.
ก็นึกออก
And he
ว่า
does not want to opt into using his flash here to actually get the kill on the Raptor. Decides to flash away.
Oh, meanwhile in live, there is a Jarvan in a bouncy castle and isn't actually able to leave. As the flash from Kane, Kellen is able to sidestep it there as he tries to walk away. Slurkle not going to quite land as the snare is going to connect onto 2. Nicely done from Diablo for some disengage. But they lose their jungler, and that should mean that they lose the Drake here as well. As okay, Canyon going a little bit further forward. Duro is just dead. Blast Cone does just evict everyone from the vicinity. As BNK now like the idea of a bit of a fight. Diablo sidesteps the Q as Kellen trying to get himself out of the way. As Ruler wants the kill, but it's Canyon that snipes him with a spear. That is such a huge wall from Chovy.
I think Ruler was the one most interested in that fight continuing. I'm not entirely sure what BNK thought was
ถ้า
going
ส
to
มมติว่าเพื่อน
happen.
ตายแล้วไอ้
They
วิ
got
ญ
the
ญาณดอก
Alistair, and he's
ที่
been
ว่า
a
โอเค
huge
นะ
thorn on their side. Okay, I believe that was
แบบว่า
Duros first
เก็บวิญญาณ
death
จาก
of
เพื่อน
the
เอา
game. And you know, I think
แต่
he's
ว่า
going to
ไม่
be
ดรอปไปดิ
outshone in this game by Ruler and Chovy
LDR
because
ชิ้
of
น
the
สองครับผม
boom. But he has been so good, and once
Diablo.
again, BNK are like, better kill that Alistair.
Yeah.
There's no
จะ
one
เดินไป
what's
ตี
on the
บาส
other
กุล
side, but we're
เจอ
looking
แบ
for
บในพุ่ม
hammer
นั้นแม่งบอกว่า
tonight.
นักกล้ามอ่ะ
And like, he baits them there here. Obviously doesn't have his ult back, so they can burst him down. But guess what? Ruler is like 3,000 gold ahead, and he is ready to just auto-attack people with his Q up.
And he did that.
And like, Clear is like, God, I just, maybe I can hurt. No, I can't play the game.
God, that wall was very large. And Chovy able to help lock this one down. Malignance is done here as well for the Anivia. An interesting choice there alongside his Rod of Ages that he already has put down. As Hook connects onto Keen. And you were talking about targets that they didn't want to engage on. I think Keen is number 1. As Kellen down to 50%. Snare not quite going to work here as another beautiful wall. Means that the Nautilus not going anywhere at all. Man, this Anivia pick pretty strong, as it turns out.
Yeah, it is working really well. It turns out Chovy's really good at this pick, actually.
Yeah, has been for a while.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that has the license for it. You know, we sometimes use that term to describe which mid laners can play it. He's been arguably the best Anivia player for a really long time.
มันดรอปแค่
And this is just not, it's a composition that can't really function if it falls this far behind. Like, And it's really not even about the fact that it's behind, more so that it's about the Anivia
หรือ
and
มันมี
the
สูตรแบบ
Yunar being so big that
ไม่ฟาร์มเวฟแล้วเดินไปตามแบบป่าได้ปะ
literally their health bars
ให้ป่า
just
เคลียร์เว
disappear
ฟ
if
แล้ว
they
ก็
interact with GenG. And so everyone's running away constantly, but eventually Chovy puts a wall up and somebody gets caught, right?
And it's so frustrating, right? Because GenG has 2 true tanks in the Alistair and the
Look at
Sion.
the item for Diablo. He's like, maybe I'll hurt them now.
Do you think Canyon versus Clear is a fair fight?
No.
No, I don't think so at all. Canyon just executes him as another wall is going to block off an entirety of terrain. Diablo, you're not allowed to be there. Absolutely not. Train is going to be avoided there with a flash, as Keen doesn't really take damage.
At least they know Canyon doesn't have ult.
Yeah, there we go.
They're like, he's far away and he can't get to us. I guess it'll be okay.
And Chovy doesn't actually catch Vikla with that particular wall either.
To be honest, too, one of the things about the Senna comp that kind of irks me that I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it or not. And I'm not trying to do results-based assessment.
ถ้าเซนหน้าท็อปยิงไซออนพี่ว่าไงเล่น
Or
สโมเดอ
sorry,
ร์เหอะ
outcome
เอาจ
focus.
ริง
What
เล่นสโมเดอร์เจอไซแบบเจอไซออนน่ะมันก็มีความสุขนะ
Diablo
เว้ย
is one of the
ก็คือตีเอารูนเขียวไปด้วยอะ
mechanically
ตีเก็บรูนเขียว
strong
แล้วก็
carries in the
แล้วก็
LCK.
พ่นใส่มินเนี่ยน
Why are we putting him on Senna?
เอามาหน้าไปเรื่อยๆซัสเตน
there's
มา
been
หน้า
a
ตัวเอ
few
งในเลน
times
ไป
where
เรื่อย
we've
ๆ
had
เรื่อย
issues,
ๆเรื่อย
with players picking things that go against
They
their
could have picked
playstyle.
Lucian. We kind of
Let him
mentioned it,
back.
but
He's now chasing after Keen though, as there's a flash from Vikla looking to try and get on top of Ruler, and Ruler isn't too worried about it. There's a knock up on the Chovy though, as Dawning Shadow does fly forward.
ดูมั่วดีแต่
Raptor
ว่า
is
ก็สนุกดี
extraordinarily dead. Canyon's the one to lock down that kill, but GenG's health bars are at least whittled down somewhat.
เซนหน้า
Canyon
ทรงเนี้ย
diving
มันต้อง
towards
ออกแบบ
Clear
เค
yet
เบิล
again.
อะมัน
Flash
ออก
out from
LDR ไม่ได้
Kellen
อะ
will at least keep him alive, but they are
คือแม่ง
closing in. And Canyon doesn't quite have ulti just yet. But I think that FearX are in a lot of trouble.
มันใน
There's
ป้อม
the
แล้ว
train.
อะ
Nice double knock up to come through afterwards with the Q. And Roll was able to lock down, or at least help with a couple.
เอากระสุนเอากระสุน
Down goes the cow yet again. But it's been
เซนหน้า
Duro the sacrifice for quite some time. As Chovy keeps himself alive. Calculated with the arm guard.
calculated.
ไม่
Oh
แล้วคือ
my
เดียโบ
God,
เดินไป
that
เก็บกระ
was-
สุน
that's
ถ้า
just
เดินมายิง
unfair.
น่าจะได้อยู่
You're
วะ
gonna be feeling pretty salty about that one if you're FearX. But honestly, the
Were
game
you
wasn't
feel- yeah.
going great.
Were you feeling salty about the negative 8K hole
ถ้าเดิน
you're
มา
in,
เจอแคนย
or
อน
the Senna that's 0-4 before this, or maybe
ไออีชิ้นนี้
that time you almost
Saan.
killed Duro but then lost the game?
มัน
Yeah,
แหลก
there
แล้ว
are
มัน
a
แหล
few
กแล้วเดีย
things
โบ
that have been near misses for BNK this time around.
It might have been the accidental lock-in of the Nautilus.
ดูเลือดตาม
As Ruler is going to get jumped on by Clear, and Clear is going to die for it.
Clear's like, do I 1v1 anyone in this game?
Yeah, well, Diablo. Oh no, you shouldn't have shown yourself. No. And Ruler with the Arc of Judgment. The burn is ticking, and Diablo will keep himself alive. Does have the piercing darkness, and it is Raptor that takes him down in the end. Ruler really feeling himself in this game. He's 5,000 gold ahead.
Diablo's face on the player cam was like, yeah, I knew I was safe.
At least now he has Swifties. That will allow him to get
เฟีย
out of
คิด
the way
ต
of
บ
at
ที
least
วันมันหาย
something.
ไปไหนแล้วพี่
The armor penetration, though, is kind of like a cruel joke at this point because of how incredibly powerful Keen is. And without very many items, it's just so hard for Diablo to really do anything at all in this game.
Yeah, the Dragon is going to be Hextech Soul Point here for GenG. Raptors in the area, but, I mean, even without Ruler, I wouldn't test your luck. They're going to commit the TP.
All right,
Yeah,
they're going to see what they
well,
can do. Good
you know,
wall to block
8,000
off Kellen as Kane is just tanking everything up himself. Duro has turned off
Hey,
the
like,
lights.
you-
He's going to get rid of that blast cone. As you can see, FearX have started off this Dragon. Raptor goes in, Cataclysm to get him out of there. It could be a 50-50 as Vickler is in a good
ยิงเถ
spot
อะ
to
เดีย
do
โบยิงแคนย
damage.
แคนยอนเลยมันมีเจก็
As
ยิงได้
Raptor
ไม่เถ
going
อะ
down very, very low. Canyon down to the GA as Keen is just
Ano
kind of
ba
a
yan?
brick
Ying
wall.
Yuat.
There, okay. That is Ruler turning up, and he does
แต่ฆ่าใครไม่ได้เลย
definitely enough
GG
damage. They'll take themselves soul point, and they will wipe the floor with FearX.
เซนหน้าครับผมน้องทอม
Like,
ดีแล้วที่มันไม่เวิร์ก
it's what,
เชื่อ
30 minutes into the game. I think
คือ
they
มัน
just
อาจจะ
end,
ถ้าสมมติว่ามันเวิร์กเกมนี้ใช่ป่ะน้องทอมจดไป
even 30
อาจจะ
minutes,
ไปเล่น
it
แบบ
feels like
4
it is
เกมแม่งแพ้ไป 3
26
เนี่ย
minutes. They're just
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Didn't we work?
It's
Nice.
11,000 gold lead. Like this is done.
Vikla, nice Rod of Ages, nice death timer.
All right, well, Keen is absolutely massive. 1-1-17, by the way, on the Scion. Was a beautiful performance, to be perfectly honest. I actually feel like he's kind of the unsung hero at the moment for GenG. In this particular game at least, but everyone having a pretty fantastic performance. And honestly, this is what we expected to see out of GenG against KT. Better late or never than never. in the final series of the week. But man, this is the team we're expecting to see.
Well, we had issues with some of GenG's drafts at first stand, some of their drafts against KT Rolster, but I had pretty big issues with the draft on the other side for FearX in this game.
You know how we have the draft highlights that they can do on the space?
Yeah.
I think if there's ever a draft highlight, if you're allowed one in the entirety of your career, I think it's this Nautilus pick.
Yeah.
That's the one that I'm highlighting. It just...
But Atlas, he tripled Duro's damage.
And that's a very good point. Maybe I'm the one with egg on my face. But... The
problem
is not only was the Anivia available and could have been played into the bottom lane against it, but Chovy can pick Anivia into Rise and be really happy about it. They have a flex pick they can use for the rest of the draft. And
Senna into Pantheon. Pantheon almost out-damaged Ruler. I just want to put that in perspective. This Fed 2,000 gold ahead in the early game. Ruler.
Yeah.
Pantheon almost out-damaged it. Good job, Canyon.
This is, yeah, that was a little bit of a draft situation.
Welcome back to the space as it's GenG getting back to their winning ways against FearX. They're up 1-0 in our final game of the week. Digon here alongside Ox and Wadid, and this is the GenG that we want to see. Pretty dominant with unique picks and making it look effortless.
It's rare to see GenG lose. It's rare to see them lose multiple times in a row. And so I wasn't too surprised that they came into this one swinging. And we saw a return to form for them. It's just unfortunate that BNK FearX were the team on the receiving end because they also had a bit of an unfortunate. This game just they looked really like they didn't have much to offer in return.
Yeah, especially some question marks on their bot lane picks and top lane because for bot lane we don't really see Senna nowadays because I think it's too slow
อะไรใน Twitter
to play
มีคน
the
บอกว่า
champion
โกฮังเสียน้ำตา
because
ตั้งแต่ตอนแรกยังแบบจริงเหร
just
อ
wants to play
หมดยุคเลนาโชแล้วต่อไปเป็นยุคเรือเลปีโป้อะไรของเขาวะนะ
I think if you want to blind pick Jace you normally just get rid of Sion in the earlier phase
สนใจถั่วเขียวผสมโค้กไหมพี่
leaving open Sion was kind of
เดี๋ยวนะไอ้ถั่วเขียวต้มหวานๆนะ
on the cast for the Nautilus pick, you know, when the Anivia's in the game, feels so uncomfortable, and also the enemy front line, the Alistair Sion, so much tankier, so hard to play into. And the Senna, I think one of the things that really hit Senna was the introduction of the role quest, because you get extra goals made carry, which scales souls.
มากับอาหารโรงเรียนนะไม่ชอบเลย
The soul count was so low compared to what we're used to seeing from like a fasting Senna in comparison, and especially into Yunari, it's never going to keep up.
Yeah, definitely not. You can see the thinking. It's like, well, they have Yunara on their side, so they want to scale. The Anivia, they want to scale. We can scale too. Didn't quite work out that way. And our one play that kind of elongated and was around the map was around 14 minutes, and it just started in the bot side of the map.
So this one is set up so well by Duro
ของพี่จะกระทิบเปล่าไม่ของพี่มันเป็นแบบ
and Duro is kind of baiting him. He knows just the back of his team ready, and he gets super low here. Gets the ult up, but then knocks the Jarvan into this double knockup for the immediate follow-up. And on the offset, it's a much squishier front line. They put so much damage already into the Alistair, who's done his job. And I think what's great is that GenG follow up here and just don't let anyone get away. Look at how Chovy moves round behind the tower to cut them off. This could have just been a couple of kills. It ends up being so much more.
แล้วผมไปเรียนรอที่เขาชนไก่กินประจำผู้ฝึกบอกคนกลัวเยี่ยวใส่อย่าไปกิน
This is such a great game to play in
ผู้ฝึกเป็นคนยังไงวะ
All of them cannot walk through the wall.
เขากินถั่วลิสงกับโค้กเหมือนพี่เห็นแบบ
mid lane
อันนั้นปกติหรือเปล่าวะ
And
ถั่วลิ
that's
สง
what we
กินกับ
wanted
โค้ก
to touch
ปก
on
ติเลย
here. We were talking in the back
มันเป็นอะไรที่
Anivia's been the flavor of the month, where he's been able to play in the top lane, or she's been able to play in the top lane, in the mid lane, down on the bottom side of the map as well. And so Wadid wanted to see that over on the TV. Break that down for us, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we can see it in the full graphic here as well. I think, wait, what? Wrong graphic. We need one. Oh yeah, thank you.
That was the one you draw in.
Oh
really,
yeah, I mean, I recasted.
Oh, you prepared that one for us.
Yeah, such a great graphic work by
I like the early one first, actually. I thought that one. I really like that one. Can we see that one again?
Yeah, I'd love to see that one more time.
I don't know.
I really like the drawing of Anivia. That was really stands out to me.
Yeah, so the point is we already had some successful flags on Anivia. Even though Jace lost that game, he played really well into Jace, and also we could see it from this game that Chovy played into
โดน
Ryzen
เนิร์ฟ
but
แน่นอน
also the
Anivia
bot
พี่
lane
พี่
Anivia
พูดเลยว่า
support now the meta playing
แพท
into Saver and
จุด
Alyssa and
8เนิร์ฟ
Nautilus
แน่
it makes such a great pick for
คือ
India so
ไลออ
you
ด
can
ไม่
flex
ชอบ
on
ตัวที่
three
มันไปได้
lanes
3 เลน
and
เว้ย
also all these champions are on the meta right now so I think it gives
เต็ม
more
ที่ให้
value
แค่
for
2
the pick
I think as well, it's like the
3
lane
เลน
matchups
คือจะโดน
are
เนิร์ฟ
great,
ทัน
but
ที
also if those champions,
ถ้า
you
เนิ
know,
ร์ฟ
the
คิด
Siva
ว่าน่า
being
จะ
in
เนิ
the
ร์ฟส
game,
ตัน
even if
ดู
it's
เร
an
ชั่น
Anivia
ลงไปอี
mid,
ก
it feels really difficult to play team fights with that short range. You know, the Anivia was mid this
แล้ว
game,
ก็
but
ส
the
โล
Nautilus
อาจ
felt
จะ
so
อาจจะแบบ
uncomfortable playing into that when you have the terrain that you can
อาจ
place
จะไม่ได้สโล
down,
ขนาดเนี้ย
the
อันนี้มัน
slow,
สโล
the
เยอะไป
AoE. I think this pick we're seeing getting so
คือ
much
ดูมันสโล
value
ดิ
now.
สกิลมันอะ
You
ต่อ
know,
ให้มัน
Kino
จะ
and
สตัน
Medics is like that rise
สเกลลิง
counter,
ใช่ปะ
now it's being used
แต่
as
สโลมันแบบ
support as well.
20 20
Getting a little
30
bit of
40
love
อะ
in top
20 เยอะนะเว้ย
lane. It's just got so much flexibility that it's really just getting a lot more value than we saw before.
Yeah, and being ahead of the curve, GenG showing that in their draft because they picked the Alistair in 4-5.
ถ้ามันไป
That
ป่า
means
ได้คือ
no
จบเลย
Alistair later on the game. No Nautilus, no Alistair. And now you're whittling down the types of champions at the support role that have been strong. So it's just
เมื่อก่อนไม่รู้
really
เว
good
ลา
to
กิน
see
พวกร้านหน้า
GenG
ชอบกลืน
on
ลง
top
ไป
of
แบบ
what
ไม่
they
เคี้ยว
want
อุ้ย
here
จริงเหรอ
in terms of the draft. For you, you wanted to touch on FearX a little bit and why we're seeing them struggle.
Yeah, I mean, many people are concerning about like HLE
ภ
or
รรยาจะ
GenG
ไปได้ฮัทไหน
them
นะ
not
เทียบ
having
กั
a
น
great performance.
มัน
But for me, I think they can just
อันนี้
bounce
ดู
back
ใน
so
แข่ง
easily because
ดู
they
ใน
are
แข่ง
full
เป็น
of
หลัก
veterans.
แบบ
They
ถ้าเกิดสมมติว่า
all know they have
ดู
good
ในแรง
players,
ที่ว่า
but for BNK, I
มา
feel
สเตอร์
like
ยิงไป
they're
ท็อป
the
ได้เลย
team
อะไร
with the
เงี้ย
young
มัน
players
ก็
and
ต้องดูใน
also
แข่งครับ
they are
ถ้าใน
the
แข่ง
team
มัน
who needs
ภรรยา
some,
ไป
like,
จังเกิล
positive
บ่อยไหม
momentum
ไม่
for
บ่
the
อย
team, but
ภรร
right
ยา
now,
ส่วนใหญ่จะอยู่
I
กลาง
don't
อันเนี้ย
feel
แบบ
like
perfectly
they can
balance
actually bounce back from here, and especially
แต่ว่าก็ต้อง
when
ปรับถ้าสมมติว่ามัน
you
บายพลิก
remember, like,
เลนกลางได้เรื่อยๆ มันเล่นแบบเจอใครก็ได้
it's
ก็ต้อง
all
ค่อย
about
ๆ ปรับให้มัน
Diablo,
แบบ
play through the
ไม่เก่ง
wing bot
ถึง
lane,
ขั้นนั้น อันนี้
pick
คือ
the
แบบเป็น
hyper
การ
carry
บา
for
ลานซ์
Diablo and let
แต่อย่าง
him play his game.
แอนนิ
But
เวีย
now
อย่างเงี้ย
they're trying to like
มัน
pick some more
มัน
players,
ท็อป
pick
เลน
something
กลาง
like Jhin
ล่าง
or Senna,
มันไม่ควรมี
something
อะไร
that
เลน
you
ล่าง
cannot actually do something more in the late game. So I feel like
เหมือนอารมณ์แบบ
they're trying
ไลออด
out
คง
some
ฉุนอะ
new
ถ้าเอท็อปเป็นจัง
playstyle
เกิล
to
ท็อปแล้วก็ล่าง
expand
ได้
their champion pool and the
เออ
draft
มันจะเป็นแบบ
strategy,
ว่า
but
ภาพแบบ
it doesn't
ไม่โอเค
feel
ละ
like it's working on them. So
ต้อง
I feel
เนิร์ฟ
like
ของอะไร
they
ทำให้
have
เอ
to
ท็อป
like
แบบ
go
เล่นเลน
back
ล่าง
to
ได้อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
the one that they were already good on, or like
อย่า
are
ง
they
กร
gonna
ณี
keep
นี้ก็อาจจะ
trying
ต้อง
this?
เนิร์ฟ
But
ถ้าเนิร์ฟ
it's,
ของอย่าง
you know,
ไอ
like
ตัว
it's gonna be
Lord of
zero
Age
too weak if you
อาจ
cannot
จะไม่เห
win
มาะสม
out
เท่าไหร่
there.
อาจจะ
Yeah,
เนิร์ฟ
I
เป็
mean,
น
I think it's really rough position to be in,
ฆ่าสตัน
given that I mean both these teams lost to G2 at first stand, lost their first series, but now for being
เคสเต้นนี่บาลานซ์ไหมครับตอนนี้ ถ้ามัน
this next game,
ถ้าวินเลจ
it
มัน
just
ไม่ได้
feels
เยอะ
like that
บา
blue
ลานซ์ค
streak
รับ
is just gonna go on. You end the week
คือ
looking
ไล
at
ออ
next
ด
week like we have
พี่
to
คิดว่า
find a
เขา
way
ชอบ
to
ให้
turn this
ตัวมั
around.
น
But obviously
เฉ
the
พาะ
ideal
ทาง
is to turn
แบ
the
บ
series around
โอ
right
เคถ้า
now.
เคสเต้มาเล่นใน
You know,
คอม
we've
ที่
said
มัน
a
เจอ
lot
แบ
of
บ
the
นี้
time when a team goes to
มัน
international event
มันโอเค
and
มัน
comes back
เขาโอ
to
เคอะไรเงี้ย
domestic leagues, they
แบบ
have
สู้ได้
the
อะไรเงี้ย
international hangover.
ชนะ
One of these teams will have
แต่
that.
ถ้าเกิดมันไป
Right
เล่นใน
now,
คอม
being
ที่แบบ
KFX staring down the barrel of an 0-2
ถ้าไปเล่นใน
start.
คอม
Let's send
แบบ
it
ว่า
back on
ที่มัน
over to Atlas and Wolf on the call.
แบบ
Thank you very much, gentlemen,
ได้
for
ทุก
that
คอม
breakdown of
เจอ
game
ใคร
number
ได้
one.
หมด
Absolutely
ไม่
love
แพ้
the
เลยอันเนี้ยโดนเนิร์ฟ
graphic. That first, I don't know
เหมื
why
อน
the
ช่วงนี้
second
มันโดน
was
เนิร์ฟ
even
เจอ
made.
ยับอะ
It's a proof and it's a testament to how much of an impact storyboarding can actually make in your life. You know, if you're trying to make a YouTube video, you're trying to create, even if you're trying to write that witty tweet,
ยาสูบก็เล่นได้
you
ทุก
know,
เลน
it
นะพี่
always starts small. And Wadid was showcasing that if you have
ยาสูบนี่เป็นตัวที่
really technical
จะเนิร์ฟก็ไม่
idea
ได้
like
นะ
what he had there,
บัฟก็ไม่ดี
you can turn it into an amazing graphic if you really just put your mind to it.
ถ้า
You
เนิร์ฟ
just
ไม่มี
gotta
คนเล่น
make
นี่
the
ยุ่ง
concept.
เลยนะ
And I think
เป็น
maybe
ตัวยอด
BNK
ฮิต
weren't storyboarding.
ส่วนถ้าเกิด
With
บั
that
ฟก็
Nautilus pick, they just kind of
ให้
winged
มาอยู่ใน
it.
แข่ง
I'm
ก็ไม่ได้
hoping
อีก
that Edo is back there with a tablet out, scribbling things down, saying like it's just a picture of Summoner's Rift saying, we have to kill this thing at the other end, guys. Figure out a way to do it, and maybe the first step is putting Diablo on a champion that's real. Maybe that's going to be a good move. As here we go, he's not going to be playing center this time around, and maybe
แต่
we're
ว่า
going to
เวลา
have a
นับ
different
ตัว
result.
แบบ
But
เลด
first,
เกมไปเล่นกับ
they're
เจ
going
น
to
จี
have to
มั
get
น
through a GenG that do definitely
จะ
look
เหนื่อย
like they
หน่อย
are back on the right page age in this particular series at least.
Definitely. Mentioning the international hangover, perhaps GenG just have a little bit more experience.
Yeah, they're just older. Maybe it's just, you know, the liver's a little bit more practiced.
อะไรมาแล้วเหรอ
Like that.
เหมือนอินโทรเวิร์ดคนนึง
Okay, this makes sense because it's Chovy and he has definitely been the player that's looked towards the Aurora more than anyone else right now.
Not to mention Keen, pretty good at it too.
ตัวผมเองผมว่าเส้นแบ่งมันหนามาก
Karma's gone, the Nocturne is gone, obviously the
หนาเลยจริงๆครับ
so
คือ
maybe span Ash
เวลาผมคุยกับใครในชีวิตจริงมันค่อนข้างผมประมาทนะอย่างคุยกับพี่ปั๊มผมค่อนข้างประมาทเหมือนกันเลย
เพราะว่านี่ก็จะเหมือนแบบก็จะผสมระหว่างแบบตัวจริงแล้วมาใส่หน้ากากด้วยป่ะ
โดนนิดนึงแต่ผมว่าตอนนี้ที่ผมคุยกับพี่ปั๊มเนี่ยผมน่าจะเป็นตัวเอกค่อนข้างเยอะตอนนี้เลย
ขอบคุณมากครับ
Azir is somewhat protected
ผมว่าถ้าผมไม่ได้เป็นฮาร์ดล็อกเกอร์นะผมน่าจะพูดภาษาไทยไม่น่าได้พูดไปก็พูดไม่รู้เรื่องอะไรเงี้ยเพราะว่าคือเอาจริงวันหนึ่งปกติผมคุยน้อยมากครับคือแบบวันหนึ่งเนี่ยมันมีบางวันเหมือนกันนะที่แบบทั้งวันไม่ได้เอ่ยปากพูดแบบสักคำหนึ่งเลยนะแบบคำหนึ่งก็ไม่พูดจนกระทั่งสตรีมหรือว่าอัดคลิปถึงเริ่มพูดก็มีแบบนั้นเลยครับ
You want to write Ash down. Oh, I think if you go Ash here, Chovy can play so many picks into Vicla's Azir.
ไม่เนี่ยนะผมรู้ว่าพี่ดูตัวเองอยู่ what
for perma bottom side control.
พี่เอกครั้งแรกต่ออยู่เท่าไหร่
Oh, Rumble is up.
Oh my god. All right, sorry. I apologize to everyone.
เด็กมากอ่ะ
I apologize to
เด็กมาก
everyone.
เหรอ
I just it's
ไม่รู้แต่พี่
always
ชายพี่
been
แนะ
that
น
wasn't in my mind.
ำว่าแบบเฮ้ย
I'm gonna write that one
ดู
down
พี่เอกเลย
instead. This is the first time it's got through. It took until what could be the last game in the last series of the week, and Rumble finally gets through, and it's Keen. If anyone's allowed to play Rumble, it should not be Keen.
Honestly though,
ลัมโบนี่เวนสู้ไม่ได้นะครับบางคนจะแบบเฮ้ยอย่างนี้เวนไปยิงใส่ลัมโบมึงลัมโบเคาน์เตอร์พิกเวน
Surround sounds pretty good into the equalizer.
Yeah, it's pretty
เวนสู้ยาก
solid.
มากแม่ง
The movement speed, obviously shielding is going to be pretty useful, and you don't have to lock the Ash right away. You can go for the Seraphine and grab a jungler frontline that can extend your encore really well. In the past, we saw a lot of Mundo, but right now it's looking more Xinjiao favored.
Yep, I like this in.
Rumble has always been strong.
And it's Canyon. He's pretty good at the buy. I wonder whether they do... Oh, never mind. It's going to be a Caitlyn pick away instead.
Caitlyn into the Seraphine.
Caitlyn Bud.
This is a big statement lock-in here for Ruler and Duro. It's not unwinnable, but
I think it's going to be a hard lane.
Yeah. For a brief moment, I was like, did they go Caitlyn Ash like the old T1 days? But no.
Not this time.
Ash support has been nerfed to the ground, so... Ezreal?
Ezreal is not Ash.
No.
But
ทำไมไม่เป็น Ash นะแล้วมันจะคอมโบกันอย่างไรนะ
I guess so.
โอ้โห Ash ไม่ได้
Lane is as challenging anymore for
Seraphine Ezreal
I feel like it's been the third pick for B&K Fearex that has been a problem. It was the Nautilus last time. And now it is an Ezreal instead of an Ashe. And I mean, I understand why you don't want to be playing Ashe just because
แต่พี่อายุเยอะกว่าพี่เอกใช่จะบอกว่าเด็กแต่ก็นานอยู่นะพี่เอกอะดูพี่เอกนานอยู่นะ
I still think that you don't have as much value as the Ashe Seraphine lane. There's still follow like True Shot Barrage can still have a lot more value than it otherwise would with the amount of lockdown that you get from the Encore beat drop and things like that, but it's just not the same thing. As Wukong going to be taken off.
Wukong has a really good ban here. There's no Nocturne, which is also
Annie,
really well with Rumble. And I don't think Trundle works very well here into Seraphine, just because he kind of just runs at you. He has a pillar. Closing the gap is really challenging when Seraphine can just make sure that you can't get anywhere close to anybody. So I don't think they're as worried about that pick, which has been one of those later in Fearless answers to the Xinjiao. And they also banned Ornn, so I think they're not really that interested. Vi was still up, so that makes a lot of sense. Now Cannon's pool is thinned out a little bit.
But now do they get to ban Ornn and Cassante? Do they ban Ornn Galio instead? You could do that. Galio Xin Zhao is actually a decent combo.
Yeah, I do think that's actually a really good shout from you. I don't think he'll be playing it
ปล่อย
top
ลัมโบ
lane
เพราะว่าจะ
either,
เล่น
but
เคซันเต้ไปสู้
could be a smart one, could empower Diablo
ต้องแบนเค
further,
ซันเต้
and
มั้ง
is
ไม่
a
ต้อง
great
เคลียร์
setup
ซัน
for
เต้
the
นะ
Encore.
I I do think that Clear would prefer to play Cassante. I feel like that'd be his thing, but instead the Akali going to be
ขณะ
taken
ที่ผม
away.
พูดเนี่ยคือ
Kind of
นักพากย์ก็พูดเหมือน
reminding
กัน
everyone that Azir is still on the table.
Yep.
เคลียร์ชอบอยู่แล้วอะ
And
เคลียร์
now
ซันเต้
Vikla probably more likely to play it, but instead the Cassante will be locked in.
He really
มา
wants
เจอ
that counter pick here.
Oh my god แล้วก็ปล่อยให้
Cassante
เขา
is
เล่นด้วย
great
นะ
with Seraphine. He's already so difficult to kill, and is again going to be another one of those setup picks for the Encore. Still would have loved Ashe here more. You know, when the top was coming together, I'm like, man, Ashe would have been so good here.
เคทลินกลับมาเพราะอีสโคปนรกเลยบอกให้
However, it's not here.
Skarner.
Okay. We have seen a little bit of Skarner elsewhere.
I think Skarner's pretty hard into Seraphine, but he's got enough mobility to maybe make it work. I was actually kind of thinking about Kindred in this draft, but I suppose Graves is a similar idea.
ต้องเป็นคินเด็ดกับเกรฟอะไรอย่าง
You
เงี้ย
have a lot of magic damage. You
เขา
want
ต้อ
some
งการแบบ
extra upfront
เคดี
damage.
ว่าเราเป็นแทง
Well, he's just going to launch the Skarner.
These two champs couldn't be more different in terms of what they're doing for the draft.
Yep. I believe Skarner was played in the LCS earlier today. I could be wrong. I think
จริ
very
งๆโอลาฟ
early
กั
in
ง
the
เกิลดี
morning.
นะ แต่ว่า
You're right. I think that was
ถ้ามันมีบาท
in fact
ไม่ค่อยดี
true.
เท่าไหร่ละ
And it went pretty well.
I didn't see the game, but I think I saw a tweet about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mel going to be the consideration here for Vikla though.
แต่มันเป็นโอลาฟไม่ได้ด้วย
Certainly
มัน
a
เป็น
few
เฉา
things
เนี่
that
ย
you can rebut. See how it is
เหมือน
going to
เหมือน
go.
แผ่น FX น้อย
GenG's
จริงว่ะ
composition is looking pretty scary.
เหมือนแผ่นน้อยจริงว่ะ
Rebuttal, I think they're just kind of concerned with the fact that this Ezreal's damage output is a little bit conditional, and there's a lot of front line to block the Ezreal damage in this Skarner now.
มันบัฟมาใช่ครับ
And he's
มัน
outranged
บัฟ
in
มา
terms
เย
of
อะครับ
auto-attacks
คือ
by the
บัฟ
Caitlyn.
แล้วบัฟจนกว่าจะมีคนเล่นครับ
So it's really
อะไรที่
tough.
สร้าง
You
มาแล้ว
wanted
ไม่มีคน
extra
ใช้
source of damage,
แล้ว
and
จะบัฟอยู่นั้น
Mel to me has kind of
จน
been
กว่า
the
จะแบบ
victor
มีคนเล่นแล้วก็
replacement
จะเริ่ม
right now
เนิ
in
ร์ฟ
this meta for just late game consistent damage. The execute
ช่วง
is
แรกไม่
really
มีใครซื้อเลยกับ
powerful.
สโคป
Does damage across
แม้
the
แต่
team
แบบ
if you can apply
ชิ้นที่
all of
สุด
your
ชิ้นสุด
skills.
ท้ายแม่งก็เป็น
And
GA
she does ramp up to a 3-item spike really
เขาก็เลย
nicely.
บัฟแม่งแบบสุดฤทธิ์สุ
And
ด
they
เด
have
ช
a front line to support it, right? With the Xinjiao and the
เพิ่ม
Cassante,
ดา
not to
เม
mention
จ
the
เพิ่ม
Seraphine
แบ
will
บ
help out quite a bit.
ไอตัว
I just kind of look at
ตัว
what
คูณดา
GenG
เม
have,
จ
and I'm like, man, that
ลด
tempered
รา
fate
คา
impale sounds really rough.
Yeah, that's
I
going to
love
get
it
some
when
flashes.
Trigar makes it back in. The scary thing for this Skarner is that if he just gets rooted when he's trying to
หรือว่า
do
ราคามัน 2,800 อยู่แล้ว
anything,
อะ
then he doesn't do it.
อื
He
ม
just
เขาบัฟ
kind
อ
of
ย่าง
gets
อื่นมา
stopped
เพิ่มดา
and
เมจ
he
แล้วก็
can't
เพิ่มดูเร
keep
ชั่น
going. So that's
Yeah, I mean,
ตัว
it's pretty good in the
Arcane M
Skarner. That is a good point. But I do think that this is a pretty robust team composition. There are, like, it is the triple threat composition with the Azir. It's not what we kind of have grown to hate, which is, you know, top lane not really doing too much and then relying on Azir for a lot of the damage in team fights. It's going to be a different story here. GenG looking pretty comfortable, and FearX, they're going to have to prove us wrong with this Ezreal Seraphine.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2 and possibly the final game of the week. Let's see whether FearX can bring us at least to a third. That would be a whole lot of fun.
I hope so. I think the draft is creative. The Ashe, you know, we'll think about it next time.
Yeah, we'll just pretend that it was fearlessly banned, and that'll make us feel less weird.
The Skarner pick here for Canyon is, I talked about how it can get rooted. It's kind of hard to root him if you don't know which direction he's coming from because he can go through walls and his engage range is really quite high. So maybe it doesn't matter. We'll have to wait and see. You know, Peanut's gone, so somebody's got to pick up the slack and play Skarner when it's off meta.
Yep. And I mean, Canyon was playing this a lot in a lot of the compositions that we really didn't like from GenG.
เคลินจะไปโป๊กใส่รูเลอร์เจอดูโลอิลิโตคิวเข้าไปแล้วหน้าสั่น
This time around, at least,
พยายาม
King's
ใส่
on Rumble,
รู
he's
เลอ
on
ร์
his
ไม่หยุ
money
ด
printer, and is
รูเลอร์พยายาม
very,
ตี
very
ดูด
happy
เลือด
about
คื
the
น
situation. Although right now we can see he's getting shoved in momentarily, and here's a bit of a fight towards the bottom side. Ruler getting the better end of it, as we can see.
Ruler's kind of chilling here. He's like, if you guys want to force it.
That was an arcane shift as Diablo.
Oh.
A lot of damage. Barrier comes in. Peacemaker not exactly doing that much as Ruler throws down a barrier of his own. There is a lot being thrown around. Both heals and barriers have now been removed, but there are flashes still up.
Diablo's easy to come back up, so I don't think
เวฟ
Ruler
นี้เสร็จ
can
ต้อง
flash
กลับ
on
บ้าน
him
แล้ว
here,
นะถ้าเกิด
but he
เป็นไปได้
definitely thought about it. And the observers are making sure that doesn't happen as Raptor is going to come down here, but Canyon is already on the bottom side.
Yeah, Canyon with decent defensive vision here as well, as he does pull his Bramble back away. As you can see, though, certainly respecting the Xin Zhao, who just comes on over and steals away his stuff.
Really nice wind becomes lightning timing there to get those minis.
Yep. Well, looks like Raptor is just going to move down towards the bottom lane. Yeah, GenG realize it.
Just going to be him coming over here and keeping Ruler and Duro honest, and Canyon cannot fight.
แต่ว่าทำไมถึงไปแย่งว่าไม่มีทำไม Raptor
advantage, but it's going to lose patience and will be leaving the area.
Raptor has been
คือพยายาม
so
ยื้อให้
good
แคนยอนมาแกงล่างไม่ได้
in early games. Like this is his patented thing. He's kind of like disregard where he knows where the pressure points are. He knows how to exploit them. Now he's coming on to Chovy.
Yeah, Chovy doesn't get hit by the snare, so he's going to be all right. As Canyon will be able to take his red buff.
And we mentioned he likes to play this.
He's quite good at the Skarner. Raptor going to be over on his bottom lane Scuttle Crab though, and that will be equalized here by Canyon in a few moments. Still, it is a decent play from Raptor to make sure that he had full information as to what Canyon was doing, as Kane just netting himself a bit of extra gold.
Every non
เขาเลิกเล่นเทพเจ้าซาเฮนกันแล้วเหรอครับซาเฮนตอนนี้ถ้าเกิดเลือกมาบายพิกนะมึงโดนอีเวนนรกยิงไส้ระเบิดบอกเลยว่าเป็นตัวที่ซาเฮนเป็นตัวที่เก่งมากแต่เจอเวนนี่คือแบบซึมเศร้าเลยเว้ยไส้ทะลักเคซันเต้ยังเลนดีกว่าซาเฮนนี่คือเข้ามาเทรดใส่ไม่ได้เลยแล้วโดนยิงแล้วพอจะตีเพื่อเอาสแต็กแม่งก็หมุนตัววินวอล์กแล้วซาเฮนเป็นตัวที่ต้องใช้เงินพอมันไม่มีเงินปุ๊บมันมีของน้อยมันโดนยิงไส้แตกเลยมันเลยทำให้เวนกลับมาได้แหละครับเพราะว่ามันมีช่วงนึงอ่ะคนก็หาวิธีสู้ซาเฮนนี่แหละสู้ยังไงดีวะเอาอะไรไปสู้ดีวะเอาท็อปเอาอะไรไปสู้ใช่ป่ะตอนหลังแม่งเจอแบบพอมันในแรงมันเริ่มแบบในแรงมันจะมีก็มันก็จะมีค่าสถิติใช่ป่ะมันก็จะเริ่มเห็นว่าตัวไหนสู้ซาเฮนได้และแม่งคือตัวที่สู้ซาเฮนดีที่สุดก็เป็นเวนและเวนก็เลยกลับมาคนก็เลยหาวิธีเล่นเวนท็อปไปเจอซาเฮนได้ LP ฟรีใครเลือกซาเฮนมาเจอเวนก็เสีย LP เลยโอกาสเสีย LP จะเยอะกว่าเหนื่อยไหนซาเฮนนั้นยังต้องเจอกับวาลัสอีกที่แม่งเฟลกมา
Right now, you can see Diablo very healthy. That is always scary. He's ready to arcane shift forward, and Canyon is there to catch him if he does decide to do so.
แอนิเวททำไมเล่นเยอะขึ้นครับพี่เอาจริงตอนนี้ไอตัวแอนิเวทนี้พี่ยังไม่ได้ไปวิจัยว่าแบบมันเกิดจากอะไรนะแต่ว่าเท่าที่ดูจากแบบเอามาเป็นซัพพอร์ตอะมันเป็นเมจคอนโทรลที่แบบที่ดีมากๆเลยแล้วก็ไอท่าสตันนะก็มีประโยชน์มากกำแพงกับสตันนะโคตรประโยชน์พอเลยว่าผมก็แบบก็มีอันติที่ดีแถมมันกันน็อตได้ตันซีเวอร์ยังได้เลย มันเป็นตัวที่โซนเก่ง
He's just going to throw some things at him, as that will be the Drake secured by FearX.
For those LCK Cup Finals enjoyers,
แล้วเขาบอกว่ามันเริ่มจากมีทีมจีนเล่นแล้วเขาก็ไปจดเมตามาแล้วมันก็กลายเป็นว่าแบบเอามาเล่นด้วยซึ่งไอ้พวกแบบอะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็ส่วนใหญ่เริ่มจากจีนเนาะอย่างเจสแทงเงี้ยทำไมเจสถึงแทงก็เริ่มจากจีนมาก่อนอะไรเงี้ยแล้วเกาหลีก็แบบเรียนรู้มาแล้วก็แบบกลายเป็นเมตากลายเป็นแบบเฮ้ยท็อปเลนต้องเล่นเจสแทงแต่เมตาพวกนี้มันไม่อาจจะไม่ได้อยู่นานครับไม่ต้องแบบว่าคือเล่นตามจังหวะได้แต่ว่าไม่จำเป็นต้องแบบว่าฝึกเพื่อแบบเฮ้ยจะได้แบบเป็นเพราะเดี๋ยวพี่ว่าน่าจะโดนเนิร์ฟไอแอนิเวียมันเป็นแบบเมตาแบบชั่วครั้งชั่วคราว
That is a good point.
And Chovy is just
ส่วนเชนซับนี่เลแฮนเล่นมาตั้งแต่ไหนแต่ไรแล้วแต่ไม่ค่อยมีคนเล่นเพราะว่ามัน
And Vikla, if he hits that, maybe there's an angle because Kellen's nearby, but
อันติมันคูลดาวน์นานโคตร
evens up the CS.
Yep, and Impale now online here for Canyon.
พอถึงช็อตคือมันต้องเลนข้างต้องเป็นคนแบบต้องเป็นคนที่แบบว่า
building towards that rook and once again one of the reasons
คือมันต้องเป็นท็อปเลนหรือเป็นเลนกลางที่มันแบบเล่นตัวพวกแบบว่าไซเลนเชนมันจะเก่งเว้ยเรานึกภาพว่าแบบมันเป็นพวกแบบแจ็คหรือเป็นพวกแบบตัวที่แม่งแบบว่าเล่นไซเลนเก่งอย่างเวอะไรเงี้ยแล้วแบบมีเชนเป็นซัพพอร์ตอยู่มันก็จะแบบมีคนอันติมาช่วยได้มีคนมาช่วยได้อย่างเงี้ยมันเก่งมาก
who has obviously 50 coal stacks of extra gold in his inventory as well. So, you know, they're going to again get ganked here.
Hang on. Canyon making his way in, gets the flash into the wall. There's the impale. The encore comes in, but I think they're very happy to play that song again. Not gonna lie to you. That is going to be first blood going over to GenG. Clear, walking on the equalizer, isn't too worried about it. Does have the all out still available as we have a look at this fight continuing.
เมตาปัจจุบันมันเป็นแบบเฟรนอยู่แล้วครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยมันก็ต้องมีจุดมีของขายของตัวเองอะไรอย่างเงี้ยหน่อยอย่างเคเลียก็จะมีบาทอะไรอย่างเงี้ยถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าแบบ
just unable to react. And
ก็คือ
I think what they didn't account for was
ในเกม
the
ที่
magical journey because you think about Skarner as okay if he's going to come from this far away we're going to see him coming he's going to come through the wall but he magical journeyed into a flash
ดับมันจะเปิดกว้างมากขึ้นหลังจากเป็นเฟรน
the flash smash impale it's just really difficult to do anything to it.
And there's control vision, right, in that tri-brush. So the ability for Canyon to engage from that far away is pretty insane. And they just did not respect that possibility as Canyon's got his safety harness on now as well. So even more difficult to kill. That item kind of coming back a little bit. It was really strong at the beginning of the year, and everyone was talking about it. Then it took a bit of a dip with the nerf, and now
it's still mega efficient. Yeah. Just good stats for not very much money.
แต่ถ้าเป็นอย่างนั้นจริงอ่ะพี่ว่าแม่งเพิ่มอัตราลดและเพิ่มมิติในการเล่นโมบ้าแบบจะไม่มีใครเทียบเทียงได้เลยนะเว้ยเหมือนอารมณ์แบบวาโลแรนต์น่ะมีแมปแบบไม่เหมือนกันอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วเฟรเลตดาร์ฟแล้วมีการแบนแมปเลือกแมปอะไรเงี้ยมันจะยิ่งสนุกเข้าไปอีกอ่ะแต่นักแข่งก็คือแบบมึงกูจะทำไงดีวะเนี่ยจะแข่งยังไงต่อดี
The zoning is going to be a big deal though. That is good to do. I just don't know exactly how much they're going to lose elsewhere on the map.
Canyon
making his way down.
Yeah, exactly right. He's like, I'm not going to leave my bottom lane out to dry. It'll take me a little while, but I will show up.
แล้วก็ไม่ใช่แค่นักแข่งหัวแตกด้วยคือแบบมันจะกลายเป็นว่าคนทำเมตาคนทำแบบบาลานซ์คือแบบมึงน่าจะแบบบ้าไปเลยน่าต้องมีทีมงานเป็น2-3 เท่า
There's a magical journey as Canyon moves up towards taking down this control ward and Kellen will live for now. As in the meantime, Raptor is dealing with this Scuttle Crab. Should be the one to take that one down as the boulder toss not quite enough to get there.
This is going to get a little bit scrappy here. Duro doesn't have ult, but he's somewhat nearby. And Azir just TP'd back in. Chovy is going to push Vikla back. And I think eventually GenG will relinquish this position, but it looked like they wanted to force something knowing Kellen wasn't here. Speaking of...
Yeah, great cosmic binding there from Duro, but he still heals to get out of the way of Raptor, who is very scary. Walking over towards the Raptors. Will not be able to take them away from Canyon this time.
A very slow start to this game.
เล่นกับตัวที่เอา
gank
Cosmic
from
Insight
Canyon
มาโคตร
onto
ดี
Diablo, but otherwise it has been pretty even. Diablo's been pushing this lane in, trying to get advantages. Has 2 plates to his name because of Canyon taking the grubs right. Raptor kind of
แค่เปลี่ยนอะไรสักอย่างไหมพี่ไม่ต้องถึงขั้นเปลี่ยนแมปเปลี่ยนน้ำเปลี่ยนทรายอะไรอย่างเงี้ยอันนี้ไม่รู้เลยว่าอันนี้มัน
Yeah, Canyon moving on in. This time probably not going to be giving this one away. As the rock lands and Duro doesn't have his tempered fate available, but that cosmic binding is still very scary. And Vikla needs to hit a few of these buttons. They want to make something happen. Ruler is now pushing Diablo out of the way.
น่าจะเป็นอะไรที่พวกเราน่าจะตื่นตา
ใหญ่
เยอะตรงนี้
The encore's fantastic as the Crescent Guard pushes Ruler to the grave.
แคนยอนคุณไม่ได้จับหรอแคนยอนมีโปรโตบาตายไม่ได้ยิวแล้วโชวี่ดันมีควอลเลเซอร์มาแบบไม่โดนใครเลยแต่โชวี่รอดว่ะสวยมันมั่วๆหน่อยๆอ่ะเมื่อกี้แต่ตีบาสโคตรแบบว่าใจกล้าเลยว่ะเมื่อกี้เด็กแม่งกล้าเล่นนะสิ่งนี้ทำให้เฟเอ็กซ์มันดูสนุกก็คือมันกล้าเล่นอะไรแบบนี้ดูมันเพลงนี่แม่งตีมาแบบคนเดียวกูก็เอาอ่ะ คือวิกล่าไม่ได้อยากมามั้งครับตรงนั้นคือวิกล่าอยากมาแต่ว่าเดินตำแหน่งไม่ดีแม่งต้องแฟดข้ามมา
No way to kill that one. As low as Raptor goes here with the equalizer coming through, he's still able to help secure this dragon. Chovy has to flash.
สะดุ้งเมื่อกี้โชวี่โชว์แบบโชว์สะดุ้งโชว์
He's not really going to be feeling good about the end of this fight either, and it's a two-drake.
ไม่งั้นถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าเตรียมตัวดีคือน่าจะแบบเข้าไปเอเวอร์ดีวายแล้วแต่เมื่อกี้คือแบบสะดุ้ง
Gold was given in that fight as well, and now we're dead even.
And also for a composition like this,
ควรจะจับได้ตั้งแต่จังหวะแรกนะจับไม่ได้ข้อเสียของโพสต์พาสคือมันได้เลือดทันทีแล้วมันก็จะรีเจนแต่ว่าไอ้รีเจนเนี่ยถ้าแม่งโดนตัดฮิวหรือว่าแบบตายก่อนที่จะได้รีเจนมันก็เป็นภาพแบบแกมันกำลังทำงานแต่แบบรีเจนไม่ทันตายแล้วก็มันต้องการอาร์เมอร์เลยครับมันต้องการสแต็กอาร์เมอร์ก่อนพี่ก็เลยคิดว่าสการเนอร์จริงๆแล้วน่าเป็นฮาร์ดสติลชิ้นแรกแต่ฮาร์ดสติลจริงๆมันควรเล่นกับโพสต์พาสได้ไหมแต่ว่ามันก็ไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่
So, you know, it's not all for nothing. Certainly not. And this is one of the first games we've seen in a while where Ruler actually finds himself in a deficit here because
อันนี้ก็เป็นเหมือนกึ่งฮาร์ดสติลก็ได้เพราะว่าจริงๆแล้วสเตตมันคือให้เลือดโคตรเยอะเลย
Diablo is going to get far more relevance because right when Caitlyn gets not as strong, the Ezreal gets extraordinarily strong. And maybe that's actually a reason why they went for the Ezreal, just so that they'll have that incredible mid-game timing for Diablo to be really strong. It's actually a decent way to play around it. Get yourself a good lead.
เล่นไก่เจอเมลแล้วแบบว่าฟาร์มได้เรื่อยๆว่ามันสบายแล้ว
Certainly work out, and they've got through the laning phase pretty fine.
I like the build here from Vikla as well, going for Ludens because with how this comp can work, obviously there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of damage that's going to come through from him. Late game wise, they've been feel good, but also they're kind of playing like a pick comp with Kellen right now. And punishing the Skarner or anybody else they can find, that extra damage is really going to feel great as Chovy, no flash, is just going to get out of here.
Yeah, to shift the sands, Raptor is pretty scary on this Xin Zhao has full boots as well as his first item complete. Sundered Sky feels fantastic. Certainly a lot more expensive than what Canyon has put together thus far.
Canyon's a real setup threat, but Raptor's just the first threat. He will kill almost anyone.
ไม่ลังเลที่จะสู้เหมือนทีมจีนเอาง่าย
with an enchanter as well, so even later on in the game he's going to be very powerful.
Absolutely. Echo's already
ที่
done
ปี
here for Kellen in
2024 คอกี้ทิซาน่าทุกเกมเคซันเต้
It's a close game, man.
คอกี้เคซันเต้
After watching game one,
ทิซา
you
น่า
can really feel how a pitiful draft is going to fare against GenG versus what a more robust draft is. Again, no Ash here, which left us a little bit sad, but still, B&K keeping this game interesting.
Ooh, Raptor and Vikla moving up. Chovy, realizing that he was in a little bit of danger, should be able to take some Sand Soldiers to get himself out of there, and that is going to be successful for now. GenG moving over towards this Rift Herald at the moment, but they're closing in. Kellen and Diablo moving in from the mid lane.
Chovy's dodging everything this game.
He's certainly wanting to win. I think getting a 2-0 would be so important here for GenG to get back onto the right foot. But Furex right now with control of Shelly. Equalizer goes down onto Kellen mainly, and they have split up the team. Crescent Guard comes in as Chovy looks for a bit of an angle, but Emperor's Divide still up and available. There's the crash into the wall under the Cassante, and Clear is likely to be going down. Still, they managed to get the Rift Herald, and Keen is trying to do what he can to get even more. Down goes Raptor. And the Rift Herald was actually put down in the middle of the pit.
I think he was hoping to use it to get out, but he unfortunately was unable to do so.
Huh.
Like
that looked weird.
He I think he tried to flash, drop Herald, and then take the Herald out.
Aha, that would have been cute.
But it did not work. This placement of the Equalizer isn't maximizing damage, but it keeps Kellen away from setting up an
actual zoning Equalizer wolf?
Actually really cool, and Kellen can't get in and be relevant here. Raptor picks up the eye, and as Clear buys time here, Raptor flashes, and then tries to drop the Herald to get out, but he just dies so quickly to the Rumble. Can't really
จะปล่อยลิฟต์ทำไมวะในเมื่อแบบเดินออกมาแล้วก็แฟดขึ้นก็ได้
I was half expecting Shelly to drop another eye.
คือจะใช้สูตรแบบชนะไฟอ่ะเพราะเซเลฟินจะไม่น่าติดไง
much of anything at all. As Vikla is in a really awkward spot, he's going to get impaled and pushed southward. That's a decent rebuttal there to get him to safety as Raptor's going in, but Chovy is in the vicinity. Vikla is certainly killable, has to be so careful here. The rest of Furex are grouped up, and they have Kellen. with all of that support available.
สู้กันแบบบ้าคลั่งจริงชวียังไม่ค่อยมีของ
A
ไง
little bit live on the footwork. We're able to avoid a lot of it.
If he could TP back in, he could be relevant in this fight, but the margins are just too thin. They're already on the dragon.
Still, there's a lot of vision here for FearX.
Oh, he's denied.
โอ้ยวิกล่าโดนอีควอไลเซอร์คิน
That's no equalizer though.
Yeah.
Oh my god ช่วงนี้ต้องรีบแล้วไม่ได้ว่ะโดนเคลือบอีกต่างหากแรปเตอร์ตายไปแล้วแรปเตอร์ตี
There is the Crescent Guard to try and keep him alive, but it is not going to work. As Canyon just smashes him against the wall, Chovy gets a flash with his Emperor's Divide, and GenG looking like they're starting to do no wrong.
2 รอบแล้วที่ตัดแบบเคเลนออกตัดเดียโบตัดวิกล่ารอบนี้
Imagine if they had a Rift Herald
ใช้
right
อีควอไล
here
เซอ
as
ร์แบบ
well,
ไม่
but
ต้อง
they
ฆ่าก็
used
ได้
it
ขอ
to
แค่
try
แบ
to
บโซนให้
escape.
เขาละ4-5
Raptor's dead anyway, so I suppose it wouldn't have it. But either way, GenG in such a phenomenal position in this game right now.
Yeah, Snare connect here onto Canyon, but he isn't too worried about it. Pretty tanky on this Skarner for now. And having a look down at the money, I mean, the money printer rumble is certainly working out here, making a lot of it from a bunch of extra kills, though, as we can see. 2-0-1 and has the largest lead in the game.
This block on Vicla's back is so huge, but then also Diablo just doesn't really have great targets to hit.
ช่วยเชียร์ GenG เหรอครับมีทีมสวยน่ารักจังแฟนทีวันบอกแล้วแฟนทีวันไม่เคยรอผมจะไปรอพี่ๆ GenG ได้ยังไงผมงงมากวันนั้นถามว่า GenG แพ้ดีใจไหมก็ตอบตรงๆว่าดีใจแต่ว่ามันคือดีใจแบบคือแบบมันอาจทำให้ทีวันเล่นง่ายขึ้นทีวันอาจจะมีสิทธิ์แบบว่าเป็นที่หนึ่งอะไรเงี้ยแต่พอทีวันแพ้มันก็คือแบบว่ากูก็ไม่มีลุ้นอะไรเลยแล้วอะมันก็จบแล้ว
But just completely denied.
And it's also a real gold lead now. 3,000 is quite a big deal. And the gold leads are there for absolutely everyone, of course. A pretty small one for
แล้วก็แบบการที่ได้เห็นแบบว่าทีวันแพ้เคทีแล้วGenGก็แพ้เคทีด้วยมันรู้สึกแบบเฮ้ยอย่างน้อยมันคือเคทีมันฟอร์มดีว่ะ
He is going to make his way in. Vicla taking half his health bar just from the equalizer, but Keen should be taken. Never mind, he's got an arm guard. They take down the Seraphine though, and Keen only delays the inevitable.
ยังไม่ตายเหรอโอ้ไม่ตายว่ะเฮ้ยโชวี่ไอ้ติดไอ้เชียร์แรปเตอร์ติดอะไรกันวะน่ะโอ้ย
Ruler trying to kite this one out as clear. Almost tags him with the Q.
โอ้ยล็อกขาโดน
And now Vicla with the damage. Should he be able to get that? The answer is
ช่วยหน่อย
no.
เคลียร์บอกโอ้ยเหี้ยกูช่วย
Clear is going to make
ไป
the
รับ
sacrifice.
กระสุนเคทลินแม่งโดนทหารจิ้มตูดตาย
As through with a magical journey, it was very, very weird. Vicla stays alive, but he's the only one that does so.
That might have been the backbreaker, but
oh my goodness.
Oh my
Diablo's
God.
a sicko, man. That was crazy. Ruler still stands firm and has a strong team around him and a frontlining Skarner, which does eventually go down, but Diablo, he really min-maxed that fight and had a lot of help, but that's the kind of moment
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรเป็นคนสุพรรณ
okay, this team definitely has some really high potential. Imagine if they weren't 3,000 gold behind. This fight from Keen wasn't really about it. The equalizer, pretty low value here, wants to try to set up Chovy, and he just dies straight up. And this is, of course, because of the passive here from Vicla proccing. He just gets burst down before he can do anything out of equalizer. And then Clear starts to split this fight up. And then watch Diablo here. He is just like, no, I don't think they get out. And he avoids Canyon here, does a ton of damage, and then decides I'm going in onto Ruler first down. And the heal comes through.
พี่ผ่านแล้ว
Ruler is able to stand his ground here. Then the block comes through as well from Clear. As Diablo then gets behind him, he still dies. Pretty impressive stuff though from the young AD carry. But they're just so far behind at this point, it is really hard to team fight. Do see the turret go down. Well, at least there's something.
Canyon was thinking about an opportunity here.
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรรูเลอร์โดนโอ้ยจับได้แต่ว่าไม่ไหว
Canyon picks them up and then puts them back down. Diablo is able to avoid the tempered fate as well. And with Duro and Canyon here, they're not offering damage. Just never mind. Duro is still going to flash in.
เสียงก็ยัง
not going to take that shifting sand, so that would be a dangerous one. And with no flash, it was not a guaranteed divide.
อันนี้มุกใหม่เลย
Didn't have teleport, so he wasn't able to
แชม
join
เปี้ยน
this
อะไร
clown fiesta.
จบหน้าตัดสิน
And frankly, he's probably like
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรจบหน้าตัดสิน ยากแน่นอน
This is a really good way to punish the fact that Ruler doesn't have flash, right?
Oh yeah.
And they Like I don't know
ไอ้
how
เชี่ย
else to
ลัมเบิลลุ
hard force, but it works. And then Duro comes over here trying to make something of this, but Diablo can't shift out. And Chovy, like you said, going in here would have been disastrous. GenG playing a little fast and loose, but BNK just really playing incredibly confidently despite the deficit.
ไม่เอาตัวในเกมนี้ด้วยว่ะแม่งไอ้นี่ว่ะมันดูจากตัวเว้ย
into this game. I'm not going to say that they do just yet, but a few more of these small advantages picked up by them, and
I tell you what. I'm starting to become a bit more of a believer in this Ezreal pick, though, because Diablo's doing a whole bunch of work in this game so far. It's not quite working as far as a victory is concerned just yet, but another Drake is up and available, another opportunity for Soul Point here for FearX. And Canyon not wanting to allow this to happen. Decent snare comes through for Vikler, and the longer these fights go, the more value the
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรต้องนั่งแต่ BTS
because they can just poke so hard.
Yeah, and there's the flash in from
เฮ้ยโชวี่ตายไปเนี่ยโชวี่มาจากไหนวะเคลียร์
Does not care about your walls. Still, Chovy gets himself to relative safety as a tiny little magical journey comes in the melt.
GenG รู้ละปั๊มตายปะไม่ตายโคตรโล
Just any hit from death, but will be able to stay alive at least for now. But he is not fighting anymore. And FearX just
เฮ้ยทำเป็นเล่นอันเนี้ยอะไรอ่ะ เงินนำของนำแบบมันทนสู้ไม่ได้วะลัมโบนมันไม่ได้เป็นแบบไอ้นี่ป่ะบัตรเลเตอร์ป่ะคือเคซันเต้แม่งเล่นดีสัตว์เพราะว่ามันคือเคลียร์ยังไงล่ะเคลียร์ซันเต้เล่นเคซันเต้ตัวเดียวจริงเว้ยมีช่วงหนึ่งอ่ะช่วงก่อนเฟรเดดาวมันเล่นแต่เคซันเต้อะคือไม่ว่าจะเกิดอะไรขึ้นเคซันเต้คือW กันเอเ e อร์ดีวายแบบสวยจัดช็อตที่โชวี่คือจบแล้วเอเ e อร์ดีวายพร้อมกับทุกอย่างมันจบสิ้นแล้วแต่ว่าตรงนี้เริ่มไม่ตายเว้ยเดียวเพราะว่าคิวไม่โดนเลยพร้อมยังมีใครตอบได้ปะฮีโร่อะไรขึ้นแต่ BTS
and Chovy was just kidnapped in that fight straight up.
ยากแน่นอนอันนี้ยากแน่นอน
This game, which is impressive. But he's struggling to make the impact that a 3-0, 3-0 would like to have in 5v5s.
Not to mention the fact that now they have that
ให้เฉลยบอกนะ
Soul Point.
ให้เฉลยพิมพ์หนึ่ง
The next fights, if they are going to be extended, like FearX have been looking toward, it's going to be even worse.
เฮ้ยยอมแล้วเหรอมันไม่ยอมง่ายจังเลยอะ
Coming on through
เฉลยก็คือคาซิกครับผม
item number 3 as well on this Ezreal. Obviously that means Ruler is also approaching more relevance in this game. But I think will require some armor penetration to really be able to put damage clear in this game.
2 items spike here for Kellen as well. That makes this cost so much stronger. It's part of the whole thing that they're trying to set up here with this Xinjiao.
รถเสียนะคาซิก
All right, Equalizer does get the
มันเช็ครถเสียป่ะวะ
tempered fate on the turret, but they decide not to
หรือว่าเมารถเหรอ
go any further. As the turret is just going to get taken down after it does come out of stasis.
Diablo took a lot of damage.
อะไรสักอย่างเกี่ยวกับรถเสียแบบว่าแบบอาการเฮ้ยชูวี่จับมา2ตัวแต่ว่ามัวแต่สนใจตัวชูวี่ดิขย้อนโอ้ยไม่ได้ว่ะ
Very weird engage choice here for GenG, fighting on multiple fronts.
The ENK are just running circles around GenG in team fights, and what was that? They end up getting the turret. There's only the fight for BNK kind of keeping them honest. As Chovy gets caught, has to flash, and then Canyon's looking for the re-engage on the other side, and they'll say thanks for the freebie.
Yeah, and if Chovy has to flash like that, you really can't be going in as Canyon looking for these impales because there just isn't enough damage with Ruler alone when that does happen. So a little bit awkward. Keen, I believe, didn't have the equalizer for that moment either, which makes it so hard as Diablo looking for Dura, doesn't find that last Mystic shot, is now Ruler able to keep them at arm's length, and Raptor looking for that cupcake. And it's not the one you really want to be eating right now, as the Cosmic Binding is good onto Clear, but he's pretty tanky, and so he should be able to get out of there even with the slow. If he does get out, Pathmaker is there, as GenG now able to walk up this river and look at getting some barrage.
Vikla has TP, he's got to be getting close to death cap. If he could maybe clear this wave, go back by and TP in. Challenging this would feel great, but not going to have enough time. They are very late to come over here and deny this Baron. I think they have wind of the idea, but they're so far away.
There's so much Baron damage, man. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's Leandri's Keen, and it's just gone.
Yeah, just gone. So much damage.
All right, well, it's highway robbery, but when you're in and out that quickly, I mean, you can't really blame him. Really nicely done by GenG.
ไม่แต่เพื่อนจะจีนน่าชนะไป
but GenG are going to feel
คือ
great
ต่อ
about
ให้มัน
this.
จะเคซันเต้มันจะหมด
so much
ทำเทม
sieging
โป
power
แล้ว
in this game, which has kind of been where they've been failing
โอ้
a
โห
little bit of setting up
คี
prio
น
and have
มัน
overextended
ออก
or
ไว
just
สตา
not
ร์
been able to
ว่า
get really relevant
โชวี่นี่เซ็งเลย
structural
เนี่ย
damage done. If you look at the inner turrets,
แต่อาจจะมองว่าโชวี่น่าจะแบบแบกไม่ได้แล้วกูแบกเองดีกว่า
down on the bottom lane.
อะไรอย่างงี้เหรอ
They haven't really been
โช
able to
วี่ก็
get
มีไว
past
สตาร์
the
แต่แบบถ้าเกิดมัน
outers
ออกแบบบัตร
on
เล
the
เตอร์
map.
มันจะเป็นอะไร
One
ที่
minute
แบบว่า
until
โช
this
วี่จะ
dragon
จิ้ม
spawns.
โคตร
I
ส
think
นุก
BNK may have to just simply give this up
ฮีโร่
unless
อะไรชอบอาร์ทอก
Turo gives them a bit of a donation here.
ชอบอาร์เธอร์เหรอ
And
I mean, you
see
could.
how they want to play it because they will take some time to push these waves out.
And also, if they do
Không mấy này.
challenge, it means that GenG won't be able to spend that
Thế là
time
mình
in
đổ
side
ta.
lanes to make use of this Baron, right? So in 50 seconds' time, if they can force GenG into the river, and then if FearX can continue fighting as well as they have been, then I think you're getting double victories
Toby
on
is
that part.
still down flash, and that is, you know, he's still
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรไม่กิน
That's the
สิ
scary
ง
thing with how BNK have been able to play this like a pick comp.
ว่า
Victor's
มัน
gonna get that death cap
น่า
for
ตอบกันได้เหรอ
TP,
เซ็ง
and
ว่ะ
they want to make a stand
ลูก
on
นี้ไม่
this.
ได้ว่ะ
Well, there is that teleport. But he's
แชมเปี้ยนอะไรไม่กินสิง
It's not a flanking Mel or anything like that, which I think we're probably happy with. As Duro pretty far up here, tagged by a couple of missed shots as we can see as Canyon avoids that
ลีโอนะ
Q.
Really
ไม่
high
ไม่
value
กินสิง
controller there. The Canyon is trying to clear right now. That gives BNK the information that he's on that flank, so they're not going to get caught by an impale. No equalizer just yet for Keen. He's level 16. He is so massive.
Yeah.
เครือเดียวกัน
And there it is. My goodness, that's a lot of damage. There's the equalizer going down right now.
แม่งดูเกมไม่ดูเรื่องแล้วมึงเล่นมุกอะไรนะโดนเครื่องมาแรปเตอร์ช็อตนี้ แต่ว่าแคนยอนยังไม่กล้าเข้าอ่ะผมจิ้มก่อนครับผมเนี่ยมันสู้ไม่ได้แล้วโชวี่มันรวยแล้วอาเซียมันเลดเกม ไม่ไหววะโอ้วิกล้าติดแล้วก็ตายไปเลย GG ครับผม2-0เนี่ยมีบาลอนบัฟอยู่นะดูเริ่มแม่งยิงโคตรไก่เลยคุณผู้ชมทำไมเคทลินถึงกลับมาเพราะว่าอีสโคปนรกนี่แหละมันแบบแม่งทั้งลาผิดทั้งสโคปมึงบ้าปะเนี่ยมึงกะยิงแบบทั้งแมปเลยดิทั้งหน้าจอคือโอ้โหโคตรยิงไกลตรงนี้เคลียร์ไปหาโชวี่มาจนเจอ
with the flash
แตกกับรถไปใช่ปะ
Q3 hits. I mean, they know their target. They know Chovy doesn't have flash. Ruler's playing so far back. If they can kill Chovy in this moment, it's a winnable team fight. The Seraphine ultimate is layered on top
โด
of
น
the
ดันไหม
communication.
โชวี่
This
ขนาด
fight for
ที่เราจะ
BNK
โดน
is
แบบเซราฟินนัน
phenomenal.
ติ
They all are on the same page. But there's a 2,700 gold ahead rumble that's kind of like printed money. It's like who would win?
ฮีโร่อะไรไม่ค่อยแสดงอารมณ์เฉยนะ นี่เดี๋ยวมาใหม่ฮีโร่ตัวใหม่ไม่ตอบถูกแล้วเฉยนะรอก่อนเดี๋ยวแล้วเปิดตัวใหม่มา
It meant that Vikla wasn't able to get the damage done in the fight as much as he would have otherwise liked. And Raptor was already poked down so much. This is the problem, is the fact that FearX went into that fight with a collective 50% health. And that is not really what you want to be doing when you're the one that wants to be dishing that out, right? Like you want to have Kellen there healing you up so that you're always very, very healthy. Instead, GenG gets their second Ocean Dragon as well as winning the fight considerably in an 8,000 gold lead now. I mean, just drop the wallets on them, I think is going to be the strategy here for GenG at this point.
Yeah, they don't have Baron buff anymore, and the base is still up. The problem is, like you say, the money is the problem.
Well, Equalizer goes down. That is another Tempered Fate to pick off Raptor, who does get cosmically bound, does have to ulti pretty early on in this exchange.
There's so much poke in this comp for BNK, but also pick.
Yeah, Chovy looking for a bit of an angle here, just some Conquering Sands value towards FearX. Not overextending. Mini ARAM now being set up. The battle comes in, and Canyon gets the double impale. Victor is obliterated, and Kellen follows through the three-man Empress Divide as Chovy
และ GenG แบบว่า
moving to the top of the mad
จัด
movie
การ
as
FearX ครับผม
GenG look to put a stamp on their first 2-0 of LCK
แล้ว FearX
Pretty
0-2 ครับ
one-sided win here for GenG, but man, BNK made it interesting. It did not feel like
มา
there
เจอ
was an
GenG หลัง
8,000
จากที่
gold
แบบไป
deficit
พลาด
on
ท่า
their
กับ KT
side
มา
until
แสดงความ
Chovy
โกรธจัดครับ
gets
ผม
in
โชวี่
there.
ยิ้มเลย
The Empress Divide
โชวี่
that
ยิ้ม
finally hits,
นี่
that finally is the impact he was looking for on this Azir, but his poke damage was felt. Keen's blasting damage to these team fights was felt. And the lead did eventually matter, but man, BNK, they knew their win cons, they knew they could play slow, they could play through poke, but also the Seraphine ult and the pick, they caught GenG out a few times, they called
set the standards for what every other Ascend team needs to aspire to. If you want to be the best, this is the level that you got to go for. This is the level that you have to transcend, and I think that BLG, everyone is going to
ใครเดี๋ยวก็ดูช่องไหนวะ
BNK could bring us to a series, but at the end of the
Man,
day,
Fearx,
it's a quick
that base
2-0,
timing on their team was
Get more games, but I think that it's probably Chronicler's fault for complaining about it earlier on in the day.
เอาจริงแต่เป็นแพทที่แบบอยากเห็นนินจารีมากเลย
Canyon, phenomenal performance. I think on both the Pantheon and the Skana here today, we know that his Skana's always been fantastic. And he really put on a carry performance in the first game as well. I believe 10 kills in that one. POM's a difficult vote in this game.
I have a feeling that when it comes to difficult POMs for GenG, we know there's one man who can absorb the vote.
When in doubt, Chovy. Or is it when in doubt, Canyon? Because that was the thing in 2020.
Yeah, and in like 2022 and then like 2023.
สรุปว่าฮีโร่แชมเปี้ยนตัวไหนเฉย
Maybe just forever. You can just write down Chovy or Canyon and no one will ever doubt you. It's like if you haven't watched the game, that's what you do. And you're like, oh, it's probably going to be fine.
There's a world where you...
I think Keen is the thinking man.
Yeah, I think Keen is
ฉัน
the
เฉา
thinking
เหรอ
man. Otherwise, it's one of our C players.
ฉันเฉาเฉยไงฉันเฉาว่ะ
ฉลองทีวันเจนจี 2-0 อาทิตย์นี้ส่วนเกมหน้าเจอกันที่ขอทำใจ
What a missed
อุ้ย
opportunity.
Any Chin enjoyer?
ขอบคุณครับ
No, he's
ขอบคุณ
playing
มาก
top
เลย
lane.
มี
It's just
คิ
too hard
ม
to get votes. Don't even worry about it. Don't
โอ้
bother.
มีคิมคือเชียร์2ทีมเลยเหรอ
Canyon doesn't even have an H in his name. I don't know. It's funnier to say CH instead of just C.
Canyon.
ลีซึนเหรอ
You know, he made the
ขอบ
rebuttal
คุณ
with
นะครับ
high
มีคิ
value
ม
in this
มาก
game,
เลยว่าขอบคุณมาก
whereas
นะครับ
Teddy on the bottom lane maybe made it look like it wasn't an ability at all.
ตอนแรก
But
ว่าจะรอ
He
ดู
made it look like it had a less of a
ตัว
cooldown than it
LPL อะ
otherwise
แต่ว่า
would, though.
ใจหนึ่งแม่งก็เสียว
He made
แบ
it
บ
look like it had a less of a
actually I'm
cooldown
kind of
than
down
it
to
otherwise
shuffle.
games where you watch that, you're like, man, he won without a W in this game. He didn't win,
เพราะ
by
ว่า
the way,
คู่สองมันจะ
but
เป็น
he
แบบ
won some team fights.
AL กับ
They did look
ท็อป
Fights like
นะ
this were incredible, right?
คือมันยัง
Like,
เสียวอยู่อะ
this
มันยัง
is
เสียว
this
ท้อง
team
น้อยเวลาดู
composition
ทุก
for
ครั้ง
BNK and the Ezreal pick shining through in a way
แบบ
that
กูจะโดนปะวะ
I really didn't expect, you know? I trusted that Diablo is a great Ezreal player, but I kind of thought he was going to get bowled over. He made this game so much more interesting. This is the moment here you talked about with the Impale, and also Keen just walks at the AD carry and says, you're not relevant in this fight. Canyon took care of Vikla, I'll take care of Diablo.
And Chovy still did so much damage in that fight as well. The Emperor's Divide value was massive. Eventually died to a Vikla ultimate, but Vikla was busy dying at the whole time anyway.
Watch this from Chovy. Like, the damage that's gonna have to come through here.
Look at this.
Yeah,
Actually insane.
It was mainly just poke from like a Q and some Sand Soldier autos. And then Canyon's like, I'm just going to do a bit of a drive-by.
The rebuttal was used early, and then Chovy's just like, I guess we clean house.
Yep.
ก็เดี๋ยว
And clear
เผื่อ
mitigates
คน
some
ง
CC
งครับ
but
ก็
cannot
นี่ครับ
mitigate death.
สัปดาห์หน้าวันพุธหน้านี้
It was a fun stop
DK Hour
because
Live
it was
T1 GenG
arguably
อันนี้
non-stop in
ไม่
some
ต้องพูดถึงนะ
senses.
ผม
In terms of the numbers, it was a
ยอด
stop.
แน่นอน
But, like, Diablo out damages Ruler because he's got the range
โคตรมันแน่นอน
with his
นะ
Q. Like he can kind of chip away. Vikla makes a really good game happen here. Clears
ใครแม่ง
flash
จัด
ult
ตารางกู
on
อยาก
the
คุย
Chovy
กับ
was
เขาจ
cool
ริง
even though it didn't win. BNK really were not going to give up in this one.
I really felt like it wasn't like a BNK, like a...
แล้วใครได้ดู
All right, BLG 1-2-1 against JDG, W.